Hey, it's Digibro here. So this big group decompression chamber was recorded by me, Tom Oliver, Best Guy Ever, and Ben Saint a few nights ago, and originally it was going to be a decompression Let's Play video. The entire thing was recorded set to Ben playing a game called Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, which is this really unbelievably complicated and difficult to sort of parse dungeon crawler roguelike game. And we were just sort of watching him play it while having this incredibly lengthy discussion. Unfortunately, the video component of that was lost. So all the footage of Ben playing this game was lost to the ether. Which is really unfortunate because a lot of what Ben says in this is him reacting to things that have just happened in the game when he speaks up every once in a while. And we also addressed the game kind of like explaining it and what it looks like early on. But this game is so esoteric and the visuals are so incredibly minimal and bare bones and sort of difficult to even parse if you're watching from a distance, as I was while Ben was playing, that losing the visuals isn't as big of a deal, and most of what Ben is reacting to he explains, since it would not be even interpretable in the video anyways. So yeah, I don't think we lost too very much. I hope that's the case anyways, and that you'll enjoy listening to this even without the video component. But if you want to just maybe look at some videos of what Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup looks like, you'll be able to get an understanding of like what we mean when we talk about it in the few times that we do. But yeah, mostly this is 3 hours of totally unrelated discussion about a broad range of topics, and it was really fun, and I hope you like it.
Hey everyone, it's Radcon2, and everyone else fell asleep before getting the Plebe and the Weeb done, so me, Ben Saint, Best Guy Ever, Tom Oliver.
Make a noise, dude.
What?
and Digibro.
Hey!
We're all up in his room, and I'm showing them my favorite game of all time.
Undertale.
Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. The coolest game ever that I spent a year and a half trying to beat. And I'm going to be playing it, and we're going to just...
How long is the session of this game? Are you going to lose a bunch of time?
There's no way I'll win. Winning takes like 20 hours.
Yeah.
So I will just see how far I can get in however long we feel like going. All right. So in this game, you pick a race and a class, and I'm going to go with a favorite. I'm going to be a gargoyle earth elementalist.
Now, Ben, just out of curiosity, you haven't played this game in a while.
Yeah.
Have there been major updates?
I haven't yet. I mean, I don't know what they are, but I'm sure there have been some.
Okay.
So yes.
Ben's plenty loud. We'll turn that more towards us.
Okay. All right. So I've got down in the bottom right, I've got my equipment and shit. Up in the top right are my stats. Here in the middle is the map.
It's black. There's some pixels.
This looks completely incomprehensible.
You going to see? I'm exploring the map.
Wait,
you're playing?
I am playing right now.
This is the major game.
This is the game. This is the game.
What the fuck?
Emphasis on the gay.
But
I just have to... Okay, I'm going to sort out my spell situation.
I really like retro aesthetics, but I have my limits in terms of how primitive you can get before I just kind of
I think we're going to have to lean up, Tom, to be heard.
I feel like this is so old it predates my interests.
This is an old-ass game that has been continually in development.
It's not even that it looks old, it just is minimal as fuck. And
It just reads as archaic to me.
To minimal. Ben played a lot of dwarf, whatever.
I mean, what era does this make
Dwarf.
you think of, Tom?
I don't know. It just feels like MS-DOS era.
It makes me feel like 95.
I'm
Maybe
trying
before
to
95.
remember.
Maybe
what
it's a
my...
Win95 port of a DOS
Okay.
game.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I'm just thinking of video games that came out in 1995, most of which are far more advanced than this.
Right. Well, that's why I said DOS. I'm thinking like something that started development in like '89 or something. I got a port to Windows 95 when DOS was like dying.
Doom was a DOS game, right?
Doom was originally
I
a
feel
DOS
like
game.
in 95, I played a lot of games that were out long before 95 because we had a shitty computer.
I didn't play any computer
And we didn't
games
have a
ever as
console until, well, we might have had like a Super Nintendo
My
at
history
that
with
time,
video
I
games is
guess.
stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
I actually forget how to cast spells, which is
Well,
going to be a real problem for
Shameful.
me. I need to figure this
Ben,
out.
explain to me what your role is, what your class is, and how you plan on
He's
winning.
a man made of rocks that throws rocks at people.
I don't just throw rocks. I'm an earth elementalist.
Uh-huh.
So I have a collection. I have down here. I have 20 stones, and I'm going to consume these stones in order to cast stone spells.
Everything you just said.
Throw rocks.
I said
Whoa, what the fuck was all that?
That was auto exploring. Okay, I found a goblin.
What is this?
The game plays itself.
Okay.
What is this nightmare reality you've sucked me into? Is this Dwarf Fortress 2?
Oh, I'm too in. Oh, I don't actually know those spells. Oh my god, how the fuck do I learn
The mouse is
spells?
just sitting in the middle of the screen and he doesn't even care.
No, I left him.
Didn't notice
He's
you or
asleep.
something?
He's asleep.
What, the mouse?
Oh wait.
Goblin, dude.
Oh,
You found
ma-
a goblin.
Oh wait, is this picking up the cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah, for this game that makes sense. sort of.
Okay, I have to figure out how to learn spells. Like
Well, in the
right now.
meantime,
I am out of my depth. Hold on, I'm going to take the cursor from you for just a second so I can put this...
Go ahead.
I want to put this on top so I can see the game, because I can't see much of it through you.
Oh, okay.
The audience doesn't know what I'm talking about, but you can have the cursor back.
Okay. Spell casting.
I mean, so the main deal with this game is that you're in a dungeon and you get to new floors and you basically just explore until you encounter enemies and then you just deal with them and you try to get stronger and level up so that you can
So,
face increasingly hard
It's
hordes.
Skyrim.
Activate a
stripped
memorize
down to
spell
its,
by,
like, most primitive.
Kinda.
activate a memorize spell by pressing Z. Okay, but how do I memorize the spell?
I assume
You
that
press
the
Z.
appeal of this is
no,
that it's
that's
hard
how
as
I
shit.
activate a spell.
It is very hard to complete successfully. And so there's two main goals. The first goal is to get the Orb of Zot and emerge victorious from within the place.
I'm too inexperienced. Can
But that's the bitch way to beat the game. There is a much harder way to beat the game, which is to collect every single
here we go.
rune. And then to do the same.
You gotta
and then leave.
collect 15 demonic runes. Okay, so
Yeah.
here, I'm coming up on this guy. Oh shit, he woke up. Alright. I'm gonna cast Sandblast.
Is this like a roguelike? When you die, you're fucked?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
It's a brutal game.
It is a roguelike.
The mere comprehension of the game is the most brutal part of it.
I mean, there's plenty of text on the bottom left that shows up to tell you generally what's going on.
Got it.
Visually,
It looks like it's written in fucking code.
It kind of is.
It's kind of the aesthetic. It's definitely going for DOS.
They're
DOS
trying to-
looks right now.
yeah.
This is a game for math nerds, isn't
Oh
it?
no.
I wouldn't say math
Well,
nerds.
Ben does have a degree in physics, so
That's
Yeah.
right.
True.
This seems out of my depth. I'm an art guy.
I'm out of magic. I
You're-
have to
it's-
just stab this newt. Okay,
There's a certain brand of PC game that I've seen people who are into that kind of game and
Yeah.
they like a lot of them. And when I look at them, I see nothing.
Do you-
I literally don't get it.
Do you like Binding of Isaac, Digi?
No.
No? Okay, because this is that, but way harder and way more complex.
Okay.
It's just
I fucking love
understand
Binding
what a
of Isaac.
roguelike
Yeah,
is.
Ben and I both love Binding
This
of
seems
Isaac.
a lot more like Binding of Isaac is considered
Oh,
like a roguelite.
okay.
This seems
I was
like
just
a
wondering
sheer
if you
rogue.
liked it at
I'm-
all. Yeah.
okay,
It took
I'm-
me a long time to even get a grasp on what the term roguelike meant.
I'm gonna explain
It means
something
like
that's
the
really
game
interesting.
Rogue.
Okay,
I
in
don't
this
know
game,
what the game Rogue is.
in this game, you have to eat to survive.
Right.
So right now, you can see at the bottom, there's my inventory, but then down at the very, very bottom right, I step over this goblin corpse, and I can see that I'm at bottom right. I'm standing on the goblin corpse, so I'm gonna hit C to butcher it, and now I have meat in my inventory. And I
Yeah.
left a skeleton. I'm going to do the same to this newt. Okay, so I have meat. Now that meat will go bad if I'm not careful. So I need to continually be
This
exploring.
sounds like Ben describing his everyday life.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
why Ben's
collecting
good at what he's
meat
doing
off of
right
things
now.
on the ground.
This is just training
If I'm
for
not
real life.
careful, it will go bad. I'll eat it anyways. But
That's right. All right, now let me see here. I got to decide which weapon. Oh no, I want to be.
You want to throw your rocks at people.
You know,
No. I want to be casting spells, but I do
just
want
know
to be.
that the gargoyle is too dumb to throw a rock.
I played
That's where he's at right now.
I played this game a few times on Ben's suggestion and just hit a wall of there being too many fucking menus and buttons.
There used to be a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
there are cursed weapons in the game, and if you equip one, you cannot unequip it until you find a scroll of
Right,
uncursing.
right.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Well, here's the real kicker about that. Early on, if you get cursed, if you get cursed with, say, a club, you cannot equip a dagger in order to butcher an animal. So if
Oh,
you get
God.
cursed with a bludgeoning weapon, you can't hold a cutting weapon to butcher corpses, and you will starve.
And you don't know.
Man,
it's
if only we
cursed
had
until you
another
equip it.
hand to use something else.
They actually changed it. That used to be a thing. Like you had to have a cutting weapon in order to butcher corpses. Now they changed it so your character always has a knife and it doesn't actually stop you. But it used to actually kill you early on in the game. Pretty often.
Interesting.
I'm looking for.
So to explain in brief to Tom what Rogue is, Rogue was an entirely text-based game.
Okay.
That was like, something like this, where you're in a dungeon
So like
exploring.
Super DOS.
But it was randomly generated each time, and it's like the main point is that if you die you lose, and there's lots of traps. Like you have to try to make it through the dungeon without getting killed in traps and losing your weapons and shit, and make it to the end.
Okay.
And so anything that's like that in any way, which these days mostly means a hard game that you die, if you die you go back. Yeah. But like the idea essentially is that each run is different because you pick up different shit.
Right, and it's like it's usually randomly generated, right?
Yeah, and so you never know what kind of power-ups you're going to get on your way to the end. And Binding of Isaac sort of like there's a newer genre that people call it roguelite, where it's stuff that's like
it takes some of those elements but kind of modernizes it.
It's a little bit more pick up and play. And Binding of Isaac was such a huge hit that there's a lot of those now. Like FTL is another one, right. And shit like that. Risk of Rain is kind of one of those. Which I
not
also
the biggest
have.
fan of Risk of Rain.
Yeah,
but I did play it a bunch.
It used to be too glitchy to even play.
Risk of Rain is aesthetically beautiful, for sure. But
that's
it's
true.
Not as mechanically deep. As
I have a follow-up question that might be opening up a can of worms I'm going to regret, but I'm gonna go here anyway. Is you guys were both involved in this conversation, and I observed.
Yeah.
Why are you okay with the term roguelike, but Metroidvania pisses you off? I feel like they're kind of both the
Don't look at me. I'm fine with both of them.
Because I listened to your argument about Metroidvania, and it felt like kind of what you just said is the same thing with Metroidvania. Like the idea when you say
because I don't play roguelikes.
Digi has a very specific concern with that, and it's that he likes two very different things about Metroid and Castlevania, and he finds the term, muddling.
The only real problem with it is the fact that I really love Metroid games, and the Castlevania games that are called Metroidvania are, I don't even hate them, but they're a different kind of game from Metroid, where Metroid is really Metroid has no RPG elements, really.
Right.
It's just an action platformer where every once in a while you get a new ability. Most of those abilities are not just for combat. Most of them are for exploration.
They unlock them out. Well, there's some of that in some Castlevania too.
But even the beam upgrades, you get an ice beam, it lets you
everything has a purpose
aside
on. From combat. Yeah. Combat's very secondary in
Metroid. Whereas like Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, for instance, has
best game in the series.
It has a leveling system that is like, okay, I played through about half of Aria of Sorrow, and there was one part where I got to death and I couldn't beat him. So I ran back to the start of the game because there's an item shop there, so I could buy potions, and then I ran back. But in the time that I made that run, I went up 2 levels and I destroyed death.
Okay.
Like, I couldn't beat him before, and then as soon as I gained 2 levels, I just fucking destroyed him. And the only reason I gained 2 levels is just the process of going to the start of the game.
RPGs have that quality. Yeah.
I get that 100%, and I'm totally with you.
Dear.
But my only counterpoint would be, because I think everything you just said is 100% valid. Metroid and Castlevania are completely different games. I just think when someone...
Well, they're
just
not completely different.
Well, in terms of, like, how combat works and how progression and stuff works. There's definitely different kind of mechanics.
There are some differences,
there.
Yes.
But when someone says a Metroidvania, I think, just like you said in a roguelike, they're talking about permadeath and stuff. I think when you say Metroidvania, they just mean an open-ended connected world with a grid-like map. I think that's all the term really means.
Yeah, it's clear that's what
Axiom
it means.
Verge is a Metroidvania, and that describes it.
But it also is a Metroid game. Like what?
Well, there are some that lean more towards the Castlevania side.
Right, but the upsetting part to me is that I want to play Metroids.
Would you rather have a Metroid-like and a Castlevania-like?
I would.
Would that make you
great.
more satisfied?
I would even be satisfied if like Metroidvania can stay. Just also if a game is just Metroid, just call it a Metroid clone. Axiom Verge. If Castlevania didn't exist, there would be no reason to put Vania in the title of Axiom Verge. It's just a Metroid game.
If Castlevania didn't exist, well, sure.
Like
it does. I think the thing is that I think a lot of people who play Castlevania probably enjoy that exploration and progressively unlocked world.
It's just that it's not,
and will go to Axiom Verge
like,
because of the Vania in it.
Maybe, but like the thing about Metroid,
I shouldn't have brought this up.
Yeah, you opened up the can of worms.
I knew it was
the
coming.
The thing about Metroid is that like so much of it is about the environmental design, and like learning your way around is like learning about this world. Like you're
There we go. I
exploring.
finally killed the worm that's been dogging me.
You're exploring this alien, planet that's got all this kind of personality to it, and like there's distinct worlds in there. You go to Norfair, and that's like a fireplace, and you explore there, and you get an ice beam, which lets you freeze these molten lava things. In Castlevania, there's no connection between any of the fucking hallways you go down, and it's all hallways.
That's not
There's
true.
No
there are
challenge.
clearly themed areas in Dracula's castle.
In Aria of Sorrow, I don't
Absolutely,
think so.
the clock tower.
There's
I
the
would
clock
say
tower, and that's like it.
It's not.
That's not it.
And the clock tower is the only place that has like environmental challenges in that whole game.
I'm not even interested in arguing about it, but there are definitely different areas with different features.
I would
in
grant
pretty much
that
every
Metroid
Castlevania
is
game.
probably more thematically distinct in terms of its locales by nature of because it's a castle versus a planet.
Well, the thing about Castlevania,
they are less different
in
from each other.
Castlevania,
than
there's
Metroid,
times
though.
where you'll be going down a hallway that's like a courtyard,
Sure.
and you'll fight a couple of like dogs or skeleton dogs or
Sure.
something, and then like a giant Medusa that has nothing to do with the environment you're in, and then you'll go through another door, and now you're just in a totally different place fighting totally different enemies that again have nothing to do with the place you're in. And I'm not saying this is like makes it a bad game or
Right.
anything. It's just not like Metroid. Where
No,
in
it's not.
Metroid, the enemies you fight would be relevant to that spot,
Right.
and it would be like it's about exploring. Whereas Castlevania is really about combat. It's really
Right.
about the leveling and
think-
the hit sparks and sound effects and the
Right.
pleasure of
I
hitting
absolutely
enemies,
agree. I think again, I'm not to reiterate
What?
myself, but I think the only distinction Metroidvania is trying to make is it's talking about how the world map
Right.
is laid out and nothing more.
This slug is shooting darts at me.
Now there is one
He's
game.
more than he appears.
I will
Apparently.
say
I can get behind a door though, and he won't be able to follow me.
I will say that Dark Souls, I think, just is Metroidvania. Because it is in every way,
Yeah.
it embodies both games. In fact, it embodies all of them. Like, it completely embodies Metroid. It completely embodies original Castlevania.
Oh God, he's here.
And it
Very true.
completely embodies the new Castlevanias. Because it
Yeah.
also has that combat system. So, like, it's not that I think it's invalid to suggest that there are games that are legitimately a combination of Metroid and Castlevania. But, like, when people say Metroidvania, it can either refer to these games that are exactly like the Castlevania games. Oh God, what's that one called? Abyssal City? It's Valdis Story. Valdis Story Abyssal City is a game that's like described as a Metroidvania, and you play it, and it just plays exactly like the new Castlevania games.
Yeah,
And then Axiom Verge is described as a Metroidvania, but it plays exactly like Super Metroid. So to me, there's kind of two genres here that are being called the same genre.
I think it's just supposed to be referring to the way the game's laid out, and it's up to you to use like your brain to read one or two sentences and make the rest of the distinction yourself.
How am I supposed to know just based on like the description on the Steam page which one I'm...
There's these really cool things. You're probably kind of familiar with them because you do it for a living,
reviews.
but it's called videos, and they really kind of clear that up for you
I guess
pretty
just
right quick.
further reading is just the only thing.
Yeah.
But you know what?
If you make a purchase decision
But I
based
only
on
buy
one word,
impulse!
I'll tell you though.
well, then that's a personal problem, and you need therapy.
I do think that, I haven't played all of these games, but I've played a massive amount of Metroids and Castlevanias, and to call Axiom Verge a Metroidvania as opposed to a Metroid clone is kind of just wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
Just call it, it's just a Metroid clone.
It is literally Metroid.
That's what it
There's
is,
no
yeah.
Castlevania element to it at all.
Yep.
I
Well,
mean, it
except in the elements that they are shared, but
Right.
you
Yeah.
might as well just cut that out and just say it's a
Yeah,
Metroid
it-
clone.
I think
it
that's what
bends
most
over
people mean
backwards
when
to
they
be
use
Metroid.
the term.
And
though.
the same
I guess
is
that's
true-
my point.
It's just that the term is a meme and people use it
Yeah.
a lot.
I
So
guess.
you know,
And there's also the game Zeo Drifter is also just Metroid, and like
Yeah.
it was what made me kind of come to this realization about Metroidvania. Why it bothered me is because I made a video about Zeo Drifter and Axiom Verge and how each of the it was called Ways to Clone Metroid, and like
I remember this
at
video.
one point I had thought, should I call this like different kinds of Metroidvania, but then I was like, but there's no Vania, they're just Metroid games.
Yeah.
You know, and I think someone had even said like in the comments like, oh, you mean Metroidvania? And I'm like, no, these are just Metroid. It's just a couple of Metroid games.
I think I still stand by my original argument in that it's just to describe the way the map's laid out, but I will grant you that a Metroid-like and a Castlevania-like would be more useful than Metroidvania.
You know, I mean, when I made my video in response, the point I was trying to make was like you're saying, Tom, that I think what they're trying to convey is that when they call something a Metroidvania, they're specifically saying
describing that overlap and nothing more.
It's the overlap that is being described by that term, which does leave out things if you call it a Metroid
I think
clone.
it would be fair to keep...
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Metroidvania is not a term that has to die, but it would be nice if people distinguished between the two more.
Makes sense to
Mostly
me.
like fans and reviewers who just throw around Metroidvania all the time to describe games
Well,
when it's
we shouldn't be listening to them at all anyways.
You just told me to watch reviews to find out which
Well, no, I didn't mean reviews. I said like you go to the Steam page and you can watch a video like, oh, this is what the gameplay's like. It's clearly Metroid versus Castlevania versus a mix of both.
I definitely played Axiom Verge because it looked exactly like Super Metroid.
I don't even think you at your worst would look at the word Metroidvania and be like, I'm buying this because I saw this word as opposed to doing any more research.
And I mean, I have had plenty of times where I saw the word and then watched the video and then determined which one it was.
Then you solved your problem.
But then I got autistically mad that they called it Metroidvania.
We all have our things.
What's going on here, Ben?
But there are a lot of people who are very up in arms about the proliferation of roguelike.
I've encountered a unique monster that I've never heard of before, and I have no idea how strong he is.
Robin?
I don't know what he does.
He's gonna steal from you and give to his poor
He
monster friends.
drank a potion and became more agile. See, that's over there. That's a magic amulet on the right, and I want that, but I'm scared of this guy.
He's coming for you.
But it's okay because I've just learned a new spell.
What is it?
It's
Run away fast.
No, it's I have Stone Arrow, which is a much stronger version of Sandblast.
Cool.
See, this guy's got a whole fucking goblin
people.
cadre with him, and that makes me nervous.
Understandably.
You know, Tom, actually, now that you've made me reflect on this, I hate myself for being up in arms about the Metroidvania term, and here's why. Because I'm realizing that the reason I feel strongly about this is the same reason that people complain about the term roguelike, and it's a reason I hate, which is a fear of evolution. Because there's people who... A lot of people have their niche, and they just want things to fit into that niche. And when that niche starts to evolve and no longer have, like, all the elements they want it to have, then it's like they feel this disconnect from it. Where other people might like, some people might like the roguelites for the same reason they liked Rogue. But then there's other people who are like, it's not actually like Rogue, it's more dumbed down, And
it depends on what you enjoyed about Rogue. So.
I mean, it's a lot like, and I can make two music comparisons. The most obvious one would be nu metal. Which is where, metal... The only reason that... The term nu metal literally means not metal. And it was invented by metal fans because when, like, Slipknot and Linkin Park and all those bands came out, metal fans were so mad that people were calling it metal that they came up with the term nu metal so that people would, like, say, like, this is not metal because we don't respect it. Even though, like there's certain... Like, okay... I would not consider Linkin Park a metal band, even though there's a lot of metal influence there. I think it would be more fair to call them like a metal hip hop fusion, as opposed to making up a term that is clearly intended to slag off the genre, like nu metal. But like,
I don't want to fight Sigmund.
There's certain Slipknot songs that are indistinguishable from metal. There is no reason they should not be considered metal, other than that metal fans don't like Slipknot, and therefore it's nu metal. And the same goes now for prog, where progressive rock in the 70s, there's a sort of specific kind of way it sounds. But then with 2000 stuff, like all of it's considered neo-prog or new prog, like Coheed and Cambria and the Mars Volta and stuff like that. Like nobody will just call it progressive rock, even though the Mars Volta is every bit as experimental as any 70s progressive rock band. Like
hang on one second.
Let me explain what's going on right here. Sigmund is really bad.
Yeah,
he's pretty strong and he hangs it on low level floors. His character description is specifically that he hangs it on low level floors because he's a dick who likes fucking with weak adventurers.
Yeah.
And
are those words all in the description? Dick who likes fucking with.
Let's see his description. The elder of a pair of brothers who came for the orb. No one knows what Sigmund saw in the dungeon to drive him mad, but his shrewd magical status and wicked scythe now leave little time for What? Okay, this is not what it used to be.
liar.
They changed it. They fucking changed it.
Well, that's bullshit. I hate when they change things.
He used to be just an asshole. Okay, anyway. So he just cast a spell on me and confused me, which is absolutely terrible, and I'm really scared right now. So, I think my only hope, my best chance, is I have all these scrolls that I have picked up, and they are unidentified. I don't know what these scrolls do. The only way to learn what they do is to either use a scroll of identification on them or just use them and see what happens. So I'm going to just start using scrolls totally at random.
Oh, man.
And just hope that one of them is a teleportation scroll that will get me the fuck out of here.
And what are your odds on that?
Oh, no. I can't. I'm too confused.
You're too confused.
He confused me, and now I can't do it.
And now you can't read.
Oh, he cast a spell, and now I'm more confused.
Oh, God. Just get to that
Okay,
stair.
if I get to these stairs, a puff of flame, I'm really fucked.
That really hurts.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Don't go that way.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's coming for your butt, dude.
Please.
Oh.
So close.
But there's a teleport. Okay, can I get up there? Yes! I fucking got away.
Thank God.
Okay.
man.
That was
awful.
intense.
That was the first comprehensible thing that's happened in this game.
Well, I wanted to take the time to explain. All right,
Well,
I
you know,
think I'm going to
Ben,
skip that floor. I don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
I
Alright.
want you to,
Yeah.
on your channel sometime, do a playthrough of this game where you just narrate everything you're doing.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe
that
I
can
will.
understand.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Maybe I will.
Because so far I have had literally no idea.
We're
what
talking
you're
about like
doing.
a 20-hour process, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to beat the game in one video.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But think of all the mid-roll ads you could have on that.
Now we're talking.
Oh dear, I don't have enough magic.
But yeah, so I think the people who are calling games like FTL or and all that stuff roguelite are just people who don't want their niche to become mainstream, and for those people like because it's kind of a rite of passage to I'm into something so extreme like Rogue, like
Right.
I'm into this thing that takes effort to get into, and these people who would probably never play Rogue who are playing Binding of Isaac
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
more accessible,
There's Robin
they
again.
feel insulted
Oh,
that those
boy.
people are saying they play roguelikes, when roguelike used to mean something so hardcore.
But Digi, isn't your criticism of the term Metroidvania just contingent on the fact that it simply is...
Whoa.
What happened?
He threw a.
He threw the goblin at you.
He threw a goblin at me.
Badass. He's a goblin thrower.
This guy's new. I'm just gonna take some pot shots at him as I run towards the staircase.
Yeah, that's fair.
To try and weaken him for later.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, Nate?
Oh, I was just saying, isn't your criticism of the Metroidvania specifically based on the fact that for you, it makes it harder for you to find what you're looking for in terms of, specifically Metroid, which isn't so much an issue of stopping evolution or anything. It's just that it's confusing.
On some level, it's just I'm upset at the idea of polluting this genre I care about.
Okay, so that's in there
that
too.
I want
I
more
see.
Metroid, and instead I'm getting Metroidvania, and I'm sort of afraid that when for instance, you highly recommended me Shantae,
And the Pirate's Curse.
Curse,
Yes, I did.
and you said it was a Metroidvania, but then
Which I stand by.
I started playing it, and it is identical to a Castlevania game.
That's correct. That's correct.
There would be no reason to call it Metroid at all.
Castlevania itself is a Metroidvania.
Right.
Well, yes, but that's what he's talking about.
If in the same way that
Fair
I
enough,
said
fair
that
enough.
if Axiom, if Castlevania didn't exist, there'd be no reason to call Axiom Verge a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Or
If
Metroidvania
Metroid
rather.
didn't exist, you wouldn't call Shantae
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Metroidvania.
There'd be no reason to say it's anything other than a Castlevania game, if not for the term
Yes,
Metroidvania.
Ben. What's up?
I'm gonna put on this magic amulet and see what happens.
Let's find out.
It's a cursed amulet of inaccuracy. that should be all right. That's not the worst thing in the world.
It's still not good.
not
but
good.
the thing about
poor.
Shantae though is that there are a lot of
Actually,
elements.
I'm just gonna start identifying shit.
It's
Okay,
probably
cool.
a good idea.
Shantae specifically
This
does
is a
contain a
scroll
lot
of
of
identify.
things that are quite Metroidy. Specifically, you get major power upgrades like you do in a Metroid game that increase your mobility in major steps along the game, which I would argue are very.
There's stuff like that in Aria of Sorrow. You gain a double jump.
That's
do.
true. That's
Or
true.
And you gain the little the thing that slows your descent, the little wings.
Yeah, the bat thing.
And I'd say there's more environmental challenges.
I guess we're talking about an
than
issue of
that game,
degrees.
but
It's
yeah.
true. I think the problem is that you just want
Nice.
to play more Metroid
One of those
games.
scrolls was
Yeah.
a scroll of remove curse, so I can get rid of the amulet.
Well, just that I feel like Castlevania games, the appeal of them is
Yeah.
very grindy. and I'm not
It
as
is.
into that.
I
Whereas,
agree.
Whereas, like with Aria of Sorrow, I realized, like, I made a video about that game. Ben's probably the only person who's fucking seen it in the world. 'Cause
I'd watch that.
apparently
I
he-
love Aria of Sorrow.
What is it?
Well, it's a very critical of the game.
I will not watch it.
I just drank a potion and turned into a tree.
And into a tree.
Yes.
You're
I'm
Fluttershy right
Oh
now.
God,
Briefly
we
a
went
tree.
there. I was gonna, but I was like, you know what? No, that's gay.
I had to
Oh.
like process what you meant
potion of
by that.
cancer.
Like,
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
even-
I
Oh,
so
really?
envy your
I'm so
brain.
far out of
Wow,
that. Of
that's
that
never gonna
world.
leave me. Dude.
I'm in too deep.
Anyway,
Yeah.
a lot of my criticism are the same thing that Ego Raptor talked about like what the problem is with like Castlevania 2 and all the newer Castlevanias, which is just
Yeah,
that, like
fascinating video.
it's a game about running back and forth across the world fighting lots of guys. And the reason it's fun now as opposed to how it was in 2 is because, as he put it, there's lots of hit sparks and sound effects, and your weapons feel good, and it's really crunchy and awesome, and you fucking slash these big guys like, and it's like, yeah, I fucking killed that guy. And you
suppose.
gain like 1,000 different weapons and 1,000,000 different ghost spirits and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's awesome.
And like, I played through like half the game, and I just kind of got bored and stopped. And then I watched like a video of someone getting 100%. Or no, maybe I beat the game,
Yeah.
but didn't do any of the extra stuff. Because like, I remember.
Oh, there's so much to do.
I
There's
remember
so much
getting
to
really
do.
far and maybe even beating it, but then I looked at like a video of someone doing a 100% run, and there's like whole stretches of the castle I hadn't
Oh,
been
so
to.
much. I 100%ed
You know,
that game myself a
and
couple times. There's so much to
There's
do.
all these secret
It's
bosses.
wonderful.
There's 1,000,000,000 weapons.
The ultimate super mega boss. Oh,
And
it's so
it
awesome.
made me realize that if you were someone who played this game in such a way
Yeah.
that you just kind of casually wander around and fight shit like forever and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
tried to do all the secret stuff, it's a totally different game from
Oh.
the game that I was trying to
Right.
play.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm fighting a snake right now.
a game that
one
you
of,
just kind of blow through.
One of
Yeah.
the best perks of being a gargoyle is that I'm immune to poison, so this guy is not that threatening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, he's doing some kind of bad damage. I don't like that.
Wait, what's happening again?
I'm just fighting a snake.
He's
but
made of rock,
but
so he can't be poisoned.
He's poisonous though. He's a poisonous
cool.
serpent. Ow.
He's hitting hard.
dude,
Though.
I'm
The bar's
I'm just gonna
getting
drink
red.
this potion of might.
A lot
and
of the
then smash it.
Castlevania games
we
are
go.
are best played from a completionist standpoint,
Yeah.
and I got a lot of enjoyment out of them doing it that way.
I mean, I've been asked about this on these shows before. Like, why am I so bad at video games, and
Yeah.
why do I never beat them?
Yeah.
And the reason is that with any media, I am extremely impatient about it because I want to consume it and move on.
Yeah.
Like, I always feel, anytime I'm like working through one thing, I feel like it's distracting me from other things that I could be doing. Like, I just want to make a video, or I just want to go do something else and work through all this different stuff. So when something takes more than a couple days, I get really antsy about it. And I don't, even if it's like,
Yeah.
even if it's amazing, and there's very few times, like, Dark Souls 3 is one of the only games that, like, I beat it in 2 days, and then I immediately started playing again. I immediately went on New Game Plus and made another character. I beat it in a different way. I think I beat it twice.
There's an altar of
I either
Sif-
beat it twice or got most of the way through it a second
There's
time.
an altar of Sif Muna here. Sif Muna is a pretty good god for a spellcaster, but Sif Muna is a god who just gives you lots of access to lots of spells.
Cool.
I don't want to worship her, though, because I'm going to worship Vehumet, who is specifically the god of destruction magic. He doesn't give you access to as many spells, but he does, like, power up your destructive spells and reward you for destroying things with magic, so I'm not gonna start worshiping Sif Muna.
Is there anything you can do to unworship if you start worshiping someone?
If you start worshiping someone, you can renounce your religion, but your god will declare you an apostate and curse you and take divine vengeance on you until they eventually just forget about it, and they're like, well, whatever, that's enough.
I see.
Except for the good. There's 3 good gods.
Well, whatever, that's enough.
There's three good gods who won't take vengeance on you unless you join an evil god, and then their wrath will fall upon you.
How dangerous is the auto explore you keep doing?
It's not dangerous at all, because it stops when literally anything of note happens.
Yeah, it's great.
So it just saves you time.
Yeah.
Digi, I was
like
going to
that.
say, I think that's interesting how we consume media differently.
Yeah.
Because even just today, I went on a crazy tirade of cleaning the entire lower half of this house.
Yeah.
Because I felt compelled to make sure it was all done. And even when others told me to stop, I simply could not bring myself to do so. I had to follow it through to the bitter
It's your
end.
tism, dude.
And I just think that's the way we
Why
play
were they
games.
telling you to stop?
Well, Tom
Stop
was.
cleaning!
Tom
I
was,
just felt so guilty. He was cleaning up all of our dishes.
as
and he
was
didn't need
Victor.
to.
As was was Victor, and
Victor has
Here's the thing.
Victor,
You
Victor
guys
and
both
Tom
have-
both have the same kind of guilty conscience.
Yeah.
Of like if no one had done it, that would have been like they would have felt a little guilty because they wanted it to get done. But as soon as someone's doing it, it's like, well, I should have done
Victor
it.
specifically mentioned that. Yeah.
It's my good Samaritan nature, like fighting against my inherent lays.
This is actually horrible. I'm trapped
Really?
between Knowles and a snake.
I mean, if
That's the snake, I guess.
to me, it's like, well, you guys obviously wanted it to be clean more than I did.
Yeah.
Because if I actually
Yeah.
did want it to be clean, I would have cleaned it.
Right.
you
Well,
know?
I'm not. I don't even
Yeah.
care about that. The point was just that I play
have
games
that
the
thing.
same way I tackle
Well, it's
other
interesting
tasks,
because like
and
you
then I
guys
do it as
both
best
have,
I can,
you both
as
have
hard as I
mediatisms,
can.
but it's the exact opposite. You're a quantity and you're a quantity guy.
Yeah, quality.
Quality,
Yeah,
quantity guy.
that's true.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, this is true of
Okay.
everything.
Okay, check out
Yeah.
these pro strats. I'm gonna try and use pass wall and just like pass through a wall.
All right, do it.
I have like never fucking done this before.
You're a rock guy.
Never?
Though. That's why you can do it, right?
Yeah, pass wall lets you meld with stone.
Ooh, you're like Pika from
This
One
is a,
Piece.
I like never use this. Okay, it's C. Okay, so Z
This is exciting.
C.
I feel like if this had
Did
like,
not
Makes
work.
it interesting.
This
Did
is
not
exciting.
work. Wasted my MP.
damn.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like if this had like more like advanced graphics, I'd be totally enthralled right now.
You guys are a bunch of babies. This is fucking fascinating.
I'm completely fine.
No, I'm enthralled, but I just feel like it'd be some of this. I don't know.
you guys are cowards, is what you are.
No.
Goddamn weak,
I play
cowardly
I play
fools.
fucking Dungeons and Dragons,
We're
so I
art
have my
majors.
imagination.
Yeah, that's your problem.
I can step.
I'm a computer science major. That's why I'm interested.
Yeah,
I got a scroll of teleportation. If I
the-
can survive for a couple more rounds, I'll be safe.
The Shimulinsky family is
Yes!
Oh, he
a
lucked
family
out.
of science. A family of science.
That's true.
Even though you're
That's
both
true.
artists
That's kinda
now,
true.
you approach art from like you're the kind of guys who would make a game like this.
That's true.
Me
Yeah,
and
maybe.
Tom would probably make a game that looked absolutely beautiful and played like generic dog shit.
Some of the
Yeah.
games I've made.
Exactly.
The
I'd rather
ga-
take the road more
Exactly.
traveled so I can focus on making it look cool.
Exactly.
The game I was trying to make with my buddies before I started TBAP, which actually we stopped working on the game to work on TBAP stuff.
Man, horses
And the
ruined our
and the
ambition.
world was robbed.
And the world was robbed of this game where we
Yeah.
were playing
I was
as.
working on a 3D animated series with my friend before.
Were you?
yeah?
I never heard about that.
This was a 2D technical platformer that was all about being synced to music, and we had the engine running properly.
What?
And basically,
Is this the game you played? Or is that a different game?
no, totally different game.
Okay.
Totally, this was one we constructed ourselves out of Unity instead of
Whoa,
using
that's
RPG
pro.
Maker. Yeah, it was fairly pro.
Have you considered suing Crypt of the Necrodancer for stealing your concept?
They kind of did steal our idea a little bit, but ours was a 2D platformer instead of like a dungeon crawler.
Theirs is a roguelite incident.
It is a roguelite. It sure
God,
is.
let me just say, I fucking love Crypt of the Necrodancer.
That is a game on
I
my
do too.
list to play.
That
But
is-
I never
It is
play
a gr-
games anymore.
it is-
For some
I don't.
reason.
Yeah, me neither. But that one is really.
I used to
really
sit here
good.
playing.
By
a
the
game
way,
and played an hour and a
I
half
just
another
want
game
to take a
earlier.
moment to
Yeah.
point out how Ben's
especially-
survival in that situation is fairly pro shit.
I like
Thank
how
you.
Ben says he doesn't play a lot of games, but in the time he's lived with me, he's played more games than I have in like the last 3 years.
It's about how you approach things, I
Well,
guess.
okay, Pokemon is not. I don't view playing
Pokemon's not a
Pokemon
game.
as
Pokemon
playing.
is life.
I don't play that as playing.
What
a
about
game.
just the amount of prep work for the Pokemon contest? The
Well,
race?
yeah.
That's,
that alone
again,
was-
that doesn't feel like playing a game to me.
Well, I mean,
It
It
is
doesn't change the fact
objectively
that it's a
playing.
game.
Shut up! I don't. It doesn't feel like it though.
oh
Oh
boy.
god.
Oh sweet, a potion of invisibility.
Oh shit!
Wasted.
I forgot what I was
I don't
thinking
know.
about.
Yeah, I don't.
Crypt of the Necrodancer. I
Right.
was rewatching my end of 2015 video, like stuff I loved in 2015, and
Yeah.
the first thing I commented on was Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I described it as the game I've spent the most time playing out of all games that I'm absolutely terrible at, because I was never able to beat like the third floor of the first.
Dude, I couldn't do that
dungeon.
either. It was too fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean, I played for probably 13 hours. And
Oh, wow.
Could not beat like the third floor.
What's
That's
that- what's
the game
that
where it,
guy
like,
there,
syncs
Ben?
to your music, right?
Huh?
Like, you can-
Yeah, you can put
What's
in
that
your
guy
own
in the middle of
music.
that
That
room
is
there?
probably a hard game
that is
I
an
could
altar
actually get
to
through.
Red Elemnal.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's my
okay.
problem right now
Who is
playing
a god?
Bloodborne.
No, Kikubakudga, who's the
Ooh.
god of death magic specifically.
Okay.
But
You
I
want
don't.
destruction, not
Yeah,
death.
I want to. Vehumet
Subtle
is,
difference.
Vehumet
but
is the
important.
god of blowing ship up with fireballs and such.
Are you gonna be still an Earth guy? Or are you gonna switch to
I
fire?
am,
Or something?
I am gonna branch out a little bit. Like I'm gonna learn Magma Bolt as soon as I can.
Okay.
But which is Fire Earth cross class.
Right,
But I am gonna specialize in Earth the whole game.
Okay.
What's
That's
your problem
so
with
cool.
trying to get through Bloodborne?
Well,
Just
it's not
because-
even Bloodborne.
just because
it's just games
gargoyles
in
are really
general.
good at Earth
Is that
magic.
because
Yeah.
I'm like so self-critical? When I die in a game, I feel like that's a personal failure.
When you die in a game, do you feel like you die for real?
A little bit inside.
Yes, every time. Every death in a video game is a personal blow to my ego because I shouldn't. If I was better, I wouldn't have fucked up.
You should play a game like I Want to Be the Guy. That game will make you
I don't want to
not
be the
give
guy.
a shit
So,
about dying
you're the guy.
1,000 times.
Okay.
Well,
Lee-
that's true.
Lee's Rapid Deconstruction is a great fucking spell, but
Yeah.
right, if I learned it right now, the failure rate would be really high, and it's a pretty powerful spell. So if you miscast spells, really bad things can happen. You can get contaminated with magical energies
Whoa.
that can actually mutate you, like physically mutate you.
That's the good thing about simple games like this is that they can implement crazy concepts without having to
Yeah.
worry
That's
about.
the-
That's why
appeal
they're
of
so
it.
much better than bullshit, big budget, shitty 3D games.
The first time I ever won this game, I was a Crusader of... Oh, I was a Merfolk Crusader, and the reason that I won was really early on. I found an altar to the Slime God, whose name escapes me, and all through the Slime God, all through the game, these slimes were always following me around. They spawned on every level and ate all the equipment. I didn't get any good drops because the slimes would eat all my shit, but the god would continually just fuck with me and mutate me. And by the time I got the orb and I crawled out like I was colored in iridescent scales, and I had glowing gold extra eyes poking out
God.
from under my skin, and I had extra arms and shit. It was fucking
And this
radical.
helped you win the game?
Yeah, some of those were good. The extra eyes give you an accuracy bonus and stuff like that.
Fuck yeah.
So sometimes they're bad.
All right, well, you convinced me this is the coolest game ever made.
It is the coolest game ever
This
made.
is like if D&D were fun and good.
Yeah.
You could play D&D
know.
by yourself, and you didn't have to worry about dice
dear.
rolls so much.
Are you fucked?
No. Wait, yes.
Oh
It's
god.
the coolest game ever that we're gonna have to restart right now. Are there no save states?
It's a
Is that for
fickle
pussies?
mistress.
It
Of
is
course
a-
that's
it's
for
a roguelike.
pussies.
Okay.
Never.
I've never played Rogue or any roguelike, so
Well, just know you are not
Just so
supposed
you
to
know,
save state in this
no
game.
one's played Rogue. No one has
Oh, yeah.
actually played Rogue.
I'm
well, I'm gonna
teleporting.
be the first.
The reason
Do
that
it, Ben.
roguelike has proliferated
Okay,
as a
I'm
term
good.
to the
Alright.
point of
Everybody wants to
bastardization,
play Rogue without playing
no
Rogue.
one's played Rogue. Everyone's played... I mean, there's a whole... the thing is, this is... Really, these should be called mystery dungeon games to me, because that's what they're called in Japan. There's
okay.
a gigantic... Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Of course.
That's just a spin-off of a huge fucking
Yeah,
thing.
but there's there's just 1,000 games that are like that, because there's dungeon crawler games, and then there's tons. The word is Nariki Dungeon, so there's
would know.
there's tons of games that are just spin-offs of other franchises that are just mystery dungeon versions of that franchise, and then
cool.
and then there's just a million of them, and they're Izuna Legend of the Unemployed Ninja.
Yeah, my
which
sister was
is,
a big fan of that.
I fucking.
She bought it because there's a cute ninja on the cover.
Why else did you
And I
buy
bet
it?
I-
you did too, my friend. I bet you did
You
too.
gotta understand, man. Izuna,
Oh, I understand.
Izuna Legend of the Unemployed Ninja is a game that I saw in the store.
Yeah.
I'm
and I was-
unemployed and I want to be a ninja.
I was
and I
immediately-
want to fuck her too.
I was
Relatable.
immediately the most captivated I've ever been with anything in my life.
Is that
because
so?
It's okay. It's this ninja
What the
with big
fuck?
tits and
Look,
pink
is this-
hair,
Pink hair.
and she's got a big smile and she's super cute.
I've never seen this altar before. It honestly looks like a god of juggalos.
What?
Does it not look like a tiny clown face to you?
It kind of does,
Okay,
actually.
Jesse up here to
Us-
verify.
Uskaya, an altar to Uskaya the Reveler. It appears to
The
be
Reveler sounds clowny.
I'm gonna fucking go pray at it just to see.
Oh man, you're gonna throw your whole strat
Don't
out
join
the
that
window.
dark carnival. Just sit, Ben.
Okay,
You never know.
Usaka the Reveler is a god of ecstatic dance. On
my
the surface,
God.
Uskaya appreciates many forms
Yeah!
of worship, but in the dungeon, most worshippers stick to the dance of combat. Uskaya appreciates the passion and rhythm of combat, rewarding followers for each strike they deliver and for the damage they deal their foes. So the longer the dance continues, the greater the power. Okay, so it seems like he's like a
He's a
berserker
melee
god. He's like a
combat,
melee
yeah.
combat guy. All right,
That's
I like
cool.
him.
so I'm not gonna join him. Pretty. That's awesome.
Just like you get up, you don't say any prayers. We just give him a nice nod
He's
and like
definitely
a
the dark
thumbs
carnival.
up as you walk away.
The Dark Carnival.
Go on about Izuna, the unemployed ninja.
Yeah, God. So yeah, I saw this game and it was so beautiful and captivating because it's called The Legend of the Unemployed Ninja.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the greatest name ever of a game.
Plus four ring of intelligence. Just put it on.
Perfect for you.
Feeling good.
God,
Feeling good.
I desperately need one of those.
Hell yeah, dude.
I didn't buy the game immediately because I looked at the back and it's like, these very simple pixel art kind of graphics, and I was like, this looks like it's probably a pain in the ass RPG tactics game or something. So then I read reviews of it, and all of them just assured me that the game is hard as fuck because it's a dungeon crawler. They're all hard as fuck.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well I'm probably not going to play this because it's too hard. But I always wanted it every time I was in the store. I just never had the money for it. And then they made Izuna 2, The Unemployed Ninja Returns, and that was always in the store. And I was like, fuck,
Izuna,
I want this game.
Still unemployed.
I
Yeah.
don't want to fap to this girl so bad.
And well, here's the other thing. Do you guys know about the character Biko?
Who's that?
Okay, she's a character who's famous on 4chan.
Probably know her then.
She's got white hair and an eye patch, and
Is
she's
this the
missing.
one they made the comic for?
This is the same
All right,
bee,
we've talked about
guys.
this
Is
like
she
5
missing?
times.
Yeah, she's missing an arm and a leg, and she plays guitar. And anyway, yeah.
I don't know.
Tom knows the story. I tried to get a comic made of her, but the artist who drew her is the same artist who drew the Izuna art.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
me being a fan of Biko also compounded my desire to buy Izuna at this point. I needed
I remember
this game.
part of the story.
Yeah.
now.
So I finally bought Izuna 2, The Unemployed Ninja Returns, and I played like 10 hours of it, and it was too fucking hard. So I gave
I'm
up.
gonna die. I'm gonna die.
What
The
a
bee.
terrible end to that story of passion.
What?
No!
What's happening? What's happening?
The fucking bee caught up to me, and I can't
it's-
outrun him. I died.
Bee?
You died?
That same bee got me.
A bee.
Yeah, like
A big old bee.
a magic bee, I assume.
This mighty gargoyle was felled by a bee.
He's probably big. He was a red bee. No, you don't understand. This was a red
Just
bee.
like a red bee, like in Donkey Kong, they're invincible. You can't kill them, so you know.
All right, I'm just gonna fucking.
don't understand.
I'm just gonna
This
rush
was a-
through and
You
try
don't
and
understand.
get
This
back
was
to
a
where I
big
was.
bee.
It was really big, guys.
All right, well, we're on run 2 now.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Like
you
real
got
big.
yourself out of a lot of sticky situations, so
Yeah.
I'll give you props for that.
This game is all
Not
about.
sticky enough to escape the honey, though.
Oh.
This game is about threat management.
Yeah.
As you come across
This
it.
this game is about never taking any risks.
I feel like-
because you will deal with so much shit in this game that if you even take risks that have a 1% chance of killing you,
Eventually,
you'll take
yeah.
so many of them that they'll kill you.
I feel like
eventually.
this is a Captain Picard game.
Which is why it's a good game.
Exactly. You know what?
Like a game he would enjoy.
that he'd be good at. I feel like
He'd be good at it.
Like
He takes lots of risks, though.
Only-
Measured.
Yeah, but you
calculated
have to
risks.
take risks to survive in this game. So, of course you would. But
Yeah, you do have to
never if they're
sometimes.
is
never
there a part where you
needlessly.
have to be adamant in your assertion that there are only 4 lights? That's such a cool scene.
It is a great scene.
There are
Don't think I've seen
shit,
this.
man.
Oh, it's a good one.
Oh, it's so
I
great.
think I'm gonna die to this
I
cockroach.
feel like to explain it would be to ruin it.
Well,
Die
at least
immediately.
Oh no,
it'd be right away.
I barely survived. I barely survived the cockroach.
All right.
Wow. Well, we're
That's
off
a
to
sentence
good
I've said many times in my and completely meant it. Yeah, and the thing about Izuna 2 is that while it was hard as shit,
Yeah.
it also just is like it didn't have as much story as I would have liked. Like it's
Yeah.
the kind of game, kind of like Disgaea or the Nipponichi games. What always shocked me about those games is that like you'd go through this gauntlet of like hours in a dungeon, like this
Yeah.
long, incredibly hard dungeon that takes you like fucking 50 tries to beat a level, and then you beat it, and you get like maybe 3 minutes of cutscene that's mostly characters just saying dumb shit, and the story makes no progress, and then you're right back in another dungeon.
That always
And it's
frustrated me immensely about their games.
Yeah, like, because I was used to, RPGs like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
where,
good
Right,
games.
where
Yeah,
where
where
they
you're gonna
give you
sit
lots
down
of
for
stuff to
fucking-
fap to
Yeah.
after you
Yeah, well,
struggle.
it's funny because some people, like, there's a lot of people who really hate, like, the Final Fantasy games because of this reason, that there's
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
cutscene. But, like, to me, I was kind of conditioned, I grew up with those games, and
Yeah.
I,
That's
like,
true.
was conditioned to expect that if I just beat a giant boss, I'm going to get a sizable chunk of story for payoff. Like,
Yeah.
I did not play those games because I
think
thought it
the
was
people
fun
who
to
hate-
fight bosses.
The people
you
who hate
know?
Final Fantasy are the people who grew up playing stuff like Daggerfall, which is like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
It's this huge
Yeah.
fucking big
Well,
world. that you,
meanwhile, like
you
the
make your own story essentially.
the Nipponichi games, like the reward for that is some snarky dialogue, and then
Yeah.
they waste like 15 minutes of your time with bullshit
Yeah.
conversations no
and,
one gives
and
a fuck
granted,
about.
I didn't get this at the time, and God, I bought
An
all
amulet
those.
of faith. Now that's not that might really help me. That'll really help me if I can survive to fucking get a god this time.
Yeah, okay.
That makes gods really like you.
That's sweet.
I fucking bought like every Nipponichi game they released here
Not me.
because because the aesthetic appeals to me so much.
Yeah.
Like I'm so.
Oh, they look so good, dude. They look so fucking cool.
That's the disappointing part, is because you get drawn in for the aesthetic and they don't really do anything with it.
Well, I was
other
also
than just like make you bought the game.
I was also way into.
That's what it's for.
I was full-heartedly. This is pure hubris, pure pretension and hubris.
Yeah.
I was
From
way.
you?
Yeah,
No.
like next level. I don't think of myself as being that pretentious, because pretension means you're pretending to be something other than what you are.
That's true.
I am
pretty
elitist.
upfront with your bias.
I am elitist and biased, but I don't think I'm pretentious. But as a kid,
you don't make any excuses. About it.
this was a matter of pure pretension that I was really into tactics games. The only reason I was really into tactics games is because I thought that because I'm smart, I should be good at tactics.
Oh, I
tactics.
totally get that.
I'm
Dude,
smart.
Dude, I thought I was wicked smart. Like, look at all the... I'm fucking, like, playing chess for years over here.
Yeah, exactly.
With all these little anime boys.
Like, I think the first one I played was probably Fire Emblem, and I sucked at it. I could never beat level 15X, and, like, because, you know, I would restart if I lost a guy, so...
Me too.
I just played the level, like, 100 times and couldn't beat it, and said, fuck it. And just because I'm literally not smart enough to think of a fucking tactic to beat the level.
I just drank a potion of beneficial mutation. My fingernails lengthened, and now I feel fantastic.
Is that like a combat bonus?
I've done that before.
It is, I think it would give me a bonus to unarmed combat. So it's like, it's no big
Small,
deal.
but hey, that's
Plus
cool.
0.2 points of damage.
And like I might be able to make offhand attacks.
It's like Meg's superpower in that episode of Family Guy where they all got superpowers. She got the little.
Grow. Yeah. Oh,
I don't even
man.
remember that. But yeah, so like over the course of like 5 or 6 years, I really had it in my head that I was way into tactics games and would buy like all of them and then play them for like barely any time because I was so bad.
Yeah.
You know, I think the one I played the most of was the original Disgaea, and then like, but I had Phantom Brave, Makai Kingdom, fucking Lapusel Tactics, all the fucking that one sucks.
That one sucks. It's shit. I tried so hard to play that game.
But for so long, I thought that it only sucked because I was not good at it. And then I grew up, like, there was a time...
The main girl was so hot. The main girl, Lapusel Tactics, was so hot.
Where's, like, my skill and my personal preference?
Dude,
like, where's that divide? That's super hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Lapusel is that it's the way that the combat system works takes forever. Like
I don't remember that.
Like you have to. Okay, it's all based on positioning, where you have to like basically. There's like a line of colored blocks.
I do remember that.
And like your character stands on that line, and whichever way they're facing, the line faces that way.
Yeah, right.
So like if there's a line cutting vertically through the stage, you'd have a character standing in it and turn them to the left, and the line breaks to the left.
Right.
And so you want to position all your characters in such a way.
This seems arduous already.
Yeah, you want to position them all in such a way that you get as many enemies in this line as possible, and then when you attack, it'll go down the line and hit all the guys.
Gotcha.
But then like. There's also like cutscenes for like hitting someone.
Yeah.
And those like they load in and they're slow and they load out and you can't turn them off. So even like the tutorial battles are like 40 fucking minutes just because of how much shit you have to watch in between attacking.
That's the worst.
And like as a kid, I just thought, well, I'm garbage at this game and I don't get it. So so I'll play it later. And then like 2 years ago, I busted it out and I was like, I'm an adult now. I'm gonna play Lapusel because I love the aesthetic of this game. The characters look fucking great, and I put it in and started playing it, and I was like, this game fucking blows. The characters all have generic anime personalities.
Yeah,
it's
they sure
slow as shit, and the tactics are boring. And fuck this game. I'm never playing it again.
I really hate tactics games. I play Fire Emblem because my friends do. I don't even like it. I don't know why I play it.
I don't think I would like it if I played one today.
Hippo's really into Fire Emblem.
He loves Fire Emblem, but Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite games of all time. But
that has a great story.
It has a possibly the greatest story in all video games in terms of drama. And the tactics system is complex and rich and wonderful.
As I understand it, Final Fantasy Tactics is like the story is on the level of like The Wire or Game of Thrones or something. It's like
without
that. It's like an epic political
you just like
thriller.
Exponentially increased my desire to play.
Yeah,
that game.
it's. Have you played Vagrant Story? Or do you know? It's the same writer.
I want to play that.
They're both known for like these.
This is why I need to start late to the party. I'll have no excuse to start doing all this shit.
Tactics would be a great late to the party.
Tactics is a wonderful game.
Wait. I can kind of infer from the name, but what is late to the party?
Basically, it's an excuse for me to actually do all the things I keep saying I've been wanting to do for the last like 10 years.
Huh.
Yeah, like
that's a good name.
It's all
It's a good
media.
gimmick, yeah.
It's media that everyone else cares about that Tom hasn't gotten to yet.
Right, and I can be the sole arbiter to decide if your nostalgia's bullshit or totally valid.
This is an altar to Makleb, which is
Just be careful with
not
that
the god I
series.
want.
Just be very careful.
I would
tread lightly.
I would approach it from a very casual and lighthearted, opinionated I would never deal in absolutes.
Yeah.
Only a Sith does that.
By the way, I think
I
that
know I'm kind of more of a Sith guy.
the best way to describe Final Fantasy Tactics is like a cross between the real life War of the Roses and Berserk. That's how I would
Oh my
describe it.
god,
It's awesome.
That sounds fucking great.
It's great. The drama between Delita and Ramza is
I
right
think-
up there with Guts and
I think it's because I
Griffith.
played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and I was like, this must be like Final
Oh,
Fantasy
shit, a
Tactics,
wizard.
and I wasn't a huge fan of that game.
Well, it's a little hard to get into it at first.
Kind of
Rabbit Girls were kind of cool.
Viera?
Yeah.
Oh, I played all the other games, but only the original is really, truly great and worth playing.
Well, Tactics Advanced is like
I kind of wish
the
it
story is
Tactics
not
to
the
iPhone
same
or something.
kind of story.
And I could
It's
play it.
totally different, and it's
Is it
still
on that?
fun,
That
but
sounds like
it's
something
goofy
Square would
and
do
not
nowadays.
as serious. And the
It's-
game is just less complex and less fun.
Yeah, so all those fucking Nipponichi games, man. It took a long time to come to that realization that they're not that
you're not the problem.
yeah, that
Oh yeah.
That's
that
really what it
I'm
boils
not
down
the
to.
problem and that they're not that they just weren't what I
You're
wanted.
into them for the wrong reasons. You're
Yeah.
looking for something out of them
Well-
they don't deliver.
Well, Jesse's video about fucking The Witch and the
The Witch
Hundred
and the
Knight was
Hundred Knight, yeah.
fucking perfect.
It was
It
great.
captured all
Yeah.
of my problems with those games.
It was so great to
Which is
finally
that-
get someone say
Great
that.
that they have these short, weird, vapid
An
cutscenes
altar of
and terrible
rule.
voice acting, and then if you try to you have to press X to advance the dialogue, which causes them to talk at an unnatural rate. But then if you try to mash X and you keep hearing the beginnings of sentences, there's no winning.
Yeah,
there's no
there's no
victory
winning.
over the cutscenes.
And
in those
a lot of
games.
games would do well to manage that.
Yeah, and it's infuriating, and it took me a long time to realize it. And thankfully, I stopped buying the games in 2008 because I was never playing them.
Yeah.
So I was I'm not gonna buy any more until I get through the collection
Dude,
I have.
I did that too. La Pucelle, and I've got 3 Disgaea sequels that have just sit in
Right.
a box because I
Dude,
thought I would play them and never did.
You see over there, the audience can't see this, but do you see how there's one rack that's just PS2 games?
I think so. Yeah.
I've beaten maybe 4 of those, and the rest of them
I'm
are.
not that bad.
I went through this period where I was really obsessed with JRPGs,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
kept
You
buying
all
them.
have.
And I kept there was a point where I had a cutoff, and I said I'm not going to buy any more until I beat all the
Shit,
ones I have.
it's crazy
But
youth.
One by one, as I try to go back and beat the ones I have,
Yeah.
I realize, oh, these suck.
You don't like
they
JRPGs?
mostly suck.
I still love Final Fantasy IX.
Final Fantasy IX
Dude,
is
that's
fantastic.
a classic. Everyone loves Final
That's
Fantasy
one of the
IX.
So good.
Final Fantasy IX is one that
Everyone who
see,
sucks Final Fantasy VII's dick, I'm just like, but 9 is so charming.
Well, that's fine. I mean,
I haven't played
you know.
7, so I'm totally biased. But 9 just it tickled me in all the right ways.
there's 2 different levels here. There's the ones that I never beat that I played 5 hours and gave up and thought I would do one day, and those are mostly the ones that I came back to later and went, oh, I only played 5 hours because this game's fucking boring. Whereas there's other games that I actually almost beat back then, and the only reason I didn't is because of shenanigans.
Yeah,
In Final
yeah.
Fantasy IX's case, I adored that game. It was the greatest game
wonderful.
ever. I made it to disc 3, and then...
Natasha the cat has 9 lives. You have to you kill her, but she just disappears. She appears somewhere else on the level.
Oh, is she any stronger when she reappears?
No, she's just the same.
You
That's
just
kinda
XP
cool.
farmer.
You can. Oh, she summoned a demon.
Oh, well, that's not good.
She summoned a daemon.
The Daemon!
Oh, I'm out of magic.
The Dr.
Final Fantasy Tactics
Scholes!
is
Okay,
on
this
the
is actually
iPhone
bad.
for $13.99 with HD
I
graphics.
hope it's not
I
shit.
fucking read reviews for that shit.
It has
Oh,
4.5
no.
stars right now, and has
Buy it.
3,598 reviews.
If it's
It's
got
pretty
good
good.
reviews, then it's worth it. I mean, if you like playing on a fucking mobile.
Well,
Do you
I
have
just-
a PSP or something? It's got to be on that.
I don't. PSP's gay. I don't have.
Oh, the PSP War of the Lions version is... I think it's better. They
I
do some
died.
shit where
But you
everyone
can
has
just get it on
old-timey
Steam
English voices.
If you just want to play it on the
Yes.
computer.
I don't know if I.
Dude, just fucking pirate it or something. I guess you like to buy games, so
Well, he's
yeah.
just worried about whether he's going to play it on the phone or on the computer.
That's
Oh,
well. The
yeah.
whole thing is that it's one of the. I don't. Sometimes I spend more time on this a day than I do on my computer.
I'm not like that, so
I'm slowly moving. I find sitting at a desk to be very
Limiting?
Not even limiting, just like physically uncomfortable these days.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Get
touch my
one of
desk-
these. You can't afford one of these. Never mind.
Oh God,
kill
you
you.
fuck.
Well,
Ouch,
I mean,
ouch.
this
This is a $500 chair you're sitting in, Ben.
This isn't the first
He can't
time.
afford it.
This isn't the first
Get it
time he
away
said
from
that,
me.
and it won't be the last.
No.
So
That chair
I just
costs
come back
as much
with
as that
check your
tablet.
privilege and feel like a victim, and in this culture, that's a good thing.
That's true.
That means I have privilege over you, and soon you'll be paying me money.
Well, the point is I can sit in this chair all day, and it never becomes a problem.
I don't know.
That's
Like
why
for
I
some
bought it.
reason, like a couple years ago when I'd sit down at my desk, I'd be like, "All right, it's work time." Now when I sit down at a desk, I'm like, "This is so gay," and I just don't want to do
Yeah.
anything.
Well, just be
reasonable.
aware, if you're, I mean, the music is great, and if you can appreciate the game fully on your phone, feel free to do so.
I
But
might,
I'd
I
recommend
might just
doing
wait
it
till
the
I get my
medium.
new laptop and buy it on Windows and just play it on that,
Fair enough.
which could be kind of cool.
It should be given its due respect when played. Though I don't want to overhype it. I mean, it's
Right.
not perfect.
I was talking about Final Fantasy IX
Yeah.
and why I stopped.
Yeah.
I got to disc 3. Do you remember the part where Kuja's the bad guy, right?
Of course,
Yes.
Kuja, that's right.
Kuja captures your whole party, and he splits you into two
Let me
teams.
guess. You got to the place where you can't use metal weapons or something?
Essentially,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't use magic.
That's right. That's
He
right.
says, like, I'm going to send you to this castle. You have to take 2 people.
Ollivander, the Castle
Yeah.
Ollivander.
You pick 2 people, but you can't use magic.
Yep.
And I didn't, like, process what that meant. So I sent Zidane and Vivi,
Oh, dear.
That is not a good call.
both useless.
Well, Zidane's
without-
pretty good.
Zidane's not
My
like,
Zidane
completely
had lots of
useless.
magic, though.
Okay.
And I was, like, I was, like, 1 level under-leveled. Like, I'm never over-leveled in these games. I'm
Wait,
always, like, right
hang
at the
on.
level.
That doesn't make any sense. Zidane doesn't use magic. What are
Why
you
do you
talking
guys say
about?
Zidane?
Yeah, it's Zidane.
I mean,
Zidane.
yeah, I'm just saying, I always called him Zidane. It is actually supposed to be pronounced Zidane, but who gives a fuck?
Well, Aerith is
Zidane
supposed
does
to be
not
Aerith,
use
and that's
magic,
not
so I don't know what the
true.
fuck
Shouldn't
you're
it
talking
be
about.
Zidane? Well, does he...
It's
does
like,
he-
Zidane!
it's like, in the game, they never
Fucking
pronounce his
weeb.
name. I mean, I'm with you on Vivi. That's totally true.
Yeah.
He'd be useless without magic, but Zidane,
Are you sure he doesn't use magic?
yes.
Okay,
He has,
well, maybe
he
I-
has, he has
maybe-
skills. I don't
He has
think they're
skills, but I
spells,
think he could still
technically.
use those.
I don't remember. I
Doesn't
just
matter.
remember
The point is
I
you
got
got
there,
fucked. I got
I
you.
got there. The enemies were like a level higher than me.
Yeah.
And I could not do any. And, well, no, it wasn't just that I couldn't do anything. I literally could not progress
Hmm.
because there was only 2 rooms in this place, and I kept having to run away from battles because I couldn't like fucking kill anything.
Right.
So I just kept running away, and I kept going back and forth between these 2 rooms. And of course, I had saved the second I got there, and of course, I didn't
course.
keep multiple save files back
Well,
then.
I mean,
because I
that's
was
just
a fucking idiot.
I would have done the same thing.
What an amateur.
I did do the same thing.
So
I got through this for some reason.
I
I probably
went-
chose Steiner because I wasn't dumb.
I kept going back and forth between the 2 rooms, going like, "What the fuck happens
Yeah.
here?" And it turns out there's like a specific enemy you have to kill to make the next area open, and I literally could not kill it with the characters I had, like because I
Guess
couldn't
you could have
level up.
grinded forever.
I couldn't because I wasn't strong enough to kill anything, and there's no
Yeah.
way out. You can't leave the fucking place.
Yep.
So it was just like I was literally completely fucked. My save file was done.
Well,
And I just didn't. I didn't
never
have
beat
the
Final
fucking
Fantasy IX either.
wherewithal to play
I got-
through it all
Neither
the way
did
from the
I.
start.
I got to the last Kuja fight and my memory card got corrupted. And I lost all my saves for all my
That's
games.
tragic.
And I've never.
That's tragic.
Actually, my memory card died twice, and it killed my Final Fantasy IX progress and my Chrono Cross progress.
Well, you know, the ending of 9, you know, like the good guys win. you
I mean,
know?
I never
it's,
felt
it's a
like
great ending.
I
but-
still feel like I've beaten the game because I grinded a lot, so I was crushing everything at that point. So I was
But you still
confident.
couldn't beat. Oh, you. That's what
I never got a
corrected.
chance to actually fight him.
Yeah, but you would have won.
I'm pretty sure I would have.
I have a question for each of you, and I suspect that for a lot of you, the answer will be never. But how many times have you given up on a game towards the end because you couldn't beat a boss?
Never.
Because I couldn't beat a boss? I don't think I've ever done that.
Why is this guy
I
so fucking
always
strong?
just-
Holy shit.
You know, I probably have done it once or twice. I did that with Final Fantasy 12 for a while, but then came back and defeated it and fucking raped that game, and it was
I have
awesome.
wanted to do that, but my tism is that like at that point I'm just like I can't let this game be better than me. It's not even real.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'll
way
just
too
scream
stubborn.
and I'll use racial slurs and I'll snap controllers in half and I'll get so pissed, but I'll eventually do it and I won't even feel good. I'll just be like, I just made myself die 2 years earlier from all the stress.
I have it. I have
hate
it.
everything.
In some cases, I give up because it would take to like. Okay, here's the thing about me as a kid, and this is probably also why you guys are better at games than me, because I just. growing up, I thought side quests were just a waste of time.
Oh, you fool.
Like,
You
I did
fool.
not think that side quests were worth doing or that there was any reason to do them. I was like, people only do this if they're fucking, like, weird or something, right? Like, I just...
Well, you're not wrong.
I just literally... Well, the thing is that a lot of Japanese games expect you to do all the side quests just to beat the final boss. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Shadow Hearts Covenant, for instance, is a game that I absolutely loved, and I played it all the way through to the end. And the final dungeon was pretty hard, but I was still beating everything in it.
Yeah.
And then I get to the final boss, and he's just like curb stomping me. Like, I can't do anything to it. And I realized, like, I think I looked at a strategy guide and it said I had to be like...
It's fucking Vehumet. It's fucking Vehumet time.
All
Is
right.
that
You
the
found an
god you
altar?
wanted to pray to?
I just happened to find an altar to Vehumet.
Nice.
Usually you don't find the god you want until you get to the ecumenical temple, but here I am, and I fucking found it.
All right.
Do the
The
environments
game's trying
change
to
in this
turn in
game?
your favor.
What did you?
Do the environments change in this game?
It's all randomly generated.
It is all randomly generated.
But does it ever look like something different?
Yeah, there are different regions.
Okay.
I've just been fucking around in the early game right now. This is like the baseline normal dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I'm worshipping Vehumet, I just got a book, but it's probably not anything I want because it was next to this altar of Kikubakudga. It is Kikubakudga's Disquisition on Evil, and the only spell it has is Pain, which is garbage, so I won't be drinking it. Should I drink from this fountain? Oh, and Sif Muna. Fuck that. Should I drink from this fountain of sparkling water?
Sure, why not?
Why not?
How do I do it?
Speaking of old
There
games,
probably is an answer to sure why not, but he didn't give it.
Yeah, it can do terrible things to me.
Do it anyway.
I'm gonna do it anyway. How do I...
Real fanboys take risks.
Give a
how
YOLO
do I
or two in
drink
this fucking game.
I mean, you're supposed to be going as Picard, but you can Kirk it every now and then to keep the analogy going.
Yeah, so at the end of Shadow Hearts Covenant, I looked at the guide, and it's like, you should be like level 67 or something to beat this boss, and I was like level 59. And I was like, because again I didn't like process side quests as like an important thing. I was like, so am I expected to just grind in this final dungeon for like 10 hours?
No, that's not what you're supposed to do.
Well, no, yeah, because what I eventually
At that
realized.
point, I mean, in your situation, that's what you have to do.
Well, what I
unless
no,
you want to go
the
all
side
the way
quests were
back
not
into-
locked out in this game,
Right.
and it's actually pretty easy to travel around because that game is basically you go to a bunch of different cities.
Yeah.
And it's like each city has a dungeon in
cool.
it, but you could travel between the cities pretty easily. And it takes place in the real world and in Europe. And so I was like, eventually it occurred to me, like they expected me to have done all the side quests to get all the ultimate weapons for the characters, and that would make this boss a cakewalk.
That's my shit.
But
that's my jam.
I had not, I had
did
not
that
done
in
so.
Xenosaga. That was
God
like
fucking
so
damn it.
rewarding.
And so I just
You ever
kind
play
of gave up.
Xenosaga?
Yeah,
I
dude.
did.
Xenosaga was my favorite
That
thing
was
in the
that
whole
game
world.
was my jam. For
I
like
got
a solid
stuck
year
on
and
a
half.
boss 10 hours in and gave up.
Dude, I did.
And it's right there on my shelf among games I will
I still
play
haven't
one
played
day.
Xenosaga
supposedly.
2. It's sitting on my shelf.
I
Someday
never
will.
finished.
They changed the
Xenosaga
art
2.
style dramatically, and I got super
I
turned
didn't
off by
like
it.
the look of it nearly as much.
Exactly.
Xenosaga 2 is pretty fucking panned by fans, but 3 is apparently a return to form.
The problem is that 3 is, I guess, a convoluted mess story-wise because there were supposed to be 6 entries and span 10 years, and they got canceled, so they had to do everything in 4 games worth of content in 1.
What?
So it's just,
Oh.
yeah.
You can't fucking quaff from fountains anymore. What the shit, man?
Oh.
You
that
used to be
sucks.
able to like mutate and stuff, but you drink this like irradiated magical water. But now I guess they took it out.
That's a bummer.
They,
Wow.
they take out features sometimes. And
So
like,
this game just got less cool because
Some-
the mutant was like half the intrigue.
well, no, I mean
can still
there's
mutate.
other ways to do it, but
Alright.
yeah, you can no longer drink from fountains. I guess they thought it was extraneous, which it was, but I liked that.
That's kind of the whole
Well,
reason to make a game
Digi,
like
this
this.
phenomenon
Yeah.
you were talking about hitting a wall, I actually fucking love it because it gives me an excuse
you are
to
so
go
dumb.
do
Yeah.
to go do all the side quests that I'd been putting off to that point, and because a lot
Who
of the
puts off
time
side quests?
those I mean,
See,
it
not
depends.
me, not me anymore, but it depends on the game.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the most recent example of me giving up on a game at the very end was Persona 2 Eternal Punishment,
Yeah.
which I played about
Seems like an
close to 5 years
title.
ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And the game, it's like 50 hours long, as RPGs tend to be. And
Like you do.
I love Persona, like Shin Megami Tensei is the like still how how I got over Nippon Ichi.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten over Shin Megami Tensei even though I should, because the games are just so perfectly.
Are you talking about
my
Persona
aesthetic.
or the
All of them,
Okay,
Persona
okay.
and the rest,
Yeah.
because the aesthetic is just everything I ever wanted. Like they look exactly what
They do
what
look
I want
really
things
They
to
look
look
how
like.
you want to look. They
Yeah,
fuck how you want to fuck.
but Atlas is infamous for making extremely hard games. So it's like everything about the game is what I want, except that it's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And like the Persona games in particular, I love the characters. I love the way that you like go back to the same town and everyone has new things to say every time you beat a dungeon. I love that shit, right? So I'm playing through Persona 2, and the thing is that as the game goes along, the story gets kind of retarded, and like the second half of the game is just so much less interesting than the first. So in the first half, I was doing a lot more like, like extra bullshit.
Yeah.
But then as I grew less interested in the story, then it would be like, I just went through this grueling dungeon and did all this fucking shit, and then I come back and I get a cutscene that is not even interesting, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this fucking blew, and then I have to go to another incredibly grueling dungeon, and when that happened, I was like, but I still want, like, now I just feel like I want to rush through this to find out where the fuck the story's going.
Yeah.
So like in the
But they're not
second
gonna
half,
give it to you.
I just
shit.
started, in the second half I just started rushing
Did
through
you
as
see
fast
those
as
fucking
possible.
orcs? I just came up some stairs about a bunch of orcs and an orc priest.
But it's this
Priests
weird...
are really bad.
Yeah.
It's this weird shift in proportion where it's like early in the game, the story is really interesting and the dungeons are pretty short. But then later on, it's like the dungeons are super long and super difficult and the story is like nothing.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I'm in this endless gauntlet
When
of
games
fucking
do
dungeons.
a heel turn, it's not cool.
Yeah, and so the final dungeon in that game, I was so fucking sick of the game. Like I just wanted it to be over. I'd been playing for like probably 3 days, and I just wanted it to be done because like nonstop for 3 days,
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta fucking finish this game. And they're telling me
Oh,
like,
no.
the final boss, if you want to beat him,
Check this shit out. What this is, that altar over there is an altar of Trog, the god of rage and for barbarians and stuff. This moth in here is a rage moth, or like he's called a... Yeah, he's a moth of wrath. So he's gonna like sprinkle his rage powder on these fucking rats and send them into a berserk fury. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
God.
get the fuck
yeah,
out of
get
here.
out of there.
That
sounds
sounds like
horrible.
the worst day ever.
It's pretty bad. I mean, the rats are not particularly strong, so it's not like
Sounds bad.
it could be dealt
Dark
with.
Souls has taught me that rats are not to be trifled with.
That's true.
I don't-
Yeah, I
wanna
learned
be
that the hard way in
trifling.
Bloodborne.
I don't want to be
It's like,
trifling.
Oh, all right.
One in isolation is fine.
I got
Yeah.
embarrassingly murdered by a gang of rats.
It happens.
I was in
Maybe you'd
Central
feel
Yarn.
less bad about your failures in Bloodborne if you watched other new players, because
Well, I felt a
everyone's
little
equally
better.
awful.
I felt a little better when I watched Hippo's live stream of Bloodborne, where he was still dying, even though he's like mastered that game.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel a little less.
No one
shitty.
just makes it through, unless
Well,
you're fucking
the whole
perfect.
thing is like
Yeah.
I never even talked about Dark Souls until I started talking to you guys, and the first time I heard anyone talk about Dark Souls was when Gib was saying, "I just fucking destroyed Dark Souls on my first time, and I died like twice." And I was like, "Oh,
Well,
is
he's
that?"
a weirdo exception,
Well,
so,
okay.
you know.
The
So
thing
that's
is
my
that
only
Hippo,
experience with Dark
Hippo
Souls.
played not only extremely cautiously, but he violently overleveled in his
Yeah,
playthrough.
yeah.
Like
I think
he
I'm
was
doing that
so,
in Bloodborne right now.
He was so unbelievably OP that
think I'm
he
level
did things
38.
in his first playthrough that I've never heard of anyone doing.
Yeah.
because
He
he
beat
was just
Artorias
so,
in his first try.
Yeah, but he said that Artorias. He said that he was taking a drink like of Estus, and Artorias hit him, and he did not stagger out of taking the
Yeah,
drink.
yeah, which is
means
ridiculous.
that his like for that to be possible, he would have to be like 10 times the level that most people finish the game at. Like he was so over leveled, it's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
So
I
yeah,
grinded,
this is a
I
totally
grinded
unique
for like 4
experience.
days to get leveled before I kept playing the game. I just felt
That's
like
a good idea.
it's so boring though. Grinding in that game is.
Grinding is not great in that game. It's true.
What, in Dark Souls?
I actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my tweet about
Dark
it, but
Souls or
I wrote an
Bloodborne?
entire script in my head
Oh,
for Bloodborne.
I was thinking of Dark Souls.
Are you
but
talking
maybe
about Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Because I enjoy grinding in Bloodborne.
Really?
I just enjoy. To
I
me,
hate grinding in all those
the
games,
act
actually.
of playing Bloodborne is the appeal of Bloodborne to
Well,
me.
here's the thing.
Like,
Like Bloodborne, the only reason I can stand playing Bloodborne is because every time you hit something, it's like having an orgasm. The blood spraying
yeah, exactly.
and the sound.
That's why it's grinding is fun.
If
because
that
hitting stuff
wasn't
is so
there,
fun.
I couldn't play this
I
game.
don't give a shit about that shit. I
That's
just want to
the-
fucking grind my EXP and get up as fast as possible. Doing
No.
things repetitively over and over like that
It
in
gets
that way.
numbing. Like
I
the
don't
only
know.
like I had this
Bores
whole like
me.
thing planned out. I was like, because I was comparing it to like action games I like that are hard, like Ninja Gaiden and Devil May Cry. It's a
Yeah.
different kind of game completely.
Sure.
But, like the appeal of Devil May Cry and
I don't
stuff
think I
is,
need
is
Magic
how
Dart
you
just
kill
yet.
the guy,
I might
and
never.
the fun in Bloodborne is if you'll kill the guy. Because like
That's true.
you don't know if you're going to be able to make it. Like that's why you're going cautiously. And like the thrill is like when you have like less than half a life bar and like you're just kind of getting by the skin of your teeth.
The thing is
you
that
feel like a fucking
once
winner.
once you're great at the game, it shifts to the other one because like. The way that my friends who are really into Souls games play, it's all about how fucking much can I gimp myself and still beat this boss.
I guess.
You know, like how can I play this game at level 1 with only shields? Yes, I can.
That's
you know?
kind of my big problem with Bloodborne right now is that like in order to like do it effectively, you have to like treat it as a game. And that sounds really fucking stupid. And I've been like thinking about how I want to make a video about this and explain this concept. And I don't even know how to describe it in words correctly yet. Is that like I like kind of not passively experiencing a game, but like kind of getting lost in the world and the idea of the game. Like when I played Mass Effect, like I was in space. Like I wasn't sitting at a computer playing a game. You know, with Bloodborne, it's like you have to actively be aware of all the mechanics and use
I don't believe in immersion.
I have the biggest boner for immersion ever. If I'm not immersed, I'm not having nearly as much fun.
I don't believe in it. I don't think it's real.
I've been immersed many times in my life.
Have a shitty
At least
life,
I think I have.
And I wouldn't trade it for all your Patreon bucks in the world.
I don't
get it.
Okay, I traded for a majority of your Patreon. I wouldn't be happy about it.
If you never get immersed in anything, then what's the point of experiencing any story?
I don't get the idea. Like I've never had the moment where I stop believing that this is a story.
No,
like,
I don't. It's not that you don't believe it's a story. You become so like
you just
like,
forget
enveloped in it. You're not thinking about anything else. Like, when I'm playing something like Mass Effect, like I'm not even like conscious of the fact that like I'm sitting in a chair and I'm holding a controller. It's just like you're living vicariously through those characters and those events. And so it's just like if someone, the only time you remember you're holding a controller is when someone like bitches at you. You're like, oh fuck, and you have to pause.
Well, I don't even know about this forgetting shit, but like when Ace died in One Piece. That emotionally devastated me, and I couldn't do anything for a few days.
Right. I mean,
like that's getting immersed to me.
That's the totally.
If that's what immersion means, then I've been immersed.
Yeah.
But like, I've
never forgotten that shit.
I don't think they ever think it's real.
When people talk about immersion the way that like they mean when people say like I'm not even analyzing it, I'm just immersed in it. Like that doesn't happen to me. I don't have a moment where I don't think about it.
I don't think your autism is ever going to let you get to that level.
No, it's just. Like, I mean, when I'm watching a great movie, I'm constantly thinking about why it's so great. I'm always thinking like, oh my god, this scene is constructed so well.
Don't do
you
that.
know,
I have to flip a switch in order to go into that mode.
And I feel sad sometimes because I have such a like. There are times where I'm seeing a movie and like I feel bad that I'm thinking so much about why it's making me feel emotions as opposed to just feeling the emotions.
As someone who can flip the switch, I will say that when I do flip the switch and I like realize the flaws of something, it just makes me feel stupid for letting myself be so retarded.
I've had that before, but I usually am more devastated by the fact that I can't just feel something unless it is so unbelievably powerful.
Let's be honest, with your personality, if you could do that, you'd never let yourself do it anyways. You'd never be like, well, I'm just not going to analyze this because the immersion was so great.
Right, well, shit. I mean,
you're just saving yourself a step right now.
This is sort of why...
Your brain's optimized for your fucking mental deficiencies.
I keep telling people, like, I've had this problem that I've been talking about in the decompression chambers and stuff, that, like, I need a 10. Like, I am so desperate to watch another 10 because I've been trapped in this world. Like all of 2016, not a single anime came out that I would give above a 9. Not one. And all I want is a 10 because even a 9 to me, when I watch it, I'm thinking, wow, this is executed so well. And when I watch a 10, I'm just thinking, oh my fucking god, I love everything! Like, and that leap, I need that. Like, when I watched Speed Racer for the first time, I wasn't thinking about the, oh
my god, it's a ghost of my last character. He's here with a fucking vengeance.
Oh man, that's super cool.
I don't think I can beat him.
Run.
Can you just say hi? Maybe.
Wait, did you say the ghost of your old character?
Yeah, the one that just died. I just saw him.
I'm
getting I'm getting out of here. I'm getting the fuck out.
That's pretty cool.
That is
awesome.
Spooky as shit.
Yeah, you can you just will eventually have
This is definitely the coolest game ever made.
Yep.
I'll say
I'm gonna fucking and now I'm gonna die because there's a fucking ant.
Oh
what?
dear.
See, like that right there.
Heal.
That would just
I don't have anything to heal with.
Can you go back to the other floor? Can you go down the stairs? You just came up?
The ant will follow me.
That's so gay.
See, it's
Ants
unfortunate.
can't use stairs. He's so small. It'll take him forever. It'll take him a month to get down
I'm
those
gonna
stairs.
die. I'm gonna die.
Heal.
I don't have anything to fucking heal with.
Do something.
I'm dead.
Ah.
There was nothing to do.
Damn it!
I couldn't
Killed by
outrun.
an ant. This game
I'm
does
sorry.
not care about your feelings.
Guys, I'm sorry, everyone. I
The
usually
stone gargoyle.
I feel bad that I
Are you
haven't,
still
I
a
haven't
stone
even
gargoyle?
I just want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
us
yeah.
make it to level 2.
I haven't even been
Yeah.
able to make it to the ecumenical temple,
Shameful.
which is like, oh my god, I'm getting gangbanged all at the gate. But whatever.
Whose phone keeps fucking doing that noise?
Mine made a noise just now, I think.
That sounds like an iPhone sound effect. So the fact that your Android phone does it is like sending me into a frenzy. It's like only me and Munchie have them.
Anyway.
Would it really disturb you if I had an iPhone?
No. It's just the fact that you don't and it's making iPhone noises is kind of freaking me out.
Oh, I
That
see.
killed me. That's fine. No biggie.
The first encounter?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Don't worry about it.
The downside's to random generated levels.
There,
It's
well,
like,
there
there's
were
no
just
chill.
there were just like 3 dudes there waiting for me. Okay, I think I'm probably gonna die to this hobgoblin too. Oh no, I made it. Okay, sweet.
All right, well.
So that moment that he had just now with the other guy, it's unfortunate because I wasn't playing the game and I never would because I don't understand this game.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was a 10 out of 10 moment for me.
That is
Which one?
when you find the
When you
ghost of
saw the
your
ghost
own
of your
guy.
old self.
Oh, yeah.
That, at no point did I think about like
The possibility that he
why
might die.
is that cool or anything. Like it's just it is so obviously amazing that is that would be immersion for me. Like not that I'm like lost in the world, but that like there was just a
It just
raw
sounds like you're so
emotion
fucking
jumped out.
jaded that you need something.
Exactly. I am extremely fucking jaded, and it takes something being like I can't believe this happened, and I never would have expected it, and it's like blowing my mind that it's real. That's what it takes to make me like feel anything.
That's
The downside
that's
of
the
being
thing.
a YouTube man is
That's
just
the
you
thing.
just. That's the downside to your obsession for quantity. You're just kind of like blowing through your
Yeah.
wow factor way too quickly.
It's true, and it happened all at once with anime.
I mean,
in
why
2014.
why would you be satisfied with anything less?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a
Like
good video.
anything less is good, but
Got
it's
some
just
chocolate
not,
side to me.
you know. But the thing is that the only
The
way I
music
can
choice was
find
fucking 10 out of 10. I'm sorry. He's,
What
he's
are
looking
you
at one of his
fucking-
old videos, the college graduation video.
I just got a comment.
He's
I
looking at a
was looking
comment.
at
I
it.
saw it. I had to give him kudos for the music choice in that video. It
Yeah.
was great.
he learned it from watching me.
All right, well,
What, Bonito? That's not true.
Well,
We're
you
from
heard
watching
it before,
Fontana.
but
Oh,
I did
yeah,
send
yeah.
it to you when you graduated.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, yeah, you're right that I'm jaded, but the problem is that I never find those 10 out of 10s by chance. I only find them by seeking them out.
well,
And like by watching
at this
everything.
point, I feel like that's kind of just the
You would-
nature of the beast you've become.
Well,
I mean,
it's-
you can't watch everything to try and find those.
That's
those
Digi's
10s.
goal.
That's what
Well,
I've been doing.
He's,
like
he's being audacious.
the problem is that
Admire your drive.
well, the problem is that the stuff that I end up loving the most is never stuff that everyone else loves the most, and so I have to go find them. Like I can't look at a list
Dude,
of the
you know
10,
what-
like
Oh my
the
God, a magic
consensus
ring. It's made of
masterpieces
bones.
Have
and
you-
just
Yes.
find a
Have you
10.
considered that it's finally time
What?
to learn Japanese and dive deep into that whole other pool of shit?
Oh no.
The level of manga that I will like I've been saying this.
Imagine
that,
all
like,
the light novels you could read that
Oh,
like should have
God,
been published
fuck light
instead of
novels.
fucking
Curse ring
instead of fucking
teleportation.
SAO.
Well, light novels are inherently bad. Like that's just
I'm about
a
to disprove
fact.
that rule.
You're not necessarily writing a light novel.
Oh, I will.
Well-
Like if it's not bad, then it's not a light novel.
Well, if you're defining
Nice,
it like that,
nice.
then I think our case is already complete.
Well,
You're too old to be a new light novel writer. They're all like 18 and shitty.
that is like really depressing actually when I think about it. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
That can't be right. Why isn't there like some cadre of older, better writers who are like,
Well,
look at these
okay,
retarded kids
we have
making
to-
bank on this
like,
shit.
you-
Why don't we
what-
get in on it?
My point is that like what is considered a light novel
Yeah.
is like the necessary element of it is that it's a shitty novel.
Well, it's just like
That's what
young
makes it a
adult
light
fiction,
novel.
right?
Yeah, but it's young adult fiction that is like deliberately of
Oh,
you
ow.
would describe it as a light novel because it is not of the heft of a real novel.
Well, how different is like
Yeah.
a Sword
just
Art
a light
Online
novel.
from like a Hunger Games? They seem pretty comparable to me.
They are, and Hunger Games is terrible. So that's exactly the same thing.
It's entertaining in its own way.
Yeah,
but
so are light
it's not-
novels.
I would.
Yeah.
So
But
it's sort of-
I
a
don't know.
30-year-old, 30-something-year-old American woman wrote
two
that.
years worth of
I
semen
don't know.
flowed, made
Whatever.
a glopping sound and flowed endlessly into
that
opera.
was not in
I don't-
any of the published versions.
I don't
of
think
Sword Art
I don't think you're
Online.
gonna find a line that
I
bad in
do
Hunger
think you
Games.
have to be kind of dumb to write a book like that.
Okay,
Or maybe I'm underestimating them.
I'm
Let's
like
craft it
the
that way.
biggest. I used to be like the biggest light novel guy in the world. Like when I was reading them before. Well, because light novels, before they became something that everything in anime is.
Yeah.
I was reading them in like the mid 2000s when nobody knew what they were. All that shit right there you see on that shelf, that's all light novels.
Is there anything worth reading?
Yeah, a lot of it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for stuff to read.
Boogie Pop. Boogie Pop was my world.
Is that going to turn me into you? Because I don't know if I want to go down that road.
No, I mean you read some of my book a little bit.
I read a little. I need to read more.
It's like people who like the couple of people who read my book who had read Boogie Pop were like, you just cloned Boogie Pop. Like that's all it is.
Okay.
Because my book is just Boogie Pop meets Baccano. That's like and Gunslinger Girl. Like if you combine those three, you've got my book. But
it's not a terrible combination.
yeah, and like Baccano. Okay, Baccano, great example. Phenomenal anime.
Okay, you might be explaining a point I was just about to raise, but keep going.
Baccano is a phenomenal anime. The light novel took almost 10 years to finally come stateside. It came last year. They released it only in a $20 hardcover because they knew how badly people wanted it. So they released it only in a $20 hardcover. Now here's the thing. What you have to understand about both manga and light novels in Japan is that they're like $5. Like a light novel is like this little tiny fat book that
Ring of Protection of Magic, baby.
that they put out in like
All right.
Finally getting stacked.
I hope. Okay. There's a race in this game that is the octopode. It is literally just a sentient octopus.
Nice.
And it cannot use like most equipment, but the one thing it can do is it can wear 8 magic rings at the same time. So if you find 8 magic rings, you're fucking set.
You could summon Captain Planet all
Is
by
it
yourself.
that good to get 8 rings?
Well, rings are.
Wait.
Well, I don't know. Rings can have really good effects.
Wait,
Okay.
Ben.
What?
Ben, I have a question for Professor Saint.
What?
I can wear 10 magic rings. What are you fucking talking
The
about?
rule in D&D and in much fantasy is that 1 ring per hand.
That's fucking gay.
That
doesn't make any sense.
Is the thing. But an octopode has 8 hands. It's
If
not
you
about
get a
the
mutation
fingers.
with a new arm, you
Okay.
can wear
It's
another ring,
it's not
right?
about
Why
the
isn't it just
fingers.
counted as one hand? They're all coming from the same central appendage.
No.
Stop
Ask
asking
Jesus.
questions.
Anyway, keep going.
yeah. So light novels in Japan are these little $5 rinky-dink little books that they fucking shovel out, and they come out like every 3 months. Like if you're reading a
I want that
series.
speed.
Yeah, if that's
That'd be nice.
I mean, look, I have nothing but respect for light novel authors because they're so fast.
Yeah.
But the stuff they're writing is fucking dog shit. So like Reki Kawahara, for instance, you have to understand about Sword Online and Excel World is that each one has at minimum 2 books a year. At minimum, both series are running at the same time. 2 books a year. Usually, they edge towards 4 books a year.
Okay.
So he's writing these like every month to 3 months.
Okay.
These are cheap, disposable fiction. They are meant to be things that young people can buy, for the cheap, read quickly, get the next installment in a couple months, read a whole bunch of them, and they come out, like, constantly. The ones that get made into anime are the really successful ones, but there's a ton of light novels. It's a really oversaturated market. So there's just shitloads of these crappy little books coming out. Now, when they release these stateside, because the market for them is so small here and there's such high demand from people who really care about them, they jack the price way up. So right now, the average price of a light novel is $14. Baccano, because it was in demand for so long, because it's this niche that people have wanted it for, all this time, $20 hardcover. So I bought it because I had to.
Of course.
And I was hoping they were gonna only do that for the first book and maybe release cheaper versions later. Of course not.
You set the standard on that, dude.
Oh,
You
no.
jumped on it.
Oh no! I drank a potion of mutation.
Well, I jumped
feel
on it-
frail. My feet thicken and deform. I feel the magical essence linked to my wands.
What the fuck does that
the
mean?
Fuck? I have no idea what that means.
That
You
sounds...
expend magical power to strengthen your wands, or whatever. Frail is terrible. Cloven feet is actually pretty shitty because it means I can't wear boots. Okay, I need a potion of cure mutation.
Wow, that's...
That was
luck.
that was a
Good luck
disaster.
with this third run.
That's
You
a
were doing
disaster.
so good.
The real bad thing is the frailty. By the time I'm finding good boots, it's not unlikely I'll have found a potion of cure mutation.
Yeah.
Boots, yeah. mean, your goal eventually is to get kitted out with like a good piece of equipment in every one of your slots, and then you're fucking a super
like every
strong.
game ever made.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I only bought Baccano because I knew I could write it off of my taxes because I'd make a video about this exact concept I'm talking about. But
have you done that yet?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't watch it.
It was called Have Manga and Light Novels Gotten Too Expensive?
Was it on After Dark?
Yeah, it's on After Dark.
I'm not subscribed to After Dark.
Well, if you want to be polluted with videos every single day, then by all means
that's
subscribe.
why I'm not subscribed to After Dark.
So
it's too much,
They're
dude.
all fantastic. Everything I've ever made. Anyway, Baccano, I bought this damn book and I started reading it, and it's not well written. Like
that's my huge complaint.
Yeah.
I was so fucking stoked to check out.
Oh, you read it too?
No, I didn't read. I haven't watched Baccano. Another thing on my list to do. But like I really enjoyed No Game No Life, and I was like, oh, I'll read the light novels.
They're terrible.
They're
right?
so fucking. I like flipped through one in the store. I'm like, this looks like it was written by like a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
and I wasn't sure, like, is it just translation or is it like they actually written by retards?
Because they're written, like I said, in like 3 months.
But here's the
by
thing.
like a 20-year-old.
Here's what I don't understand. Okay, because I just recently read the entire series of Animorphs, which is it's not the same thing, but those came out once a month. There's 12 books a year.
But those are like really
Applegate
small.
is a beast, dog.
They're smaller books, but like the concepts in there are like fucking great. Like it's one of like the best like books talking about like the psychological effects of war. Which I mean, there's probably better.
You
but, like,
may be exaggerating.
No,
there.
it's not like okay, not like the best ever, but like it's like it treats it really realistically and like goes into a lot of things that you wouldn't expect for a book written for that like age demographic. It's fucking great. That's like the coolest. It's the coolest thing. I do not regret spending $60 on all of Animorphs.
All right, that's cool.
It was well worth it. But it's just like, why can't like a quote unquote I guess like young adult write something of like just
okay, you have to understand as well that part of the thing with light novels is that they're very edgy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the concept
yeah.
behind them, like the people who did it in the beginning were kind of like
No, this fucking priest won't leave me alone.
like some
he
people
really wants to talk to you about Jesus.
Some people credit Boogie Pop with having been like part of what influenced light novels to happen, like as a thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And Boogie Pop, the whole idea was that the guy who wrote it, Kohei Kadono, his writing was too weird. No one would publish him because his writing was too weird. He described it as boogie. So he decided to fuse it with pop sensibility, hence Boogie Pop.
Yeah, we've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah. I'm explaining to Tom, who doesn't watch After Dark.
Oh,
all right?
okay.
I think I have heard you say this before.
Well, anyway, that's not that important.
I don't think I
the
can
point
know you
is
and not hear
that
this.
he tried to make, a pop
Just
novel.
found a pizza.
And
Just found a
so-
pizza in the dungeon.
All right.
But
yes.
Congrats.
most of what's unique about Boogie Pop as a book is not really like that it's a great story. It's the format of it. That it's like 5 different characters each telling their own part of the story, which is, it's like there's a lot of like gimmick elements to it. So it's like it's basically just like anime characters in an anime story, but it's presented in this very obtuse, strange way with like a sort of rambling stream of consciousness writing style.
Interesting.
And that's what like a lot of the early light novels, all of them are like these very outsider art, stream of consciousness kind of shit. But like when you look back on them as an adult, you can feel the fact that you're older than these authors were when they wrote them, and you really feel that. Like, they're not geniuses. They are just, like, writers who gotta start early, Okay. And, like...
Yeah.
I read Boogie Pop now, and even though I still really appreciate it and how, like, where it innovated and how interesting it is, like, the actual writing is pretty immature. And that's true of, like, all light novels. And the thing is that most of the people who were writing them were influenced by the old ones, and there's just a degradation over time. It only gets worse.
Yeah.
New light
that makes
novels
sense.
are only worse and worse and worse than older ones. So if you read, a lot of those ones on the shelf are the original generation. If you read Nisio Scene,
I hear the sound of rushing water. That means there's a special portal on this level that'll take me to
you
like
can
a...
hear this game?
Well,
No,
no,
it
that's what it
says-
says.
Oh,
I
okay.
hear the sound of rushing water. Anyway, that
Where-
means I need to find a portal and get there because there's a secret level that will probably have nice treasures for me.
Rad.
But yeah, if you read the writing of Nishio Isin or Kohei Kodono or any of the people in Faust, which is those 2 volumes there that say Faust, those are like compilations.
Cool.
And it was a magazine that existed in Japan that was mostly like light novel authors writing short stories, and then they also had manga stuff in there. And like everyone in there has like a very distinct, like dark, edgy kind of teenaged, like young adult style. But those stories were very like, even though they took a lot of influence from anime and video games, they read more like young adult fiction. Like they took place in like, you know, urban areas, and they had like real stories and some drama. But then over time, they like light novels just became anime, and it just became like all the tropey bullshit. And now they're just garbage. They're all fucking terrible. And
it strikes me as odd that happened. Why can't you just write fiction for, you know, young adults and not have it devolve
because
into that?
they're being like, the problem is that those guys who wrote the original ones were probably influenced by real books.
Real writers.
Yeah,
you know?
Right, of course.
Like Catcher in the Rye. They all owe a lot to that. You know, they all owe a lot to the Catcher in the Rye. They even, in one of the Faust volumes, there's like a few of them nerd out about it. You know, like
really?
how much they love that book.
Not being
Catcher in the Rye is, you know, is something that young adults love.
Sure.
You know, it's written in a way that that audience can appreciate it. But it's a real book. But if you only read stuff that are influenced by that, that's a little worse. And then those people write, you know, and everyone keeps writing worse and worse stuff.
Slowly becoming more.
And then if you're writing,
I
want you to imagine that someone, because this is something that happens all the time, and it happened to me as a kid. We probably all experienced this. You watched Sword Art Online or something like it, some shitty show that was your favorite show, and you immediately decided that you wanted to be a writer, and your only influence is that one shitty show you watched. So you try to write something exactly like that.
Yeah.
And if you're successful at writing something exactly like that shitty successful show, you also have now written a shitty successful show.
It's just that it strikes me as particularly strange that the market would come to support like shittier products instead of rewarding what I would assume is better quality stuff.
You know what?
There.
I have a theory on this.
Because it's easier to make.
It's easier to make, but I think what you're talking more to is like who's buying it, right?
Yeah.
It's the same
Kids.
people. Dude, here's the thing. We can tie this all back together. It's the exact same mentality as why you bought all those fucking games. Because the aesthetic of the book itself is what drew you.
That's
the
true.
number one thing to remember...
It's all marketing. It's the producers.
The most important thing to remember about light novels is that the writing doesn't matter. The cover matters.
Exactly.
Because every light novel is a two-man team. It's a guy who wrote the book and then the guy who did the illustrations.
And those guys are equally important.
Exactly. They are of equal importance, if not the character designers even more, you know? And these character designers, like whereas the writers are all these, you know, these young dudes who are probably submitting to contests, like, you know, Dengeki Bunko probably has a contest like every month. Hey, who wants to be a writer, you know? Hey, your story's shit, let's publish it. And then they farm artists off of like Pixiv, you know, Pixiv?
Yeah.
So they'll just go on there and find someone who's popular and be like, let's hire this fucking guy.
Makes
you know?
sense.
Super underpay him.
Yeah, exactly. And slap that guy's fucking art on this guy's shitty book, and now you've got a product, and now you've got the Asterisk War, you know? Or like with the in the case of the Asterisk War, the guy who did the character designs had previously done a series called what the fuck is it called? It's some other bullshit fucking shit. But it was
shit. Great show.
It was a bullshit shitty show that was really popular because of how hot the girls were.
Of course,
and it's like there's no reason that Asterisk War would have gotten an anime if not for the fact that the same character designer did that novel. And like they probably just like some novelist came up with the story and they said, "Oh, let's put this guy on it," and they put that guy on it, and now that novel, regardless of what it is, has a future because that artist drew two girls.
The only reason No Game No Life is successful is because Shiro was on the cover.
But the people orchestrating all this are the people at these companies that choose to publish these books written by these people. They're the ones who get in touch with these artists.
It's because they don't have to pay anybody a lot of money.
It's because
and they know they'll sell a fuck ton.
Yeah, and they're
soulless fucking scum-sucking faggots who need to be executed.
Well, they're picking out. They're picking out the stories.
You have money.
Well,
we're going to Japan. It's daytime there.
It's these people.
Can take them out.
It's these people whose responsibility it is to support the company they work for and guarantee the return on investment through these books and these light novels and these artists and whatnot. It's that need to produce and get a return on your investment that's really driving artistry out the window and bringing in bullshit.
But here's the thing, and I mean, people can look at this and be like, like how is it that all these bullshit things keep getting successful?
Yeah.
But the thing is that only a small percentage are actually successful, but they're paying for all the failures. Because
Right.
like I said before, whereas only some of these are getting anime adaptations, there are fuckloads of light novels getting published, and most of them just die.
I know nothing about
Most
this
of-
market,
like-
so
I don't either.
Yeah.
I've
Same is
looked
true for manga,
I've tried
you know?
Googling light novels constantly.
Oh, for
and I've
manga, yeah,
I've never
absolutely.
gotten anything
Like how many times have you
As good as
started
this.
in any medium? How many times have you like a print something not like anime where it's all made at once, like a season is made all in one sitting? But like how many times have you started reading a series and then after like a few chapters it just dies?
it happens all the time.
You know,
It's tragic.
And that's what
Sometimes.
like light novels, they're just constantly making them, and some of them, like, one comes out, nobody buys it, it's done.
Yeah.
But the one that actually survives, that gets the anime.
It pays for like
Yeah.
all the failures.
Right, exactly.
Because they're
And
not
so
paying
they just
a lot to begin with.
they churn out as many as they can in the hopes that one of them is going to be the golden goose.
Which makes
one will
perfect
be the
sense.
sort
The
of
people are dumb enough to
Right.
buy one of these.
Right, and that's why I hate A1 Pictures so much, the Sword Art Online team, because it's very clear, because they make like fucking 4 shows a season, because they're just hoping one of them's gonna be the cash
They're
cow.
doing
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
They're doing the same thing.
and they
for
just
anime.
churn out constant shit, and like, you know, every once in a while one of them
finally.
sticks, and they make $1 billion, you know. But
Somebody has to stop the madness.
Yeah.
Does anybody care
No,
about
see,
quality anymore?
the only way to stop it is these are just pure market forces driving the entire
Yeah.
thing. The only way to affect it is that there has to be the individual people running these things have to have a guiding light within them that tells them artistry is what I'm here for,
Well,
and that's
but-
what I need to
but
do.
the
problem, but here's
But-
here's the question.
Yeah,
How
where's
do you
the money come
define,
from?
Well, how do you define artistry?
Yeah.
Because like Sword Art Online is unbelievably successful,
Yeah.
which just means people like it.
Yep.
So like whatever people saw in it is not what we saw in it. And the only real way, like the reason that people like us, like critics, have any importance at all
Yeah.
is, I mean, this is self-serving, but we can affect the way people perceive these things. That,
Right.
like, I have convinced hundreds of thousands of people that they don't like Sword Art Online and shouldn't support it, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, that's the
Probably
only
the most
way...
important thing you've ever done with your life.
Yeah, like, how else am I going to affect the market to make less people want Sword Art Online and more people want Log Horizon, other than to, like, convince them that they want one and not the other,
That's
you know?
yeah, right.
And if it works, if enough people like me say it, then, like, it might change something, but...
Yep. That's what I hope to do, to convince people to do things that are better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, by your standards.
By yeah, and I would never say that it's anything
It's
other
a-
than my personal
Our
standards.
job is the most self-serving in the world
Yeah.
in that regard.
Yeah,
Oh no,
that's
oh,
entirely
God.
true.
Oh god, it's a fucking centaur. Oh my fuck.
Our centaur is big and
he'll,
tough.
He'll kill me. He'll shoot me full of arrows and I'll die.
What the fuck got us on this light novel tangent? Was
I
there
don't know,
something I was
man.
eventually planning to loop back to that I forgot?
maybe.
Probably, but who knows?
Yeah, No Game No Life I haven't bought specifically because the volumes are $14 a piece.
I'm just
And
so
I-
depressed
I
because
wanna
the
know
reason-
where it goes.
It's so interesting because like here, like in the
But Tom
States,
said that the books are shit, though, right?
I've only read like one and
Yeah.
half
I
of
mean,
a page,
even if-
but it was enough to tell me that sucks.
Even if there's shit, like, because that's the thing, like, No Game No Life might never get a second season, and there were only like
I thought it was getting something. It's getting an OVA.
It's been a while now,
nothing's
hasn't
ever
it?
been
this year,
mentioned.
isn't it? I thought it was.
Maybe.
I thought I heard something about that.
Well,
been a
the
while.
thing is that the anime, like the
It was really popular, too, wasn't it?
It was.
yeah, but the novels were very new at the time,
Uh.
so like there was only 4 when the anime came out, and it only adapted 3, or it adapted 3 out of the 4. So
Oh,
there
yeah,
was
yeah.
there was not enough material for another season, and it was publishing slower than most light novels. But but yeah,
that's
when
one of the good ones.
yeah, when Volume 4 came out in the U.S., I was like, I kind of really want to know where this goes, but I'm not going to pay $14 for what I know is going to be dog shit writing. You know, it's
Yeah.
not going to be eloquently written
gotta
by
get
any
the
stretch.
PDF rip from.
Oh
And-
no, no, no,
but-
no,
but
fucking bees,
so many,
man,
like,
fucking bees.
a
There's
lot
a
of-
swarm
Not
of
the
bees and a
bees.
demon.
But
That was where you're playing Nick Cage.
There's
Yeah.
a swarm of bees and a demon.
but
That is what I was
Oh,
faced
well.
with.
if you're wondering
Bit
at
of a
all,
threat ramp.
if you're wondering at all why I'm still buying
No, the bees
light
are
novels,
vastly
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Please enlighten me, because
it's
I don't know
because
anymore.
the one great thing about light novels is that not unlike this game, crazy fucking ideas get into them.
It's true.
Like even though the writing is dog shit, like okay, a certain
It's the
magical
same reason I like Animorphs. There's a lot of cool shit going
Yeah.
on that.
a certain magical index is the perfect example of a series that's like it's full of dumb tropey bullshit.
Just drank a
Um,
potion that permanently made me weak, stupid, and clumsy.
amazing.
Now you know what it's like to be me.
Amazing.
So a certain magical index is nothing but like dumb tropey anime bullshit.
Yes, it is.
Only sales are driven entirely by waifus.
Right.
Because Misaka, for some reason, is the most popular waifu of all time, and
really?
I don't know
Is that true?
why. She
Bizarre.
wins. She still wins best girl contests, like on both Reddit and on like in Japan.
It's the spats, dude. It's gotta be the spats.
It's this girl named Misaka, also known as Railgun, and her power is that she's like one of the strongest espers in the city. And there's an academy city. It's a city that's all schools that teach people how to use esper magic, and she controls lightning. And her thing is that she'll take like a coin and flick it, and it fires like a railgun. And so they call her Railgun.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool, and she's just kind of like a tsundere girl or whatever who has like, she was really strong, but for whatever reason, people fucking love her. Like, she is like one of the most popular characters ever, and I don't know why, because she's not that special.
The public continues to baffle me.
I mean, I like her. I don't dislike her. I just don't understand the sheer... it's just like Saber. Like, what...
Yeah, I don't get that
Saber's
either.
an even better character design, but I don't get the overwhelming love for Saber.
It's just because
I don't know, man. Strong women.
Think about this, dude. We can't even sit here and complain about them. We just fapped to fucking 2B downstairs, and she has no personality other than like we can see up her.
2B is way more interesting inherently
at least
than
you
either of those
play as
characters.
her. Like, you have some connection.
I guess, but that doesn't do much for me in terms of endearing me to a character. Like, I don't like my Bloodborne guy at all.
Look, 2B's in a whole new world. There's tons to explore. Whatever. It doesn't.
We'll find out if she's interesting with the game.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But like.
I feel like she's going to be a stereotypical, I have no emotions, and by the end she'll have some sort of like emotional revelation.
I don't know. You have to understand.
Nier is off the rails.
Fucking weird.
It's off the rails.
It could be anything.
Well,
really.
I would love to be mistaken because I really like everything else the game's about.
I can't wait to play that fucking game because the twists are going to be legit.
The guy who makes the Nier and Drakengard games is a psychopath, and his games are full of weird, off the wall.
Wait, speaking of psychopaths, I haven't talked to you about the fucking Godzilla movie coming out this year, have I?
No, but I am excited.
You know, of course you know. Of course you fucking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so it's like two of the coolest things.
Yeah. But anyway,
I've wanted a Godzilla animated movie forever.
Before we go down to Godzilla, let me finish my point about Index.
Let's do that. I'll put my boner away from it.
Just that Index, it's waifu driven. It's full of anime cliches and dumb bullshit.
Is it worth reading?
No.
It is, because it is so fucking unhinged with ideas. Like, Index has the most detailed like series of rules and like things go. Like, every book basically is just to introduce as many concepts as the author can think of.
It's super interesting when like things like that happen, because like it's very interesting when you find pieces of media that are doing so many extraneous things just to like the author or whatever has like one specific goal they want to do. Like, this is what they actually care about.
Yeah.
But you can't just do that.
No.
It's like I can't just make up rules and publish them online and people will kill me for
it. I mean, it's basically a wiki. The book is like a Wikipedia. Like if someone just wrote a wiki for a show and then just like loosely turned that into a book. That's kind of what it is.
I do enjoy those.
It's just, and he never stops coming up with shit, and it can lead to amazing shit. Like, for instance,
Accelerator is a crazy dude.
Yeah. The concept of the story is that like there's the Academy City, which is built around science, and they have to teach people to like use powers. So it's kind of an X-Men city. Like it's all young people learning how to use superpowers, cool. And they only believe in science. But then in the beginning of the story, the main character meets this girl named Index who works for the church, and the church is entirely governed by magic. But it's a secret world. It's a whole secret world of magic. So basically, the story is about this secret world of magic colliding with the city of science, which both have totally different series of rules. Like, the way that science works is really deep and complicated and has tons of rules, and the same is true of the church and magic, but they're totally different from each other.
It is cool.
Meanwhile, the main character, his only power is that his hand can cancel anything. It can cancel all magic, it can cancel all science, cool. And it constantly cancels his own luck.
It can cancel all science.
So everything anything he touches, everything will go wrong for it. Of course, the first thing this is used for is the girl Index.
I'm wearing a protective magical garment.
But it's genius how it's done.
It is
because Index, her outfit is the walking church.
Right.
And it protects her from all magic, and she like brags about it.
It's like super powerful or something.
Yeah, it's like the most powerful armor in the magic universe. universe, and he touches it and it explodes off of her immediately.
Lol, naked.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is a clever.
It works. No, it works.
In terms of like,
it totally works.
Totally objectifying the female lead. That's one of the better ways I've heard.
She's garbage anyway. Who gives a fuck?
She's a retard, like a literal retard, and she doesn't matter after the first book. But
I got my tits in for the first book. You're all fucking here
she has
for the
no
long
tits.
haul
She's
now?
a fucking.
She is a lolly, yeah.
But
that's for people
but that's the thing about Index is that like the what happens in the story is just dumb tropey anime bullshit. But how and why it's happening is this really bizarre series of crazy
I really
rules.
wish we could get something like One Punch Man for these books. Like someone gets like, this is good ideas. I'm gonna make it not blow dick.
Well, the best. Okay, I'll give you one example because this was something I was watching season 2 of Index, and like the first arc of season 2 was kind of boring up until it got to this point where like there's all these combat nuns, right? Like that show up, and they're having this huge battle.
I did it.
And
I fucking did it.
They're
What'd
in
you
these
do?
super
I killed
hot.
the orc wizard.
Nice.
Orc wizard.
Yeah, I was
What kind
fighting.
of fucking game are you playing?
I was fighting an orc wizard. Yeah, I know. Usually I deal with things like bees, but
I just meant that orcs don't.
Wait, are we in the second level
Orcs
now?
and wizards are not.
I'm like four floors deep.
All right, well done.
In level 2 or level 1?
Well, this is the first zone.
Okay, I just saw a lot of trees.
Are you going
and
down floors or up floors?
Down. You gotta go down.
Okay. You're going deeper into the abyss. I wasn't sure if you were already in the.
Ow.
Are you getting?
Yes, I am being harmed.
I was just like the screen was flashing. I'm like, usually that's a sign.
Oh
that
god, there's a fucking iguana!
Oh my
What do I do?
God.
Why is it
You
iguana so
defeated
dangerous?
I
an
can't
orc.
deal with this shit!
I really don't understand.
okay, I think I can
the
get away.
threat ramp of
Yeah, it
this
looks
game
like
at
it.
all.
Oh, thank
Iguanas, dude.
Thank Makleb that I'm able to get away.
So anyways, there's all these combat nuns, and they're fighting on the roof of this building. And, like, there's this one girl who has,
this
like...
game is a fucking clusterfuck. I'm having to, like, flee every floor, like, back and forth, because there's all these things that I don't want to deal with. But then they keep pushing me back.
You can't keep running away from your problems, Ben.
There's just no end to the stupid shit
Look,
that
that's
I'm
life,
encountering.
okay?
Well,
I have to run away from my
Well,
house in 6 months.
well, sure.
Okay. Combat nuns.
Yeah.
All on the roof.
Finish your thought.
Fighting in this building.
Yes, fucking
And, like,
idiot.
there's all these people running around with all these different fucking powers, and all the combat nuns have different weapons. Everyone's got something unique. Every fucking character's got some completely different crazy shit with its own rules. And there's one character who's, like, singing this hymn, and, like, it's like permeating through this whole area, and like it makes it so people can't use like certain attacks when this hymn's going, and they really need to use those attacks. So all the nuns pull out chopsticks and just stab themselves in the ears so they can no longer hear the hymn and it won't disrupt their magic.
Holy shit.
And so they go in and start fighting. And I was just
hardcore.
like when you see something like that, it's just like everything's justified. All the dumb bullshit is justified because that was awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
We need
And there's lots of stuff like that.
They just someone
brutal.
who runs. Do you know how they make $1 bajillion?
That is super edgy, by the way.
One of these light.
Oh, there's a lot of fun. Well, the thing about Index is that it has edgy moments, but it's really goofy.
I've seen a bunch of it.
Especially, like, the anime... I mean, the anime is goofy itself, but the narration of the book is really, like, sarcastic and silly and, like, doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like, you can tell that which is what I like about it. It's not that it's well written, but it's very
kind of
silly and
acknowledging-
doesn't take itself seriously, and it's fun to read.
Good.
And there's just so many, like, random comments. Like, the main character will be running down a hallway, and there'll be talismans all over the walls, like, because of some, something to do with some magic. And then he'll, like, make an observation about, like, and I noticed that, like, it says this thing, which means this, and, like, oh, yeah, that's why those are there. And I'm just like, this is so much. Like, it's so much shit.
Yeah.
And...
Did you remember when we bought those Rambutans?
Yes.
I just found some Rambutans.
Yes.
This game is why I know about Rambutans. Although they've genericized the fruits into just being fruits, but they used to be you could find like black currants or like lentils or stuff or just like a weird. Okay, I found an artifact robe. It's gonna be I'm gonna identify it just for fun.
Oh god.
Before I put it on.
Every time you do something.
It is a +2 robe Atuen. Oh, it prevents me from casting, but it's really good. Oh
But
my
you have to
God.
cast spells.
This is it. Oh my. No! It's so fucking good, but it prevents spell casting.
That's the worst
It's
possible
so
thing.
No.
fucking good.
That's good if you need to fucking run away from something, because you're
Yeah.
not going to be casting and you can buff yourself.
You'll have it.
The thing is, it takes
It's the robe of Ben Saint.
kind of the thing is it takes a pseudo-realistic amount of time to put on things. Like, it doesn't just take one blip. It takes like
Wow.
several rounds to
Wow,
put
that
clothes
is
on.
that is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Maybe.
Here's
That
that
just ruined this game for
secret
me.
here's that secret entrance I was looking for before, but it's long since rusted over.
Oh.
Yeah, it did not work out. That's okay. It's just the sewers. Fuck the sewers.
No, I was saying, like, what if they want to, like, make $1 bajillion, they need to, one of these companies who publishes all these light novels, they need to just get that one successful thing, get like $1 trillion, and then use like half of it, just like, we're gonna hire a team of
Step
editors
one,
to
get,
fix
like-
all the gay
Step
out
one,
of
get
this
like $1
fucking
trillion.
book.
Well,
Clearly, it's not that hard.
I'm sure these
Yeah.
books have editors. They're just very lax
They
about
need
what they'll
they
let
need
through.
better editors. Editing is the thing.
But yeah, but the sad thing about all this is that like something like Index, is probably like at best a 6 out of 10, and is still one of the better light novels.
Well, here's the thing. I just hearing you describe that, I'm thinking like, what if
Jesus. Okay,
what if
there
they
we
just
go.
like decided to just cut the
Oh, no.
bullshit and they just they wrote the book like you just described it. It's super conversational, so you're not even reading it with the expectation of reading a book. It's just like, I want to hear some guy tell me about some cool shit.
That would be great, and some of them are borderline that.
I mean, that would be. I would be so much more down to read something like that
That-
than
I mean-
someone attempting to do prose badly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, like-
That's every time I get stuck writing SL, I literally just turn into a Valley Girl when I'm like, and then like they did this thing, and it comes out so much easier. You don't have to like get bogged
dude.
down.
For years, I was considering
no.
abandoning writing books and just writing Wikipedias. Like, I was just going to write wikis for my stories as though they existed, but not actually write the stories. And, I mean, I don't know how I would monetize that, but I just, like, it was the only way I could think to just get the fucking ideas out there
Well, that's the
without
whole
having
thing.
to write shitty prose.
Like because the Index guy, that's what he should have done. That's what he wanted to do.
yeah.
Well, it
just
worked
forced himself
out
to
well for
slog
him.
through the
It
rest.
worked
yeah, I
out
mean,
real
he's,
well.
he's extremely
No.
famous.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking from a
And
from
also
an artistic
puts out-
integrity standpoint.
And also has put out 4 books a year for 15 years, by the way.
Impressive
You know,
work.
It is pretty. I will not.
And he
There
runs like
is-
several extremely successful series at
Quantity
the same time.
There is
is
an
impressive no matter how bad it actually is.
there is a quote inconspicuous book over right here.
That sounds incredibly suspect.
Incredibly conspicuous. But I need to be able to fly to get to it. So as soon, wait. I have one. I have a potion of flight.
Well,
So let's
I'm
get
just
it.
gonna touch this clearly fuck me in the butthole
So
thing.
it is a Sif Muna's Compendium of the Frostbite, which is honestly not that useful. So whatever.
It's a shame.
Oh well. That's fine.
Yeah, God, the guy who writes Index, he also writes Heavy Object, which also got an anime adaptation last year.
Yeah.
And like several other, like he will have years go by where he has written installments into like 5 different series and multiples of some of those.
How do you even keep your brain organized like that?
Clearly, he
doesn't.
He just needs to have a mental like orgasm every now
Yeah.
and then. Just get these ideas out of him.
I mean, he's one of those guys who's described as like, I don't want to do anything but be writing,
Like a
You know,
Stephen
that's
King
what
or
I wanna
something.
be.
Yeah, Nisi Scene is also
I gotta
like
get to that point.
and he's fucking unbelievably successful. But Nisi Scene is another one where it's like, in his case, it's that he writes such his okay. I would describe his dialogue as so stilted and awkward that it's its own style and it's awesome. Like it's
I don't know if I
it's
believe
full
you, but
circle.
I'll give you the benefit
Have you ever
of
seen
that.
any of Bakemonogatari or Katanagatari or anything with the Gatari in the title?
Yes.
Yeah, he's known for those and for some other stuff. But his characters all just have the most bizarre like thought processes and like reasons for thinking what they think, and they just talk. That's all they do. His novels are just nonstop dialogue.
You know what's really weird?
None of which is natural at all, but it's so fucking weird that it's really entertaining.
My books are nothing but dialogue, but it's done well. Not to toot my own horn.
No. Go ahead. Toot your own horn.
I mean, Nisi Scene is famous for amazing dialogue. It's just that it's like amazing in that it is so out there that it's really
it's
interesting.
amazingly confusing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because like this whole discussion we've been having like this entire time is basically saying like we live in like the post-talent era. Like you
Yeah,
don't need to be
that's right.
talented
For
to
sure.
be successful.
That
And,
is
like, why do I
well,
stress
look at
myself
me.
out so much about being good, and yet, like it freezes me in place, not be able to do anything because like it's not good enough. But clearly, being good does not matter anymore.
No, well,
It's not the primary thing
I don't
to be
think it ever
successful.
mattered. I don't think it ever mattered.
Well, I
That's
I
silly.
think
That can't be
it
right.
matters significantly less now, just because like the
I don't-
volume of stuff that
dude.
can be done.
Oh, dude. I found a store.
Well, I
they
don't.
sell
I don't
a
think
scroll of
being good was
acquirement.
ever a thing. I think it's just that there was a taste that was common.
You know, I kind of agree with you just because like Shakespeare is so renowned and he was basically just like trash back
Yeah.
in his day.
Sucks.
Well, like it's just that like the reason taste gets made is like let's say we're back in the day and you can only publish one book a year. Like you just don't have the technology to publish more than one book a year. You publish that book, everyone reads that book. It's everyone's first exposure to art. So their taste is that book.
It's true.
Now, if you write another book that's nothing like that book, people are going to go, well, that book was good. This is something different. I don't like it as much. This is bad. And then if you write something that's exactly like the previous book, but, you know, a little different, then people go, oh, this is like that. This is what good is, you know. And then everyone just takes influence from the same book, and that's what good is. And then
I
eventually,
guess.
there's people out there...
I feel like that's a gross simplification,
But then
I
there's
can't argue it.
But there's some people who read that book and they go, "Well, I hate this. I'm gonna write my own
the
thing."
Contrarian.
Yeah, and
Digibro.
I'm gonna write my own thing, and then they write their own thing, and nobody cares about it because it's not good, you know, to them. But then, sometime in the future,
Yeah.
we now have the internet, and you
yes.
can publish that.
H.P. Lovecraft.
You can
in a
publish
nutshell.
that thing, and everyone goes. Like everyone's like, well, this isn't good until that one guy finds it who's like, this is exactly what I wanted. And it used to be that you could only show whatever book you wrote to the people in your village or to some publisher who doesn't want it.
Right.
But now I can go like imagine
Your village is the entire world.
yeah, your village is everywhere. And like as long as you can just get it into the hands of those people who want it, then you're good. And that's the hardest part. That's the entire struggle of publishing on the internet. It's not about being good. It's not about anything. It's about finding
your
the
tribe.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding your tribe. Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's like, where is my tribe? Are they on Reddit? Are they on 4chan? Are they over here? Are they over there? I just gotta spam it. Are they on Tumblr? Please tell me they're somewhere. You know, is it the guy who inspired me? Is he going to like my stuff as much as I like his stuff? Let me send it to him. Maybe he'll post it on his Twitter. You know, like you're desperately trying to find your tribe.
It is a struggle for sure.
This makes me wonder what the end goal of all this is. What
me,
are we all
Nuclear
getting
holocaust.
at with this?
Are we talking about humanity?
Oh no!
No, you got this. Dude.
Barely survived.
All right, well,
barely
heal up.
survived that fucking centaur.
What are you talking about? The point of like of the creative struggle?
Yeah, the point of art in general. Why it's consumed.
I think it's. I think.
And why we should give a shit.
But the point, I don't think anyone
the
needs
real
to give
one.
a shit. I think the only people that give a shit are the
Well, you
person
see,
making it for themselves.
I like making it, and I need to justify why I make it.
To me, the purpose of art is to let people contextualize themselves and the world around them. People don't like when you are just like, let's say you're just working all the time.
Yeah.
All you do is work. And at some point, you take a step back and realize,
Go.
I don't even like doing this. Why the fuck am I doing this? Why is living a thing?
Yep.
Why am I alive?
I ask
Why
that question-
would I
that's
be
the only
doing
question
this?
on a daily basis.
And then you read a book and you go, oh, that's why.
That's why I'm alive.
That's why. It's this thing. This makes sense now. And then you're like, I want another. And then you read another one and you go, and this is how people sustain themselves through working these like, to me, the most important thing my videos do is make it so someone who can't do what I do and is working some shit job somewhere doesn't kill themselves today. You know, like if my video
That sounds melodramatic, but it actually is.
I've got lots of comments to this effect in the past that like, you know, like your video came out today, I felt like dog shit and wanted to die, and then I watched the video and now I feel okay. Like that's the most important thing my videos can do is make people not want to kill themselves because the simple act of living sucks, you know.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Something feels off about that. Like, why? What is their justification for not killing themselves by
I
being
think-
entertained?
No,
Just
well, here's the
feeling,
thing.
just
If-
feeling like someone like
Hey,
if
you've
like, what
never
meaning have
been
they
working
gained
at
in
your
their
job
lives?
and just being like, this fucking blows balls. Imagine if
Well,
you
okay.
if you went and worked at your job
no,
Yeah.
I know
and
what
then
he
you
means.
came home and did nothing but like stare at a wall and jerk off.
Yeah.
You just didn't have the artistic spark.
But what am I giving that you can't? Like, I think what you're asking is more philosophical.
It
and
is.
like okay.
Why don't you give an answer?
Here's a great.
What do you think it is?
I think he's trying to figure it out.
Here's a great example from how
I have an answer.
How I've come to understand this from a lot of people. Like I spent a lot of time on forums in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And I would continually see people this one forum called Otaku Boards, obviously an anime board. And there'd be threads about like why you're on this board.
Oh god, it's
and
Prince
people
fucking
would say,
Ribbit. It's fucking Prince Ribbit, guys. It's
The ultimate frog, man.
He is the ultimate frog.
There would be people who say things like, in my town, which is small town bumfuck nowhere
This
USA.
is bad. Real bad.
Like I would get beat up for even saying I like anime.
Okay.
Because it's just not something that anyone else in the community wants any part of, and they think it's devil worship and faggotry, and you get beat up for being gay.
Well, they're not wrong there.
Now let's say you live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and you're gay, right?
Right.
And no one around you understands, and no one around you to talk to, and you don't understand anything, and then you watch a show about being gay, or that speaks to you, even it's not even about being gay, but it's the same kind of thing.
Right.
And you watch it and you realize, oh, like this is a thing. This is not. I'm not a fucking demon. I'm not a literal devil. I'm not going to hell. God isn't real, but art is. And then you find something to connect with and be like, oh, I'm a fucking human. Other people feel this way. But then you can't talk about it with anybody in your town because they still don't understand you. So then you find the internet and you go, wait a minute, there's a bunch of people watching this shit, and there's gay people everywhere. I'm gonna be gay with them. And then you watch my analysis video, so you can be gay with me.
I see the point you're making, and that is interesting, and I do see a value in that. But what's funny is that the way that I think about my videos is they're kind of constructed with an inherent assumption that, of course, anime can have intellectual content that is valuable and should just be accepted. But what's really fascinating is that some of my closest friends in life, the guys I went to college with, even just recently, I was talking with them about just, like Gurren Lagann, just because they have seen my videos and stuff, and they just do not accept that initial premise that there is anything good about anime and that there can be intellectual content within it. They don't even get past that, and this shocked me. I wasn't even able to process it.
Well, you need to.
And that was the nature of our entire disagreement about why I even liked the show in the first place. They just don't understand that it's possible.
Remember how it was when we were all My Little Pony guys?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean,
it's the same thing.
We still, to this day, we have people in the PCP who
Oh my
will
God.
not acknowledge that, like Jeff and Monkey, both of them, anytime Pony comes up, like, they don't seem to, like, actually think that the show is, like, probably any good.
You might be
like,
right.
they really think we're all just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, well, that show is
Radcon
obviously
3.
gay
Monkey
and...
shows up, we tie him up at night, and we force him to watch all the good
Monkey
stuff.
is in the place that I was before I watched the show and realized that it really can be
Oh
good.
god, it's a bear.
Okay.
It's a fucking
You know what
bear,
we gotta
guys.
do for Monkey?
For the record, I don't think Monkey would like the show.
Oh, he's gone
I
berserk.
don't think it would be to
We
his
need
taste.
to have
I don't
Monkey
know.
watch the Japanese.
I just
dub.
don't know.
Then he can appreciate.
He'd
it through his
appreciate that
normal
more,
lens.
yeah.
I'm
Monkey
honestly
does not watch
surprised he has
Japanese
not done.
dubs.
I'm honestly
That's true.
surprised he has not done an anime review of My Little Pony, like before every
That would
meeting.
be-
He's planning to do
That would be
a...
fucking
He's
hilarious.
gonna like interview all of us.
It
isn't he?
seems like an
Something?
obvious choice.
What?
He's planning
He's
to
got
do
bigger plans, I think.
the next fucking what's it called? Anime Spectrum podcast is supposed to be about it.
Really?
They wanted to
No.
have me on
I
for
was gonna
it.
say, like, there's like 17 documentaries, so don't even bother going down that road.
No, but like like I don't think in his or Jeff's mind like
Yeah.
they even process the idea that it's possible that show is actually as good as one of their favorite shows. Like, I don't think they even
Well, if
think
they
that
tuned
that
in
is a
today,
possibility.
I wouldn't
That's,
blame them.
I guess that just shows that we really do have barriers within ourselves that,
Yeah. Of
that a
course
lot
we
of
do.
us have to
Everybody
overcome.
does. I mean, we all had to kind of get through that, maybe
Yeah,
to different degrees.
Before I saw the My Little Pony show,
I
I,
mean,
thought it was bullshit and
yeah,
assumed it was
of course.
terrible,
Because, like, I had to watch all the old ones with my little sister because she was, like, 5. And I was
Yeah,
like, this is the
yeah.
gayest shit in the world. So
And it was.
I just think
And
it's,
it was totally
there's
was.
nothing
It was awful.
that baffles me more, and this is also true of stuff like K-On! And other stuff I like that
Yeah.
anything people treat this way. What
feel like I
baffles
might
me
make a
is
point you're about to make.
people will say things like, "Digibro, you seem like a smart guy. How can you like this thing?" And my response is, shouldn't you reverse engineer that and think that because I'm a smart guy, the things I like probably have something going on?
You know what,
like, do you think I just like lapse into insanity every day and watch My Little Pony for no reason?
And this is like the thought process that inevitably got me to watch a show. And like anything else that initially I was like, hesitant about was that it's like, here's like the primacy that happens. I can either continue to assume that this thing is bullshit, or I can actually give it a shot, and I can either A, be completely justified in my hatred and nothing's changed, or B, I've opened myself up to something new that I like. Yeah. I want more things in my life to like.
Well, you know, my friends, this was the exact point I raised to my friends when I said, well, how do you rationalize the fact that I like the show and get all these things out of it that I have explained in this massive long video that you have seen? How do you rationalize that? And their answer was very simple. They say, Nate, we think you are just projecting what you want onto the show and that it doesn't actually exist in it.
I don't understand how anyone can think that.
It doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. All it is people who don't make art.
They're giving me so much...
They don't make art. And they don't understand art.
That's true.
We went over this in the fucking in the intentions of the artist podcast that like everything that's in something had to be put there. You can't just like there's not.
I killed Prince Ribbit. I am the champion of the dungeon.
Speaking of art has just been created.
But wait,
the dead frog's corpse.
But wait, no. But lo, dear viewer, look at this. It is a human corpse that was left behind by Prince Ribbit. He was a human prince transformed into a blink frog.
Oh my God! Just kiss him.
Eat him anyways.
Eat him anyways.
Why didn't he just ask me?
You know. I guess he can only croak. You know, now he's croaked completely.
The dungeon just corrodes our social functions and turns us into monsters.
Well,
the dungeon is the real monster.
That's an interesting point, though. Yeah.
No, like I kind of want to play devil's advocate in the fact that I think you can project some things.
Well, sure.
It is possible.
You can project. But there's some stuff.
There have to be degrees.
There's definitely
a degree.
Yeah.
You know?
For instance, in Kill La Kill, some people have said what makes you think that all the there's all these themes that are supposedly there about Japan versus the West and how things went after World War II, right? And people will say aren't you just projecting what you want to see onto the show? And it's why would they choose to recreate the exact 3 cities that Oda Nobunaga went to on his conquest and have the parts of the show take place there? Why would they have these certain names that refer to all these ancient gods who stand for all these certain things? And there's all this symbolism in the show that is objectively there. Those things are in the show, and you can very clearly extrapolate that these things symbolize these other things. And people will say, how can you think that? And it's because none of this is here by accident. They didn't just happen to write the same cities and the same gods into the show.
And not
much more of a stretch.
Not to diminish the artistic integrity of doing that, but it's easy to think there's no way they could have planned all this from a viewer's perspective. But when you're writing something and you're inspired by things, then it just
I think that's
just
something
gets in
that
there.
people who create or people who don't think about art have a hard time realizing.
Yeah.
Is that everything is intentional.
Yeah.
Just every word is intentional.
I could explain every single frame of every video I've ever made and exactly why I chose to put it the way it was.
And another thing.
Oh boy.
And this might I don't know if you guys will agree with this. Yeah. But I think that the creative part is and the ideas is by far the easy part. I could make a show and stuff it with every fucking metaphor in the world. Mm-hmm. The hard part is making that work.
Agreed.
Writing that.
Oh, organizing the ideas.
Yeah, right.
Structure.
We could now.
Ideas are cheap.
I mean, Index is a great example of ideas being easy and structure being more difficult.
Look, I could just pick up this can and be all right, this Strawberita can. In this, I'm gonna make a short film where I drink the Strawberita can and I place it on the back of this couch, and the couch symbolizes all of society, and the Strawberita can symbolizes the atomic bomb, and I'm Donald Trump, and this is what I'm gonna do to the world, and I'll wear a Trump mask, and all this will be very obvious when it comes out, So I'll just take a drink of the can, and I'll say fuck the world, and I'll put it on the couch, and it blows up the world, and you all understand, right? And I just came up. That's all stream of consciousness. That's that's how a lot of creativity is. Like, the actual ideas is just, oh, and then this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and yeah. And then, like, actually making that into a coherent narrative that anyone would get, that's the hard part.
Check this out. Check this out. I got this sick-ass spell called Lee's Rapid Deconstruction, and it refers to the fact that it rapidly pulls apart, i.e. explodes, rocks. And so it lets you deconstruct walls. So I'm gonna tear a hole in this wall to get at that altar of Vehumet and pray to the god that I want. However, another thing you can do with it is you can use Petrify, which I also have. I haven't done this yet, but I may do it.
Yeah.
You use Petrify, and then explode them. But so because it deconstructs rocks, so you petrify an enemy and then explode the stone statue. Also, it like does shrapnel damage to everything around it.
Hey,
so
that's pretty cool.
I'm gonna try and use this more because I'm finally getting to a level of spellcasting.
You're turning into a cool guy.
I'm finally getting to a level of spellcasting that the spell isn't going to be misfiring and contaminating me with mutagenic energies every time I tried to do it.
Only some of the times, but
only maybe 10% of the time, which is acceptable.
Only going to be 10% muted
Nate,
instead of 40.
Yeah.
I've got a line for you that you should have used on your friends and could use in the future.
Let's hear it.
It's just simply, why do you think that I'm smarter than the people who made this show?
That's exactly what I was thinking when we were talking about this.
Why would you think that I can get all this out of the show, but they can't?
I was going to say that's giving me a ton of credit.
Yeah, I
best guy.
Yeah,
ever.
I just creatively made up all this crazy stuff that the show could symbolize.
It's
just
like,
because
I should start writing for TV.
Yeah,
then, clearly.
Yeah, like if I'm projecting all this, I'm clearly a fucking genius, and I have great ideas, and I should have written this story myself. You know.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say something else, and I agree with your statement completely, and I'm gonna try and like add an addendum onto it. Is that even if you come up with an interpretation that wasn't supposed to be there, I don't think that invalidates it.
No,
at
not
all.
necessarily.
Like there was an interesting interview with Jeff Smith, who made the comic Bone.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he was talking about like because they asked him like anything like what's the craziest thing that happened with Bone, like one of the weirdest experiences you had with like interacting with people who read Bone, and he was describing an experience where he, there's the whole like end of the story. They're going to this city called Athea, and they're trying to get there and they need to get some shit. It's been a while since I read. I don't remember those specifics. I just remember they need to go to Athea, and they're traveling to get there, and this guy comes up to him at a convention, and they're talking. He's like, gets the book signed. He's like, I really was fascinated by Athea, and like the way that you kind of, because like Athea meant atheism, right? So the whole thing is a metaphor for like the crumbling of like religion and going for like humanistic interpretations of things. And he's just like, what the fuck?
What the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened?
What do you mean?
Just like 50 turns passed and I died.
Did I sit on this?
Yes, you fucking sat on the keyboard and killed me.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Wait, how did that work though? There's
what button
There's a button.
speeds
There's
up?
a button.
What button
S
is it?
or space or whatever.
If it's space bar, then
that
that's
sucks
probably
too.
the F for the fuck you button.
Yeah, I'll turn off.
It was
the
an accident.
keyboard here.
Oh my god.
I was gonna make it that time. I was gonna make it to the ecumenical temple.
Oh my god.
All right, pee break.
I'm sorry, Ben.
Piss
that
away
sucks.
my tears. Oh my, that's terrible.
I'm embarrassed that I'm not making it further on these runs.
But yeah, the reason
Well, that wasn't your fault.
the
That
reason he
one-
called the city Athea is because it was just a play on.
gold on.
The reason he called the city Athea, it was just like he just like took Athena and took out a letter.
Athena.
And it sounded cool.
Yeah.
But like this guy took it and totally ran with that. But like that doesn't technically make it like invalid. Like it's because like here's the thing. How you've never talked to the guy who made it.
Yep.
So how do you
Yep.
know what he was thinking?
Yeah.
You can only infer.
You can
various
only
things.
infer.
Yeah.
So
varying degrees of
even if
certainty.
it's like super obvious, like maybe it wasn't. Like maybe to this guy, like clearly, like that was.
Well, I mean, as long as he doesn't like okay.
There's a difference between
the
saying
story-
I got this out of it and saying like this is what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
right.
the story is
You
not
can't deal with
about that, but you can have that interesting take on it.
Sure.
Like how I have like made Sword Art Online better for myself by believing that Kirito is a new type, and like I
Right.
just like to me that's canon, and I know it's well I don't know that it's not intentional, but to me it's canon, and it makes the story better, and as far as I'm concerned, it's true.
Does anyone want a beer?
We have some right here.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, with this
Halves.
Oh, you brought it up. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
I will take one.
I'll take my.
Actually,
cup
I
of
won't.
water.
I don't know why I want one.
I have my cup of water
I'm not
sitting
gonna end
right
up getting
there.
drunk.
Sick. It's too late for beer.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's too late to apologize.
I can't fucking believe this, dude. I was in level 7. I was doing so good. Ah.
Drown your sorrows.
It's all my fault. You can punish me with your pee-pee.
Dear viewers, apparently Digi saying "I'm gay" over and over is his new verbal tick.
That's
And
the meme.
Well, it's Ben's fault.
It's the best meme.
Me and Ben have both been doing it. I've just been doing it more excessively.
We've been subject to it since we got here, and
But when you guys me and Ben just walk around the house looking at each other and going, "I'm gay, dude. Me too, man. God,
Yeah,
I'm
man,
so
I'm
gay."
so gay. Yeah, have you seen how gay I am? And the answer's always yes.
Not to
I'm
be
glad
funny,
you both
it's
can
just,
finally admit it.
It's
Yep.
just, I guess
We've
just
been
feel,
admitting it.
we
Where have
feel
you been?
We feel a certain
I'm saying
camaraderie
in
with
general.
one another by sharing our gayness.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
healthy.
Yeah, you know, it's
Grow and live together.
This is the coming out cast.
Yeah. So I think the reason
live
I'm
together,
so,
but not in a gay way.
Not yet.
I'm sure you guys feel the same, but the reason I'm so adamant about this whole thing of everything in there matters is because I know that there are a million things that everything I make means that no one picks up on, and that are way more thought was put into this than anyone realizes. You know?
I mean, making something, making a story it's a lot of fucking work, and a lot of things have to go into that.
I don't feel like a lot of people miss the things I put in. Then I tend to make things pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
I mean, my videos.
You just have too fucking many things.
I disagree.
that's true.
In my videos, not much is missed other than references that nobody would get, or just weird personal in jokes that I like. For instance, the phrase "it's all a rich tapestry." I work I'll work in the phrase "rich tapestry" all the time because it's something that an anime blogger I was a big fan of was his catchphrase.
Sure.
This guy called Anime Critique, and he would always say "it's all a rich tapestry." And so any excuse I can get to work that into a script, I will. And it just sounds like it's a pretty normal phrase. It's pretty innocuous on its own. It's only when you realize that I've used it in so many fucking videos that you'd go,
Right.
"That's weird." People don't say that all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But for me, it's this in-joke that I'm making, this reference to this anime guy who's not even around anymore for the past 5. He might actually be dead. He was in Thailand, and there was he disappeared during a time of political upheaval in Thailand.
jeez.
Oh,
So
no.
Dear.
nobody's heard from him since. So
He was killed in the Australian brush fires.
I really hope not. He was one of the coolest fucking guys on the internet.
Oh, man.
It will be a real shame if he's gone. But
Hopefully he's just been in the gulags for a while.
yeah. But anyways, there's lots of stuff like that, and then the rap lyrics. The reason I did the whole 3-hour analyzing my own raps video is just because almost every line it means more than first appears. But sometimes it's just a fucking the first word that came to mind that rhymed with the last word is why that line is there.
It's interesting how your creativity has it has peaks and valleys in terms of how invested you were in things.
Well, it's just that I really enjoy serendipitous connections. I say this all the time. I really enjoy when something just happens to work out and it is perfect, more so than when I really set out to make it perfect. I find a lot of joy in if I can write lines that just spiral into one another and it brings me to somewhere cool.
I want to carve out my fucking victories from the block of marble in which they're encased.
I have found... See,
I am trying to become more... you go first, Ben.
I was going to say, in art, I feel like learning to just kind of draw whatever and just sort of deal with it. I used to save all my... I used to save everything on different layers, and now I'm a lot more... Just combine layers. Just put it all in one layer. If it doesn't work out, I'll just, I'll correct it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's a more healthy way to do it. Because you
it
treat
has
it as
been
less
better.
sacred, and you get more loose.
And the other thing is,
That's valuable.
okay, one of the reasons that Champion has taken so long is I had a real shitty work method before where I sketched all the... It's normal to sketch all the pages and then you go back and ink them. But I've been doing nothing but inking pages that have been sketched for months now.
Yeah.
And I'm right on the cusp of finishing that. And after it's done, I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to pre-sketch. I'm always just going to draw it as I go because that's how I did with Brunswick and it was great.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just just not
I'm so
fucking
that you're good enough to do that.
just not fucking. I'm just. Well, it's not that I'm not gonna sketch. It's that I'm gonna sketch and finish all at the same in one go.
Yeah.
And just
You should do a video on how you do that, so I can just.
He has to figure it out.
maybe
first,
I will.
Probably.
Actually, maybe I will. Actually, that will make for better fucking speed draws because you'll be able to see the entire process.
Yeah, that's
instead.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Just give me the not speed draw version because I have
Just
a
watch
brain,
it for
I have a
like
brain
6
disorder.
hours.
I would do it too.
Oh god.
That's how I absorb information slowly. Hence my whole problem. That's
Might
why
be
I'm
fun.
still dumb.
Might be fun.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, fucking whatever. Let the chips fall where they may. That's all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the way I write raps is the ultimate in the serendipitous stuff because I go into every rap with literally no plan. I write the first line and like let's say for instance, well here's the one I had like the most plan for was I'm Mortal. And like I was listening to the beat and it kind of reminded me of Chrono Trigger. And then I thought about how like in a game like Chrono Trigger, you beat the final boss, but ultimately, 1,000 years later, they're just gonna come back, and all the people you're saving are just gonna die anyways. Everyone dies. Like, saving the world is really just prolonging the inevitable for everybody in it. The only way to actually save the world is by creating the singularity, and we live forever. You know? So everyone else is just a temporary bad guy.
Look at this fucking shit. This is an altar of Vehumet right here, surrounded by a matrix of fucking spontaneous fireballs.
Well, that's annoying.
It's a bit. I'm vexed. I'm feeling a bit vexed right now. But I want it really bad. I'm gonna brave this fucking fire.
You made it.
I could die at any second.
Oh god. Oh god. All right. Let's adjust. I want this.
Okay,
to conclude
Vehumet
first.
welcomes you. Now let's see if his holy fire eviscerates me before I can get.
Yeah, you made it. Thanks, Vehumet.
No, it looks like I'm chosen.
Your faith
I was
rewards you.
I was chosen by he.
Something I wanted to mention about like my creative process and stuff is I'm becoming more comfortable with the fact that like pain is right and not wrong.
Yeah.
Because like I like punish myself for not having it come easily. Where like if you like want to fucking kill yourself, that means you're on the right track and not on the wrong track.
Well, let me
sort of.
Well,
depending.
I mean, the whole thing is that like it's not gonna just like usually like you said, it's carving it out of the marble. You don't just look at it and it appears.
You know, one of my favorite lines, guys, is I forget which bodybuilder said it, but man is both.
Ain't nothing but a peanut.
Yeah, ain't nothing but a peanut. Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman, classic.
It was it's about weightlifting, but it applies to art in general. I think it's man is both artist and canvas, and he has to chip himself out of the marble in which he's created to sculpt. You know, whatever. You get the idea. It's a good line. It's a good line.
Yeah.
So anyways, that I'm Mortal song. So that whole concept I had, I came up with the first 3 lines based on that concept. I would love to save the world, but I know everything dies. We know the cycle never ends, but we continue to try. If I miss the singularity within my life, I'm fucked. And so I broke the rhyme scheme. So then it was just, what rhymes with fucked?
Oh no! Oh
Cuck.
jeez! Oh jeez!
So
perfect.
So getting cucked by the universe. My favorite line in the whole song, just because fucked rhymes with cucked. So if I miss the singularity within my life, I'm fucked. Getting cucked by the universe. Now what rhymes with universe? Verse.
Little cheap, but I'll accept
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I also do lots of internal rhymes in my songs, so I usually am not as worried about the end rhyme.
Right.
But what if I pull a "Sing About Me" and get shot by the end of the verse? Which "Sing About Me" is a song by Kendrick Lamar where a character gets shot in the middle of a verse. It's super dramatic and it makes me cry every fucking time I hear it, because he's saying like, and if this reach you for your album, or if I die before your album drops, I hope you, and then you just hear, and it just stops. Fucking, it's
I never understood what the hell was going on there, but now
he's like Kendrick's reading a letter. Like the whole concept of that song is he's reading letters from people from the ghetto who are still there, like talking about his music and what it means to them. And so the one guy's like really, like, yeah, man, you really got out there and you're saying something that means something. I hope that one day I can make it out, but as he's saying that, he gets shot and dies.
It's brutal.
It's really fucking horrific. Anyways, so I'll pull a "Sing About Me" and get shot by the end of the verse. The real curse is not knowing. yet feeling the need for their goal towards which to continue growing and never slowing, even when it hurts. And it's just me thinking, like, what word rhymes with slowing, and how does that relate to this theme? And then I just keep building more rhymes on.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking plan in any of them. All of them are written very fast. And I feel bad about it because my rhymes are the weakest part of my songs, is that they're not creative. They're all just like the first word that came to mind that I could work into fitting the theme somehow. But as a result,
That's how I do it too.
I have like 4 or 5 songs where I have the lines stacks, tax, I keep rhyming tax and stacks and health and wealth. Like, I'm always talking about how I'm trying, like all I really care about is my health and wealth, and so I keep bringing it up over and over again throughout the album, because it's such an easy rhyme.
Yes, it is.
that it just always comes up. But yeah, I like that kind of just
serendipitous,
just
whatever.
run at it as hard as you can and make things come out of it, out of the bullshit.
I've been in awe recently, being around Jesse again. His almost unbelievable ability to spontaneously rhyme on command.
Yeah.
It's above what your average human being is capable of. It really seems to me.
Everything that's good about Jesse's art comes from a place of just being a literal artistic genius. And like
that one certainly seems that way at the very least.
I feel like most of what's good about him has less to do with forethought and more to do with just raw ability to come up with shit.
Yeah.
Off the top of his head, out of nowhere.
He has good creative intuition.
It's so interesting for me to be around that.
It's like a stat balance thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has all of his points taken out of competence at basic human function and all put into creative ability.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only
That's true.
I mean, when you look at Jesse, if you ever feel jealous about his creative ability, just consider what cost it has come at and ask yourself if you want to live that life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Do you want to live that life? Just remember what it took to get him here.
Remember Simba.
Remember how he actually feels about his own life, which is pure misery, and ask yourself if you want the talent at that cost.
And it's also important to reflect on how capable is this person of enjoying the spoils of what they, which is relates to both what you're saying and then
no matter
just also,
how much he makes on Patreon, it doesn't matter because he hates his job.
Because he'll just never forget that girl in high school he knew, who I don't even know, but something happened and he'll never forget it.
Well, apparently he's now a fish. I won't talk about this on the show, but
I'm curious.
We'll talk to him later.
No, I hate him.
Well, he may or may not be actually like hooking up with Boozy Floozy. She might be his real girlfriend. She is his real girlfriend.
Is that a fact?
Well,
cool.
I didn't want to get into any of that. I was just saying
they're gonna get a place together and everything.
Whoa! Is he moving out of the basement?
I think so. I think they're gonna get a place together up there in Michigan.
I'm actually really happy to hear that.
Yeah, it sounds
cool.
Potentially positive.
Seems like a positive thing.
But anyways, yeah, he can't be happy because he hates YouTube and he doesn't respect the medium at all.
Yeah.
But it's also where he makes his money. Yeah.
Yep.
The problem is I hate everything I do.
Yeah.
So that's not fun.
That's a challenge.
It is. Mentally challenged.
Let's go get him. He's downstairs. He's sleeping. He's vulnerable. Let's fucking get him, guys.
Like
kill him?
Yeah, like kill him. You know.
What's our motivation again?
I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
He's finally starting to be happy. We can't have
Why are you asking me about motivation? It's time for action, not questions.
Good point.
This could be our only chance to do something.
We gotta find out if you kill an artist, you gain his powers.
Oh God, it's Sigmund.
I don't know
Sigmund.
if I only get the powers.
It's only the powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rule states the powers, not the deficiencies.
Yeah.
That just wouldn't be fair.
That would be nice.
Because that wouldn't be fair because you only know his powers and you don't really know a person's deficiencies.
I know Jesse's deficiencies.
Well, you do because
I experience Jesse's deficiencies all the time, such as when I'm trying to get him to Radcon and he hasn't bought a fucking plane ticket until 2 days into Radcon.
Yep.
Well,
that was a very poor decision.
That is what I would consider a deficiency.
I wouldn't argue that fact.
I'm gonna fucking have an ulcer.
Oh, I have one. I don't recommend it.
Oh no!
I think things
Do
will
you
work
actually
out.
have an
I
ulcer?
actually do have an ulcer.
Holy
It's
shit.
Sigmund.
From stress?
Yes. I've been in the hospital 7 times in the last 6 months because of stress.
Jeez,
God
that sucks.
Yeah. Good times.
Oh no.
Have you considered taking a chill pill?
Well,
Good idea. Good idea.
I've talked to 3 therapists. They've all said you probably should be partially committed. That's how fucked up you are. I'm just like, no.
Oh dear.
Fuck that.
That is scary.
Man.
So
Scroll of teleportation. Oh, please activate.
Is there a way to be partially committed?
There we go.
it's you do like a 9 to 3 thing on weekdays, and you just go there. They try
That's
and
like
make
a
you
full-time job. How do you make money if you're...
How
do you survive?
You don't.
do you get welfare if you're partially committed?
No, you do
Well,
not.
then what the fuck? Why would they...
Yeah,
Who
what
would
a
do
shitty
that?
recommendation.
It's a week-long program, I guess.
Okay.
it's
Only
a
do it for 1 week.
Oh, well, I guess that's not the end of the world.
I work on weekends, so it wouldn't fuck with me.
Well, why not? Go for it. Is it
Because
expensive?
I have no idea. I never. As soon as I said that, I'm like, well, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm fucked, but I'm not that fucked. I refuse to admit to myself that I'm that bad.
Well, that
I
sounds
would-
like a healthy way to go.
If I
Yeah,
if I have any problem at all, I'm gonna go seek help. That's my current policy. Even like if I stub my toe and it hurts for more than an hour, I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like that's how.
I mean,
how
my problem is like I'm like a hypochondriac, so I like already like freak out about medical things too much already.
Yeah, but they told you to go do it. So
Well-
it's not like you're just making this up in your own mind.
That's true.
I guess part of my anxiety and depression is feeling anxious about my anxiety. So it's a fun little like stacking effect.
yeah.
Synergy.
Anxiety is a
Synergy,
black
yeah.
hole.
It's pretty bad.
It constantly
Wouldn't recommend it.
You know how
to be
black
honest.
hole like splits you in half over and over and over again forever?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Okay.
It's a theory.
If you get sucked into
No
a
one's
black hole,
tested
it
it yet.
keeps dividing you in half over and over forever.
wait, what?
Along what line?
I don't know about that, man.
What does that mean? Okay, whatever.
I
All right, sounds cool. I like it.
I heard it in a thing once.
It compresses you into an infinitely
think-
Heard
small
it in
point.
index.
Okay,
I
sure.
think it might happen in a Junji Ito book.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That
then.
sounds about right.
No, I think
Throw that out the window.
I have heard it in something, but it was sci-fi, so I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
How true it is.
I don't think that's true.
Well,
I don't think we actually
we're going
know
to
what
assume
happens.
it's true and that it's a metaphor for anxiety.
All right.
Sounds good. Sounds
like
good.
like an intentional one.
I'll accept it. I'm in a black hole of emotions right now. That
Yes.
sounds fucking emo. and
Every
shit.
everything you're anxious about doubles
It does.
and creates a
It's-
second
It's
anxiety.
really fucking annoying, and you can't really do anything about it.
Well,
Yeah.
you can't really do anything about it.
Right.
I can do something about it.
Well, I'm glad you're better than me in that way too.
I guess you just have to.
Now I feel anxious
use
about being
external
inferior
forces.
to you
Oh,
in
no.
another way.
Well, I meant
No.
I just like when I hate when people say you when they mean themselves, because it's like this is everyone does it all the time, but you know, people say
There's a cat.
like when someone's telling a story about something that happened to them and they keep saying you like they're describing that they walked into a club and saw like these like a beautiful light and it's like and you walk in and there's this beautiful light and you're just like oh my god and I'm like no none of that happened to me, this is your story, this happened to you, you know.
Do people tell first person accounts in
Yeah,
second
all
person?
the time.
I've never personally done that.
If you listen to enough people talk, you're gonna start now that I've
I
put it in your
gotta
mind-
say, Digi, this is not something I've experienced.
You've just ruined conversation.
now that I've
for
put
me
it in
if
your
this starts to
mind, you'll
happen.
notice it forever. I did, dude.
Oh,
I
God.
told my mom this problem, and like it suddenly bothered her more than anything in the world for years. That she
I
constantly
feel like
corrects
as long as you
people.
like frame this with like picture this,
Die,
that would solve the whole problem.
I mean,
But
like,
if
Oh
you're
god, it's my
recounting-
ghost! It's my fucking ghost.
yeah,
He's back. He's
like,
back with a vengeance.
I've heard my dad
God.
do, like that exact example I used of walking into the club is one that I remember my dad.
That is so
like-
weird. I've never heard anyone talk. You know what? Maybe.
You probably have, dude.
Well,
It's
the
probably
first time it
happened.
happens, I'm gonna call you up and just say, "Faggot," and then hang up the phone,
This
and
is-
you'll know
this
why.
Is so terrible. I'm fucked.
I'm gay.
I'm just gonna drink all my potions
And pray for the best.
and
Hope something good happens.
read all my scrolls. Scroll of Identify, really helpful.
The worst part about what I just described is that I also say you when I mean me sometimes, and yet I complain to other people when they do it. So.
Well, we're all hypocrites in a little.
But because of
Especially
the
HIPAA.
fact that I put it in my mom's head, anytime I do it around her, she immediately corrects me. It's like, but my mom's passive aggressive and never just says what she means.
Right.
Like, so I'll be telling that, and she'll just start going, "You,"
Yep.
and I'll be like, "What? What do you fucking mean, you?" She's like, "You," and I'm like, "What?" And then at some point, I have to like realize, oh, I must have said you, and that meant me. Yeah.
like have to twist the knife a little bit on that.
I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get away.
My mom has
an
an interesting way of communicating, which is...
I'm going to shoot him before I go. It didn't
to
work.
say things that make sense to her without consideration for whether they make sense to you in the moment.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, God.
Knowles.
I'm so gay.
So gay.
What time is it?
It is
like 4 or
5 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
This is like the best podcast we've ever done.
It is a really good podcast.
I'm surprised.
Wide ranging.
It covered a lot of bases. Everyone except Ben said a lot, but Ben said
I've been having a great time over here.
Ben said the most emotionally charged things. It's a good way. Every time Ben freaks out and dies, we need to put a mid-roll ad in.
That's actually a great idea.
Why not? I ask you.
This is the
Sigmund!
This is the ultimate
That monster.
decompression chamber. I'm just gonna call this like the Procrastinators decompression chamber. It's everything.
That was
Works
good.
for me.
This is why we all need to be in the vicinity so we can do shit like this all the time.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I want everyone.
Patreon.com/all of us. Fix this problem. This could be a bi-weekly series if you people got off your asses.
No, it's more ghosts. It's more ghosts.
Ben could
Is that
be
you
killed by his
again?
ghost constant.
Those are the only ghosts. The only ghosts are you.
Oh,
That's
okay.
now that's deep, man.
Whoa.
Granted, like 50% of everything I said is stuff I've also said elsewhere that people will probably be like, "Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we
well,
hear you say
You
this
know what?
every other
Don't
week."
assume that everybody looks
That's
at
true.
all your
That's
shit.
why it's good that like
Yeah.
like you know I personally hear myself talk so much that I get really paranoid about telling the same stories all the time, and
Yeah.
it drives me crazy because through the process of having made 1,600 videos,
Yeah.
everything I have to say has been
It's something
said.
interesting. Like I've been just looking at stuff in general, like blogging and vlogging and stuff, and people recycle content constantly, and it's a
Everyone
good
does.
strategy.
Well, the thing is, I think
interesting.
the problem with me is that most people recycle because they don't remember. Like I've seen.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's definitely an intentional recycling of content.
Well, for some people are like almost like Bernie Sanders. I have a problem with Bernie Sanders, which is that one time I decided to actually watch him talk, and then I did another time, and he said all the exact same
says the exact
things.
same thing.
he has like two
always says
talking
the same
points the
shit.
entire
Which is both a
time.
strength and a massive weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, it just makes it so as soon as I've seen one of his talks, I'm like, oh, I'll never watch him again.
Yeah.
The
But
only reason it worked is because the two things he was saying, nobody was fucking talking about.
Yeah. Well, there are some like internet personalities who are like really hammering this one point that they want like everyone to accept, and all their stuff is about that. Like the guy who does the 10 universes theory, he's got like fucking 100 fucking videos on his channel, all just explaining the same theory, like more and more in depth. I mean, I think he's probably on some level insane.
Yeah, probably.
But like, there's a lot of people like that. But then there's ones like Dan Avidan from Game Grumps, where he'll tell the same stories like over and over because he just has a shit memory and doesn't realize he's told them before. And Aaron, who's too busy playing video games, doesn't stop him.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Or Casey Neistat. In the process of watching all his vlogs, I've heard him explain certain things like dozens of times, just because he obviously doesn't remember everything he said in a vlog.
Yep.
But I remember everything I've said. So like, I start telling a story and I immediately know I've said this before, and I'll say it often in this podcast. I know I've explained this before, but there's only like 2 people who have actually heard me explain everything.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
Like,
I think if it could help explain whatever you're doing at that time, or
Well, sure.
even if it's pertinent to the topic at hand, it's worth repeating, because especially when you have a cajillion subscribers like you do.
right. Well, if this was a main channel content, I wouldn't count on those people having heard anything I've said.
Yeah.
Because the only people who I really think of as my audience are the people who watch all the other shit.
The Pro Crastinators is a fucking cult, and we know that you all suck our dicks.
I'm at a
and we
point
love
right
you
now
for it. Just
where
suck our Patreon dicks a little bit harder, and you'll be even cooler.
I'm honestly at a point where I really don't think of Digibro as like my channel. It's just like a repository for my high effort content.
Yeah.
Like the stuff on the Digibro channel.
Sounds like you're a brand now, dude.
Well, like
Pretty scary.
the Procrastinators channel and Digibro After Dark.
Digibro Inc.
Oh no.
Like Digibro to Dark and Procrastinators, these are channels that I manage out of like a personal need to make this kind of content
Yeah.
and to have a conversation with this audience. Like the people who are watching this stuff, I'm expecting them to be watching like a lot of shit that I make and to be like following this ongoing narrative of who I am. And the people watching Digibro, like those are just videos that are constructed to be like a piece of information that I want to share. And those people, like anyone who's not also following all the other shit, I don't expect them to know anything about me, you know? So like the presentation of videos on the Digibro channel is in a vacuum. Each video is presented as though the others don't really exist. Whereas the videos on After Dark and Procrastinators are presented assuming that you know literally everything about me.
If you're watching on Digibro, you're a fucking normie. If you're at the Procrastinators level, you're now a cult member.
Yeah.
And we need to start selling robes because they'll probably buy them.
This channel, like, I think one of the weaknesses of this channel in terms of growth is that it's very assumptive because we all assume you know all 9 of us. You know, there's 9 members, and we just work from the assumption that you're familiar with all of our content.
It's not even like if you're in a niche, you know all of us. We're all scattered. It's not like the horse days when we all kind of did the same thing. We're all over the map now.
Like, I mean, here's a sentence that comes up in nearly every Procrastinators is, in my video that came out today...
It's very true.
And like we say it all like if we're talking about the Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer video, you'll say something like, you know, well, this video I just put out, the Lucifer one, you know, and like if anyone who doesn't follow your channel or hasn't seen that video has no fucking idea what you're talking about, and if they're listening to it like 2 weeks later and another video's out, then it's no longer your latest video. And so like we do this constantly on the show.
We should
always talk about
using,
like up to the minute
cards or something to start like backlinking to our other shit.
I mean, and we even
that takes effort.
It does. We'll do stuff like make a joke reference to something that happened in an episode of a Mumkey Jones Let's Play.
Yeah,
and we will all laugh, like, because we all think it's funny as shit, and it's like, how many audience members have watched a Mumkey Jones Let's Play?
At the same time, though, would we really want to make Procrastinators anything
we would
else
not want to dumb
it
it down.
No,
we have to. Like the goal is to suck more people in to make them watch all that shit.
We want you to be cult members. That's really if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, that's your fault.
I mean, we have discussed.
You shouldn't be here yet.
Format changes have come up about ways to make the content more appealing to wider audiences. I don't know how to solve this particular problem here.
Well, like,
but
we hope that people will eventually
love
get
us
it.
more.
If they just watched all of us, it wouldn't be a problem. So just do that.
I mean, but like when we make, because some of this stuff, like Horseshoe Heaven.
Yeah, that's got like 100 subscribers, like a couple hundred.
I'm so proud.
And it's my favorite of Jesse's channel.
Yeah, of course,
it is the one that I would unsubscribe last if I had to cut all my channels out.
If I am speaking correctly, the only way to find out about Horseshoe Heaven was like
it was a secret link.
It was a hidden link in a video.
Yeah.
And the channel, it actually has like 300 subs, I think.
Well, I think it had like 700 or something.
Ben made a whole to-do about passing it.
It has like 500, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, it was literally a hidden link on one Endless Jess video.
Yeah, that's
So if you haven't watched that one video and found the hidden link and actually sat through all of Horseshoe Heaven, then you probably don't know what Alien Boy is.
That's true.
And so when we all start laughing about Alien Boy or making a reference to like, can I be in this video? Like, these are all jokes that no one gets.
Ever get.
No one knows what we're talking about.
We must sound like madmen, but we're not. You're the madman for not being cool enough yet.
Yeah. But like even if we just said like, go watch all of our videos on all of our channels, like that still is not going to lead you to Horseshoe Heaven.
No, it won't.
Think about this though. How fucking mind-blowing would it be? Is say like 2 years from now, we go to like some random convention or something, and people come who are like fucking on our level, and just like we can talk to them like we know them.
I mean, there's people
that would be like eerie.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be really fucking. I don't know if I'd like it.
That's what it's like to be really famous.
I think I would think it was cool if people were like.
There's people I can like Lachlan Still, who's a frequent commenter, like. He knows, like, I have never really spoken to him, but he knows literally everything about.
Do you know what this means? Yeah. Some people's tism is us.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Like, Lachlan, I mean, he makes his own videos now, too.
Damn.
But he knows, he's watched everything I've ever made and everything anyone in the PCP has ever made and most of what we've ever made reference to, and like.
You know, if you want to cheat...
I mean, it's not just us. He follows a lot of people, but he knows everything there is to know about us, and he can come into like a thread, like on my Reddit, and just like say some shit, and I like. To me, it's like, yeah, like I don't even stop and think I've never talked to this guy, because just knowing that he's seen all my videos, I already have an understanding that like this dude knows me.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
There's nothing that I could say.
If you want a shortcut to
him.
getting on this level, the Reddit is like a very well updated compilation of everything we do in reverse
It
chronology.
all gets posted there.
And one that
Kind
we've
of.
been kind of meaning to like make a bigger deal out of.
We kinda should,
It doesn't,
I guess.
it doesn't have many subs. It's got a few hundred.
I never read it. I don't read it any.
That's on you guys. I don't know
I
what the fuck Reddit
go
even
on
is, so.
to the Pro Crastinators subreddit just to see what you guys have been posting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
that's
don't
cool.
check your individual
I feel
channels.
like
I just subscribe to everyone.
I need a
so.
good reason to use Reddit. I haven't found one yet.
Really?
Someone made me a Reddit for Rebel Pixels, and I've touched it like twice, and I feel like the biggest shitlord who ever lived, because that was like such a nice gesture, and I'm just like, well, I don't fucking know what to do with it.
I don't think like all of my stuff gets posted to that channel, but all of it gets posted to my personal subreddit for sure.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there would be like 3 times as many posts, and no one could find any of it.
My
our shit.
subreddit is like shockingly very active. Like
Yeah.
not just with my content. Like people post like there's like a whole community on my subreddit.
That's
That's
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, just of people who I don't know will be asking something or other, or just talking to one. Like some people come in there because they hate our anime so much that they will just have conversations about shows on my subreddit, because it's like people who are kind of like
Isn't
me
that
they
nice?
can talk to. You know,
I mean, that's what you need. You just need,
Wouldn't it be great
just
to
like
be
in
the
Kingdom
R
Hearts,
anime
you need
alternative
13
one
of
day?
you.
I would love to have our anime alternative,
Yeah.
not necessarily for it to be my board,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we do like me and Lachlan, who's the mod, we do remove like stuff that's not at all relevant to me. You know?
Okay, yeah, man.
But we'll leave up like if it's a discussion of like a show that everyone knows I love, then like yeah, we can discuss that here. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I'll have something to say.
That is a
about it.
tough balancing act for
Yeah.
sure. Because if you let it go too unfiltered, the original purpose of the
Yeah, I'm
the Reddit
fairly
existing
strict
evaporates.
about that. I don't want people posting bullshit, because yeah, it gets out of hand immediately if you let it happen.
Right.
So it's not a
Gotta
not
keep
a good
short leash.
But I think the Procrastinator subreddit, like the problem is that none of us go on there, so
Yeah,
no one
yeah.
feels an incentive to like
Yeah.
I don't know who's reading it. It's well updated because Rival Steven is fucking, you know, always posts all our shit there.
Yeah,
And Devu has at some points paid him to continue doing so.
Really?
Has he?
Wow.
He's like just thrown him like $10-15
Just like as a kudos?
saying like, hey, thanks,
Okay, well,
keep
that's
up the
nice.
good
Okay,
work,
that's
you know?
different than saying like, please keep updating this. I'll pay you. That's how I
Yeah.
interpreted that statement.
That's on him, though. I do not endorse that activity.
No, do it for the love, not for the cash.
I mean,
Patreon.com/Tom
I won't.
Love.
That guy is pretty dedicated. I mean, to do it at all, even
I know
if
it's
Devu is
super cool.
I know,
Yeah.
but he's one of the people who sometimes there's like a small cabal of people who post all my stuff to my sub, because
Yeah.
I don't post anything to my sub. It's all my.
I just don't want to get into any territory where it's expected to be paid for this sort of
No,
thing.
no.
You know?
Absolutely.
I don't think it would be that way.
Yeah, all right.
No.
So my personal subreddit, there was a guy. Oh shit! I just remembered there was a guy who was posting all my stuff to my personal subreddit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, cool, no problem. But then, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, he messaged me and was like, I can start it again, and I just forgot to ever reply. So I should probably tell him, yeah, I'll make you a mod again, because that was fine. I mean, I had been letting it
I
lie
am-
completely
it's weird.
fallow.
I am in a constant state of feeling bad about people I ignore.
It
And
is
don't get
it's
back
the
to me.
worst.
Yeah,
Because-
you can't communicate with everyone
Yeah,
that
that's
wants
true.
to talk to you.
Well-
when you're this fucking popular, bro, you can't please everyone. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even just everyone who wants to hear from me. There's a lot of people I legitimately feel like if I respond to this person, I will be happier for having done so. And
A
I
ring of
just
magical power,
don't
that is
get
fucking
around to it.
radical.
There's too many
Yeah.
fucking people, and eventually, if sometimes if you ignore someone enough times, they're just gonna stop.
Yeah,
You know,
they're gonna
trying.
take it the wrong way.
Yep, it's true.
Like
We should just make a statement right now. It's like at least 70% of the time you
I made
get a
it.
response. It's
I made
not-
it to the
it's
fucking
not a
ecumenical
declaration
temple.
of
You
war
did it,
against
Ben. You did it.
Oh my god!
All
it's
it is-
level 2.
Well,
it's green.
Not really. All it is just a place where all the gods have altars, except for the ones.
If your
that
life really sucked and you didn't find
Is
any
this actually
altars-
every single god, or are they
Well,
already excluded?
Actually, yeah. The ones that aren't here are the ones that are in other places in the dungeon, such
Oh, I
as
see.
Behemoth, the one that I wanted, which I already found. So this is totally pointless and just symbolic that I'm making progress.
But how fun.
So are you at level 2 yet?
There is no level 2. There's
The
only
second
different.
area.
No, I'm still in the original area.
Okay.
What floor are you on of the original
Ecumenical
area?
Temple is debatably a second area, but like there's very little actually there.
Yeah.
Are there any like actual dividers, or is this all kind of just?
Yeah, there is. There's like special portals that lead to different
Okay.
regions, and different regions have later regions will like each have a rune in them.
Right. Yeah.
Faded altar to an unknown god.
Ooh.
You cannot tell which altar this god belongs to. Convert to them anyway.
Actually, you know what? I just realized I'm glad. Like, I was getting worried because the problem that I've been having at Radcon so far, and have had in the past, with everyone forever, including me and Ben working out, is that it's really hard to schedule around people who sleep at different times.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, because
Yep.
you're thinking
Was
of it
bad.
as like, we'll do this tomorrow,
Right, you
but
gotta
my
sync your
tomorrow is
sleep
very
schedule.
different
Yeah,
from your
yeah.
tomorrow. And for a second here, I was worried because I was like, oh fuck, it's already like 5 in the morning. I'm gonna wake up so late. But then I remembered that the main people I'm watching with tomorrow are you two, so it's perfectly fine.
Oh, is that true? Okay,
Yes,
cool.
I'm mostly scheduled around you guys. Like I got to do that one fucking movie with Jeff
Right.
and Jesse,
Those
and then
morons.
I'm gonna watch a show with you, and then I'm gonna do some of yours. I've got you for 2 episodes as well.
Yeah, okay.
I feel a little bad when you and Jeff came in and were like, everybody quiet down. I don't know. I didn't like Jeff's tone, and I kind of gave him like a scathing look. I feel like maybe I just don't know the guy and didn't read his tone the way he meant to be read. I felt like he was being a real dick, but I don't
think
know.
he was
I don't.
intending to be funny.
What? Okay. Well, it did not come
Considering
across.
he said, "Hey, fuckheads, shut up for a second. We gotta make this show."
Maybe I should have just assumed it was a joke when you get cross like that.
Maybe you should say something just to clear the air if you
Well,
see him.
I didn't like say anything. I just looked at him
Oh.
like, "What is your deal, man?" I don't know.
Well,
I should have. I don't know. I'm being cool.
I had told him to go. Like I said, we gotta go make those guys shut up so we could do this show. And he
Yeah.
said,
Oh, so it was
"Don't
just-
worry, I'll take care of it." And then he
It
walked
was
in there.
Digi telling you to shut up via proxy.
He was probably just joking, and I just like wasn't in the mood to hear this.
he
shit.
might be overestimating the how impressed we are by his by his presence.
Um.
I'm maybe
Oh,
I'm,
I don't-
I'm not getting.
He
that
is a
vibe.
famous YouTube guy, you know. He's quite active on the YouTubes
I
and
don't-
does quite well.
I'm not
I don't
gonna
care.
say.
I'm
don't
beyond
give a
that.
fuck.
I'm beyond that point. I'm beyond that point.
And yet you're
Doesn't
still
matter.
making videos.
No.
Make your novel.
No. I don't. It's not that I don't care about YouTube. I'm saying I don't care about YouTubers.
Oh, yeah, no.
I do
don't
care about
either.
YouTube. It's a.
I thought you were done with YouTube. Didn't you
I
make a bunch of videos about that you were done with YouTube?
I make a bunch of. I'd say a lot of things that I don't do.
I see.
I actually. It's funny. I just recorded a sort of solo decompression video. It's all about my inability to make choices.
Is it for Rebel Pixels?
It was going to be for Pro Crastinators.
Okay.
I edited it last night. I haven't
Everyone's
posted it
just
yet.
done this, but like,
Yeah.
I'm still resistant to doing it.
You don't have to
I
do
still
it.
would rather put a video like that on my own channel.
Feel
See,
free
I
to.
don't. I
Feel
don't
free
know if
to.
I'm gonna post it at all because I did it when I was like still like really not feeling well, so I'm not like super energized about it,
it's just really
and it
funny
might just
to
be
me
like
that,
super fucking gay.
It just like it's weird because when I made the decompression chamber, I expected it to be a video that none of you guys would watch.
Yeah.
Because it's totally very similar to my After Dark videos that most of you guys don't pay attention to. But weirdly, everyone seems to be into them, and like everyone seems to listen to them.
It might be because it's on Procrastinators.
No.
That's
The
more
reason
interesting.
I can absolutely explain why this is happening. It's because when you go to After Dark, you're presented with so much fucking shit, you feel overwhelmed. That's just the way the human
It
mind
is a
works.
little overwhelming,
If it's
that's
just
true.
one video a week where it's just like I'm gonna be a faggot now,
Yeah.
we can deal with one dose of faggotry. But if you just like literally take a shit on a channel constantly,
Yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
it wasn't too surprising that Ben listened to
Just
it. 'cause
so
Ben
everyone
listened to
knows,
stuff
I have butchered a human and am currently eating them.
Good to know.
That's all I wanted out of this.
We've crossed the threshold at last.
Like I wasn't.
Survival mandates certain extremes.
Wait, look. Yes, this raw flesh tastes terrible, it says.
Well, you know.
Suiting.
Yeah. It always tastes terrible. It's hard to eat raw meat. You can only eat raw butchered meat when you're really hungry, unless you find an amulet of the gourmand, which lets you just fucking stuff yourself on everyone's carcasses until you're like engorged. It's actually a really good item because casting spells like takes food energy.
Oh, okay.
How do you prepare cooked items?
You can't cook them. You either find like permanent prepared food that lasts forever, or you just eat raw food. There's no cooking.
Oh,
Okay.
This has brought me to an interesting thought,
Okay.
which is that there's a big difference between consuming and engaging with content, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's interesting to me because when I think of people who watch all my videos, I think of like people like Lachlan again who
Right.
know everything about me and know all this history. But there's plenty of people who do watch all my videos and just don't care that much. And Ben is one of them. Because
Well, I mean, I care.
you care somewhat,
sometimes.
but this-
Why would you leave a comment when you could just go upstairs and be like, that video was gay, and just go back downstairs?
I mean, it was before that.
Ben
right?
Ben consumes a lot of my content while like drawing and just like having it on in the background, and like I mean you watch like most of the After Dark stuff, right?
Not recently, but in the past I have.
Mm-hmm.
And like Victor watches everything I put out just because he's bored and sits on the couch, but he plays 3DS through the whole thing. So he like kind of vaguely like Victor's response to the vast majority of my videos forever has always been, "Well, I hear you talk about this stuff all the time in real life." So
I mean,
so it doesn't
that's
mean
a
anything.
fair point.
So so like on the one hand you've got like Devu who will, who's actually way behind on my videos and has not listened to most of the After Dark or Decompression stuff. He basically doesn't watch YouTube at all anymore. Like
He's too busy working, I guess.
All he does is watch anime and edit.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
he's dedicated himself to the cause.
The way it's really interesting to me because he thinks of watching anime as work.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Like he thinks
Yes,
of
he
it
does.
as I have to watch this
I feel
stuff
like
to
my
expand my
comment in
knowledge.
response to that guy who told you that you watching anime can't be work was very...
Yeah.
That summed up all my thoughts on the matter.
But it's funny because like I don't think of watching anime as work, even though it's like it contributes to it. Because to me, it only becomes work when it's directly contributing to a video. Whereas Devu thinks that all anime he's watching is work, and therefore he is working constantly.
He has mentioned on many occasions how he wants to see every anime so that he is more capable of making these videos fast.
But
in the way that like you and I have been watching for a long time.
It's unbelievable how dedicated he is to that because. All the time that he's not editing for me, he just watches anime all day.
You know what? That's because we haven't made the big move to the city yet, and we're all still fucking.
Yeah, maybe
we're
just
all
'cause there's
bored
nothing
here,
else
and
to
there's
do.
nothing else to do.
Well,
Could be.
no, because he can.
It's part of it.
He sees it as like I'm not like okay. He has all these other things he wants to work on.
Video games.
And the reason he's not working on them is because he's working
Sounds
by
like-
watching anime.
Sounds like procrastination to me.
It seems that way, but he doesn't treat it that way. Like he thinks that watching anime is more important to his career than doing those other things, and that like doing those would be procrastination.
Realign your interests and your priorities.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to say that, but it's definitely
he's
true.
doing good work.
He's
definitely doing great.
Because the thing is that like close to a year ago, I gave him like a Google Doc of like every show I thought there was a chance I would talk about at any point in the near future. It was like probably 100 shows, and he's most of the way through that list, and he's made it out like I'll stop watching anime constantly when I've broken this list. But the ironic part is that he didn't even notice this, and I forgot until like a couple weeks ago. That it was an alphabetical list, and it just stops in the middle of the letter S because I just got tired of making it and never got back to it. So he's been like watching all these shows all this time, and I looked at it and I was like, Devu, this list could be like. Like this is like 2/3 of what would be the list, So, I can't.
That poor boy.
I don't know if he wants me to write out the rest, or if he'll just be like, well, you gave me the list. I'm gonna do that list.
If his goal is to have a thorough understanding of anime in general, watching 100 shows or so is a very good start. So
he's probably watched over 150 in the last 6 months.
You know what his secret plan is?
Amount.
He's just training under you right now, and then like this time next year, he's gonna start Digibro and just fucking.
I've offered to have him put videos on my channel in the past.
Yeah.
Like to just do his anime videos there.
Makes sense.
I'm trying to remember why I was talking. Oh yeah, the engagement thing.
Right.
That like. Devue's way behind on my content, but when he watches it, he's extremely engaged.
Yes,
like
he is.
soaks
That's
in
so
every
much more
detail
valuable.
of it.
That's the most valuable thing you can do.
Whereas like Ben watches most of my stuff. Hippo watches almost all of the stuff I put out. Like he always has consumed like just about every single thing I put out, but doesn't really care about much of it. Like he doesn't really care about the things I'm talking about, so like he just kind of goes in one ear and out the other, and like every once in a while he picks up some intriguing things. Victor watches all of it, doesn't care, but with the decompression chambers, it's like everyone seems to be listening to it, and like
you know why?
Not me.
You know why?
Because I live with you and I hear
Yeah,
the
you
same
hear all the same
stuff.
It's because we might hear about ourselves.
that's also
That's
true.
a big element.
That's
of it.
probably is a big part of it.
I've never gone in thinking I'd be talked about.
I've definitely done
It's
that.
all the time.
It's just weird because I
definitely
I'm
would
so,
watch the PCP to hear myself how fucking dumb I did, or if I
Yeah.
thought I said something
Yeah.
cool.
I'm so used to nobody being engaged or really caring, and then like I've been like people keep talking to me about the decompression chambers and
Yeah.
being like, "Oh yeah, what you talked about in this one," and I'm like, "Wait, you listened to me for an hour and a half? I'm the boring. Like I think of myself as the boring guy in the PCP.
Really?
Like
Really?
because I'm not funny. Everyone else is funny. I'm not funny. I'm
I
the
don't think
boring
I'm
guy.
funny at all.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
I mean,
My-
you're not ha-ha funny.
my main channel
I'm
content in
ugly
particular
funny.
is not funny.
Well, yeah,
Like,
but
like you guys all, like you and Nate, Jesse, and Hippo, who are like the trifecta of extremely funny people. Like I feel like you guys really
Ooh.
value a video being funny.
True.
And my
Repel
videos aren't
missiles.
funny, so they are not
Sounds cool.
valuable. You know, like my videos have always been like. I feel like everyone kind of thinks like, yeah, his don't really matter. They're just fucking his random thoughts that he puts out there.
I don't know.
So people tell me like I listened to an hour and a half of you just literally talking about yourself. Usually like this strange mix of self-aggrandizement and self-peril. I'm like, what? You listened to that twice? Like you know like more than one episode.
Yeah.
And then everyone just started making their own, and like
I guess we all liked it.
like Devu did it.
It's
and he,
interesting because like my channel, like talk about engagement, is that like I did all these like videos on reviewing tablets and stuff. It's like there's people sending me free stuff. Why would I not do it?
Yeah, yeah.
But like the channel was originally designed to be just like art
Advice.
sucks and this is
Yeah.
why, like, don't do this. And those are the ones that get way more engagement. And I'm just like they don't get a lot of views, but everybody who watches them gets something really like important out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like
They're very
ah.
personal for people, probably.
They're so hard to make though, because I feel like I'm just a bitch every time I make
Yeah,
something
I
like
can't do that.
Tom,
It's so
I can't do
hard.
that.
I gotta tell you what your channel reminds me of more than anything. Nate, I know we've talked about this scene before in
Yeah.
Welcome to the NHK. It's one of my favorite scenes, which is have you seen Welcome to the NHK?
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Watch the whole thing,
You
dude.
know the
It'll-
general concept. It's about a hikikomori, you know, and there's a part later in the show. There's this one arc where he meets another hikikomori.
Yeah.
And it's like through like it was like a girl. What was his connection to that girl? How did he know her?
She was, I believe, a classmate who we met again later.
Like it's like a classmate that he had in high school, and she's become like a part of a pyramid scheme, and she
Yeah.
tries to like rope them in, and then you find out that the reason is she's like
she was the class rep, I think.
she's yeah
Whatever,
I guess.
doesn't matter,
She's
yeah.
trying to make money like because she has to take care of her brother because her brother's a fucking shut in and is a hikikomori in her room, and there's a scene where they go up to the brother's room, and he's like saying like there's no way out of this, and he says I've read every self-help book there is. You can see them all on the shelves. I could write one, but I can't get out of it. And that's what your channel is to me.
It's pretty much
A man who has read every self-help book, knows all the advice, and is literally giving it to other people in spite of the fact that you cannot follow it yourself and are dying.
Yeah.
Dying.
I mean, no, I'm like literally dying.
Yeah, he is literally dying.
I'm
He
in-
has
I'm
an
in the
ulcer in his fucking stomach, and he's dying.
Yeah.
Out of just stress from
Yeah.
art, from
Yeah.
this exact
There's
thing.
nothing physically wrong
Yeah.
with me.
And your channel is like, here's how to get out of that, even though you are not out of that. But it is all the right advice. It's all
Well,
the correct advice.
The idea behind the channel right now, and like what I want to kind of do more, that if I can stop being a little baby about it, is that I wanted to be being very honest in my presentation. Be like, I'm going to give you advice, I'm not the best artist in the world. In fact, I'm probably in like the lower like 25% if I'm going to be realistic.
That is not true.
And that
You're in
it's
the,
definitely wrong.
Being publishable puts you in the upper 25%, like the highest 25%.
I mean, are you talking about...
People have paid for your art. That puts you in the upper 25%.
People paid for Reki Kawahara's work. Would you put him in the upper 25%?
You're just finding all these ways to lower your value.
People aren't really paying for Reki Kawahara. They're paying for Abek's character design.
That's true.
That guy is the brother of the woman who designed Kaon, which means he has royal blood in his veins.
No, but like the idea is like I'm not well put together, and like I wanted to kind of be like, you don't have to be a dude with like a bajillion subscribers and like supremely like God gifted talent, like that's just like emanates from everything you do,
right?
In order to be successful.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that you understand that.
Well,
but cannot make yourself.
Well, that's the
feel
whole thing. Is that like everything that I understand logically exactly what I need to do and how I need to do it, but like it's an emotional reaction that's beyond my control.
Right.
So I literally like with people like, oh, you need to just like get better. Like I go to therapists, they're like, well, you understand all these things. I'm like, yeah, but like that doesn't. They're like, you just need to start thinking more positively. And like I have the same conversation with my therapist every week for like 2 months. Like you just need to start thinking more positive. Like I get that.
Yeah.
But I can't.
You have clearly shown that you understand how to fix these problems because all the advice you give is great.
Yeah.
Like the Rebel Pixels channel, I've shared those videos and been like, everyone should do this. You know, you just haven't done it.
I just need a partial lobotomy and then I'll be fine.
That might actually be true.
You know?
I mean, I felt when like that what inspired me so much about that particular chapter and like what happens in that, the only way he gets out of it is that eventually his sister just fucking leaves him and like he literally can't survive in his room anymore.
Dude,
and so he has to get a job.
It's so funny because the video I just made about the decompress thing about choices, saying how like it started with I had like a self-help book. It talked about how people are more happy when they feel they're in control even if they're not. Because they did this psychology experiment where they designed the most mundane game possible and brought a bunch of people into play. It was basically a number between 1 and 10 would come up, and they had to guess if it would be greater or lower than 5. And that was the entire game. They had to do it for like 3 hours. And they found that they would test it in 2 ways. The first way was that you hit a button for higher or lower. And then the second test would be a computer would decide for you. So the computer would pick one of the buttons. And they found that when you chose it, you were more excited, you were more invested, and when the computer did it, you were fucking bored.
Sure.
And the people were told they were being tested for accuracy. So like you're gonna find out how good you are at this. Then they stopped, they tallied the results, and then they told everybody who participated, we lied to you. Right. Everyone got the exact same pattern of right and wrong. There was no way you could beat this pattern. And then they sat them down and did it again, and they still got more excited having the choice, even though they knew it was total bullshit. Their primitive, dumb, fucking animal brain got fucking psyched over like the possibility of being right, like having that control over the situation, even though there was none. And so that was like the thing. It's just like people are fucking stupid, and you have to make choices. And then I go into like I don't make any choices. Like I'm so reactionary at this point because I'm like a people pleaser. That I don't do any of that. Like every time I even make a choice, I just like haunt myself like, did I make the right choice? And then it's like, I'm like thinking like I'm getting kicked out of my house now, and I feel like maybe I secretly wanted to get kicked out for years because then I have to start doing
exactly
shit.
What happens to the character. He
I'm
finally
literally an anime.
By way of getting, by way of his fucking sister just like being like, I'm sick of this and abandoning him. Like one day. Because he would, like, bang on the floor to get her to bring food. And, like, he's banging on the floor and she's not coming. And, like, a whole day passes and he's just like, I'm gonna die if I don't leave my room and go get food. And so he leaves and he gets a part-time job and it's implied that he is happier having done that. But, like, for me, that was a huge eye-opener because I watched that show when I was in the middle of, you know, fucking half a decade of depression. And I was like, fuck me. Like, what's clear, like... What became clear to me at the tail end of being depressed was, like, again, I read all the self-help books, I heard all the advice, and none of it was working. So I told to my parents, like, I need medication because I like, my dad is the type of person, if you tell him you're depressed, he's like, well, if you just got to think of it this way, you just got to do this. And I'm like, I know, I did the research, I went online, I typed, how do you cure depression? None of that worked. So clearly... there's gotta be something else here.
Right.
Like I'm fighting as hard as I can. I'm doing all the things you're telling me, and it's not working. So we need to kick this up a notch. You know, this needs to be different. And maybe getting kicked out would have worked for me. I mean, it wouldn't have put me in this situation for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad it didn't happen. But like, you know, like I eventually, they took me to a psychologist. I got medicated. I got better. You know, like it
that's
was,
kind of what
was,
all the fucking people are saying to me too. It's just like your brain could just legitimately be fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, I'm lucky
totally
that it
enough.
worked for me because like Victor, who went through the same kind of depression, went through like 6 different medications and none of them worked. Some of them made him way worse, and he eventually just gave up and said, "I'm just going to be depressed for the rest of my life." You know. And his depression only finally stopped being like a constant force when he hooked up with his current girlfriend. And now he's like the first time I've ever seen him legitimately happy. He used to be so angry. Like, he was angry all the time. He would snap on you for anything. And ever since he started dating, he's just been, like, fucking blissed out all the time.
I guess when they just say you need to get laid, it's totally true.
It's more than that.
I mean, he was in
It
love
was
with
a joke, Nate.
He was
I'm
obsessed
just
with her
musing.
for a long time. He has Victor was telling us about this amazing book idea he has, and I want this to be published.
It's so fucking
bad.
good.
Really?
The greatest book idea ever,
Really?
which is
Just the title.
It's a coffee table book that folds out into a coffee table.
The book is called How to Find the Love of Your Life in 7 Easy Years.
No, it's How to Get Out of the Friend Zone in 7 Easy Years, right?
Either way.
That's a very clickbaity title, and I love it.
That is like a BuzzFeed
People are gonna
article
like that shit.
in 300 pages.
7 Easy Years, though.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great title.
Because that's how long it took him to get out of the friend zone.
I imagine
All right,
that.
all right, everyone,
I want this
update. I am being rampaged upon by an ogre and a herd of yaks. A herd of yaks are coming at me.
Oh god.
This dungeon has no fucking chill.
No. This is escalated.
What's that golden man there?
That is an ogre.
That's the ogre.
He
Okay.
just has some yellow.
Are you just fleeing for life?
I'm just. Looks like my only choice is to go down these stairs and just see what happens.
All right.
What the fuck is that? A purple ugly thing. All right, sweet.
Oh god, they put me in the game.
You know, I also experienced some feelings similar to this at one point when I had finished my 4 years at school and I was back home and was doing these shitty menial labor jobs while just like taking like one class a semester and dreaming of one day finishing my degree and leaving. I would kind of like antagonize my parents every once in a while. I really think I was trying to get them to kick me out. And like occasionally I would say that like, oh, if I'm fucking up so bad, why don't you just kick me out? And I think it was a cry for help.
I cannot imagine you saying that at all. That seems really weird.
You can ask Dad. I would bring it up sometimes about like, well, maybe if you kicked me out, it wouldn't be a big problem. But of course, I was terrified of that notion because I'd never done anything by myself in my entire life.
I'm like in half freak out mode, half like just whatever.
Complacency, I think, is the biggest problem for our generation.
It's horrible, and it's exactly why. I talked about this in the decompression chamber, that it's why the decompression chamber exists, is because like I hate the idea of like my content always being the same. Yeah. Because the second I fall into a cycle of doing the same thing all the time, everything falls apart, like mentally. That's when I just become like, I'm not even making progress. And it's so easy. It's so easy to just be like, well, this makes me a baseline amount of money, so let's just keep doing that forever, and then like nothing improves.
That's how everything
gets
shit.
You know,
that's literally how everything gets shit.
And, like, I feel like I have to constantly challenge myself to come up with something new, and it always pays off. Like, you know, the only way to make something like grow is to like, if things aren't getting any better, they're just staying the same, and you want them to get better, something has to change. Yeah. You know, you can't just do the same thing forever and hope that it's gonna change by itself.
You know, it just feels like to me, I don't know how often I talk about it, but it's just whenever I think about how in like 3 years ago when I started doing the thing that actually interests me, making videos, I just found this well within myself of an ability to do shit that I had never had before in my entire life, and an incredible drive to do it that I had never experienced before. And
That's like my big...
I feel like that was me finally being a real person for the first time. Like, I always had an ability, and I just, there it was. I just needed something to do.
That hill giant could very easily have just killed me.
It truly was a hill giant in my life that I overcame. Thank you for putting it in such eloquent terms.
What are we talking about?
I know the feeling just because, like, I've said everything before.
Yeah.
But like for so long, I thought I was going to be either a filmmaker or a writer or all these other things that I wanted to do. And the reason I'm not those is because I just didn't do them.
Yeah.
I would talk about them all the time. I said, like, every single day, I would, like, give myself a pep talk about how I was going to be a director and how I was going to, like, run away from home and make movies and, like, become this renegade director, homeless man, I guess. And, like I talked about it constantly, and I directed nothing.
Yeah.
I never made a fucking movie, and, like, Quentin Tarantino and fucking what's his name, Robert Rodriguez had like this book where, Robert Rodriguez had a book about this, but Tarantino and him talked about this at a panel somewhere, where they were like, Tarantino like very clearly laid out these rules for how to become a director. He said, every day of the week,
I'm on fire.
Every day of the week, write scripts, and on the weekend, shoot the scripts.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all you have to do. Write every day, and on the weekend, shoot the scripts you just wrote. You're done. You're a director.
Just do that for several years, and you'll be great.
You'll eventually get great, right?
Yeah.
And I read that, and I was like, yeah! Wrote no scripts. Directed no movies. Continued to talk about it for years.
Yeah.
And I did write a novel, but I immediately abandoned it when I realized that editing it would be a chore.
Yep.
Like...
That's funny, because editing is my favorite part of writing. That's when
you're gonna be a successful writer. Congratulations.
You take something that sucks and you make it less sucky.
I wrote my novel in a month, and then I never looked at it again.
The best part is when you find a sentence like, I can make it better by doing this, and then you get instantly erect, and it's like,
I love doing that in my analysis writing, and that's the thing. Like all this time, the whole
we are completely opposite about writing, because every time I write a script, I do like one pass, I'm like, meh. It's fine.
The entire time that I was talking about being a director, that I was talking about being a writer, that whole time, I was writing an anime blog in the background just because I wanted to do it.
Yeah, right.
Just for fun. Yep. Didn't think it was going anywhere. Just, hey, I watched a show, let's talk about that. That'll be funny.
I think about this all the time. Because all the time, just like, because I'm like, I really want to just write. I want to just tell stories. I wanted to do this since I was a little kid. And, like, everything has been, like, what medium do you want to do it in? Because, like, I originally was like, I'm going to make fucking video games. And that didn't work because that was fucking complicated. Yeah. So I was like, I'll do animation. I'm like, I don't really like that. And then, like, I've been going lower and lower and lower down to writing. And, like, my mind has always been, like, I can write easily. So that clearly that means it's not hard. It doesn't count. It's a lesser form.
That is the absolute worst way you could have interpreted.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because I'm fucking retarded. So, like, even now, I feel like I'm not living up to my potential by just writing. Which is dumb.
Cut
which
that
is
shit
funny
out,
because
dog.
I feel like I have more core respect for writing than anything else.
I do too, because all the other like even if your favorite fucking like TV show or video game would suck dick if the writer didn't show up, because then it's like, look at these pretty graphics sitting there like jerking off.
Got him.
I mean, I think that an image can convey an incredible amount of storytelling, and or just an animation could, but like the level at which you're like doing a 22 episode animation 12 times,
right?
Like, yeah, you need some but
here's
the only way that's gonna have a deep, meaningful thing to it is if someone spends forever making those images perfect.
The thing that to change my mindset, like I think I just need to write, is that because I would do comics and stuff, and I would sit down, I'd write the script in like 2 or 3 weeks tops. It'd be super, because there's not a lot to it. It's just like, this is the picture I want, and this is what I want them to say. That's basically what it means. I mean, I'm not to say that that's easy, but like the writing part always came easy to me. And then it would be like 3 months of drawing it. And the entire time I'd feel like I'm not doing anything. It's just like, well, I already know what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's how it feels when I'm just inking in the pages I've already sketched. I don't feel creative at all doing it. It just feels like busy work and a fucking chore.
I actually really enjoy inking, just because, again, it's the same thing with editing. It's like, it's taking the shitty drawing and making it look fucking cool.
Yeah, but Ben's stuff.
It's satisfying in a way.
But Ben's actually a good artist, so his sketches don't look like a mess of retardation.
No, my
only-
sketches look horrible.
Ben's
My
sketches
sketches
are pretty bad.
are like garbage.
Well, the thing about Ben's inking is that he basically just redraws it.
It's
He
true.
does,
You
entirely.
He
You
pretty
could
much
just,
just
like,
completely redraws
do
the
it all
image.
yeah, that's why it's not
Because
cost effective.
my sketches
Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
like literally like everywhere, and then I just take it and I take that mess and I just make it one nice clean line, and then it gets me nice and tight in the pants because it's fucking it looks cool.
Yeah, I guess I do something like that.
But the penciling's the worst because I have no like understanding of like perspective or form, so I just sit there and just like.
Yeah.
I just want to have the hand out. What the fuck?
They're selling me some books, dude. They're selling me some fucking books.
Is my book there? Is it in the future?
No. Is yours book the Fen Folio?
That was the sequel.
Is it perhaps the Papyrus of Beguiling?
Well, there was this one Undertale fic I wrote.
All right, I want Magma Bolt. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna have to fucking consult the
You
wiki.
wrote an Undertale fic?
No, it said papyrus.
That was a
That
meme,
the
you
joke.
dip.
I wasn't sure.
No.
Anyway, for me, writing an analysis video, like, the only analog for it, for me, it is literally the same feeling as jacking off. And then coming when I finish.
Just like Arnold described
Yeah,
all those years
exactly.
ago.
For me,
Like, it is exactly like what Arnold described at the pump is one-to-one how I feel writing an analysis script, and it's really easy for me.
well, I will make a comparison sort of like that. When I'm editing a Nuzlocke, specifically, I feel exactly the same as if I'm just sitting there passively consuming a video. Like, editing a video that I made, to me, just feels like sitting and listening to my video over and over again, which is something I love to do, is listening to my own videos and looking at my own drawings is like my favorite activity that stimulates me more than anything else.
It is a lot of. That's how I feel about all my vlogs. Like
Book
I
of
make
Earth and Book of
it,
Power.
and it's like it's kind of fun, and then I watch it back, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's a fun video. I'd watch it if somebody else made it, you know, and I
Right.
did,
Yeah.
and then I watch it like 6 more times because I feel like it,
Right.
and then forget about it forever. But like with writing and I guess this is why, because something I've been struggling with lately is the idea that my main channel content is not really worth more than my vlogs. Like, in terms of, like, people are getting almost as much out of some, not all of them. Some of the vlogs are fucking retarded. But, like, but some
I need to preface this.
there are certain videos I've made that, like, and I get people telling me this all the time. Like, people come onto my Reddit and they're always like, Digibro After Dark is your real main channel. Like, I care way more about the content on there than the main channel because it's way more videos covering way broader subject matter, and I've gotten out, like, so many fucking opinions on there.
What you're doing right now is you're basically doing a sales funnel with free content.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just fucking throwing out, like, all this stuff that could be, I'm making, like, $10 a piece on these, and they could be, like, every week I could just have a Patreon post that's just a compilation of a bunch of vlogs, and I don't know if people would value it any less than the main channel
They
content.
probably wouldn't.
You know,
The thing is, like
people don't want to lose. Like, whenever I bring this up, people are like, "Well, I don't want to lose the main channel content because I still value it." But that doesn't mean that I don't also value these as much.
Well,
you
I
know?
think like you have to understand like the levels of people. Like your top level is you have Digibro.
Yeah.
So that's like your 267,000 retards who follow you.
Yeah,
and that's like the most easy to find shit. Like that's why it's so successful, is because it's searchable. You're playing the game. Like we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And then you have After Dark, which is like people who want to go a little bit deeper. And then but like the people who are like the most hardcore are patrons.
Yeah, exactly.
They are the ones who give the most of a fuck because they're giving you money.
I only have like 500 patrons. Like
you should be
250,000 subscribers.
Right.
500 patrons.
Those are the people's
you know?
dicks you want to suck.
Yeah, and none of them.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that.
I absolutely.
I don't think it's good to only appeal to your core audience.
No, I'm not saying only appeal to them.
Or
but I'm saying, like,
I don't think it's good to I mean, prioritize them a little, but not.
Well,
too
I mean, like
exclusively.
Jesse makes as much money as I do on Patreon, practically. Like, well, okay, no, never mind. Completely forget what I just said. That was true once. I make a lot more now than he does, but only because because he.
Are you still charging weekly?
No, I charge per video. Like,
Oh my god, you must make a killing. I change
I only
everything
put
to
out-
monthly.
I only put out like 3 or 4 videos a month, and then sometimes like a 5th bonus thing.
I feel like anyone starting
make a lot of
Patreon
money.
now, you can't do that anymore.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that attitude because Patreon had already been going for a while when we jumped in.
Everybody because when we all started, you couldn't do monthly things.
Yeah, you could.
Not in the
Monthly
beginning.
was always there.
No, it was not.
Really?
No, when I made it,
I don't
you could
remember
not
ever
do
not being
monthly. It was
monthly.
only per creation. That was added later.
Oh, I hear a distant snort. That means there's a labyrinth here with a minotaur.
And the thing,
oh, and there's
the thing is,
Snorg the
everybody's
Troll.
just doing monthly, and that's what they expect. Like all the big channels that run
I
Patreons.
despise monthly because to me,
Yeah, monthly's gay as fuck.
to me, it, like
Never.
to me, the whole point of
Never
it
doing
is
it.
that I have to make videos.
Agreed.
You know, and I
Agreed.
get paid for exactly how much work I do, and that's like what incentivizes me to make more.
The problem
Oh, no,
is
I'm gonna
that
die.
people get scared
I'm
when
gonna
it's per
die.
video because they don't know how much they're gonna pay for.
I'm gonna
it.
fucking
And then you have
die.
to put that big description. Like you can put a cap and blah blah blah. If you say month, it's like, oh, I'm making 12 payments a year. I get it.
I'm extremely careful, and I'm very clear about what you're gonna get if you pay for per video. You know, but like.
I think.
But at the same time, I feel like that's like kind of in some ways I'm throwing like I make these posts at the end of like every other month where it's like all the unpatroned videos in one post, and it's like 40 videos that I'm putting in one post, some of which are my favorite videos I made that month, you know? And I'm like, am I really like considering this like all 40 of these are only worth as much as one main channel video, some of which are like 6 minutes long and not that interesting, you know, compared to some of these vlogs.
It's really dumb.
But the reason I feel that way, the reason this distinction exists, is because the vlogs I make it and it's just like, yeah, that was fun. And the videos are literally masturbating. It's like this is this is so perfect. This is what I want my life to be, you know.
Snorg killed me while I was trying to run up the stairs to get away from him.
What a
That sucks.
Oh, that was really dumb. I thought I could take. I had been wrecking shit because I got a ring of magic power that gave me extra MP, and I had finally gotten enough piety with Vehumet that he had started to do the best thing he does, which is restore your MP every time you kill something with magic. So you can just kill, and it all just you become like a steamroller of magical death. So I had kind of been having that going for a while, but I got overconfident, and I find Snorg, fucking Snorg, man.
What a dick.
Yeah, he's
Someone
just,
draw a fan art of Snorg.
he's just like a really strong troll, and he's also really fat and ugly. He's particularly ugly. I think that's in his description.
God, he must go on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the long and short of what I'm describing is that I am making the mistake of putting like basing how much my content is valued, like what value I'm putting on it in a public sense of like what people are charging me based on how much I value my content. And that's the mistake I'm making.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not basing it on how much my content is valued by other people, but just strictly like I think writing a post is fun, and the feelings it gives me are like I've accomplished something.
Right.
You know, like if I write something like that Flying Witch video, which is like, you know, 6.5 minutes, and I wrote it all at once, like in one night. It's not a thought I'd ever really had before, and I just came up with it all. But the process of writing it was like, oh yeah, I'm fucking coming, and then it's like, yeah, that's a patron video. Whereas there's like vlogs I have where I'm like summarizing the whole fucking universe and like all of anime history, and it's like this is life changing for some people, and I'm like, yeah, throw it into the fucking pile with the 40 other vlogs, you know.
Well, would you want to improve the production values on the vlogs, on the vlog type content, if you were going to make it a main channel thing?
I definitely am going to do that, but
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know if I'll ever be able to bring myself to patron it. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe the Yuri on Ice video that me and Victor recorded, which is going on the main channel, it's basically like a Plebe and the Weeb discussion. It's me and him sit in chairs.
It seems
we discuss
patronable.
Yuri on Ice.
Yeah.
I'm even going to have Devu edit it and put a bunch of footage in, so it should be patronable.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm just like, but it's not written. You know, like, what value could there possibly be in something I didn't write?
I think
You
there's
know?
value in this
Yeah,
podcast.
I understand
the
I think we've
feeling,
hit a
yeah.
lot of good points
Like, there's a few
tonight.
moments where I say in this. Like, how could anyone pay money for something
Dude,
where I say
had the weirdest
Yeah.
fucking comment, and it blew my mind, and I was just like, it changed the way I'm gonna do videos on Rebel Pixels. And because I got a bunch of thumbs up, too. Because I did these last two videos that are about, why I think YouTube is a symptom of a bigger problem and shit.
Yeah, that was a great.
Yeah, I saw that.
And someone said to me, I really like this video, but I can't get into it because it's scripted. I hate your scripting voice. It sounds super unnatural. I'd rather you just talk. And like it got like 15 thumb ups. Like people were just like
Weird.
Well, I mean, I do understand that. Like
I can.
there are
normies.
the idea.
Normies want you to be a normie.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to appease them, I guess.
It's so weird. Like all the videos that get the best responses in terms of engagement, not in views, but engagement, are always the ones where I'm just like, I mean, fucking, I guess, like, dick sucking, sure. Like that's the kind of language that people seem to really resonate with.
I
mean,
if
they knew what my dick looked like, they'd want to suck it for sure.
If that's the truth, then I guess it makes sense to go for that kind of content.
Because like I think on Rebel Pixels this year, I'm not gonna script anything.
Real quick, can we all appreciate that for like, how long has this been going?
3 hours.
Three and a half hours now. Tom has been nonstop shitting on his appearance and abilities, but when it came to his dick, he was like, I mean, if they saw my dick, they would definitely want to suck it. So I think this man
must be a monster.
I think we can say that Tom has something to be confident about.
I just have the opinions of other people who have made it very clear.
Yeah, see, that's exactly the kind of thing you'd say if you had a fucking 9-inch dick.
I don't know.
Put your hand up to mine for a second.
Oh no.
He's a tall guy.
Yeah, oh my god!
That's a pretty big hand. That's a pretty big hand.
It's a huge hand.
I don't know.
Well, that was a diversion.
It sure was.
Sorry, what were you saying, Tom? Before I got all up your dick.
I was saying. Did you hear what I said when you left?
Yeah, the YouTube.
Sucks.
Something about YouTube.
I gotta
that people want your
something about the
natural
Al.
voice.
Something about the Al.
I've gotten the same thing. I've gotten the same thing that people tell me
Here's
all the
the
time.
thing,
Like,
dude.
I really need your unscripted content because it feels like I'm having a conversation with somebody. You know.
But dude, you think about that. That's the entire fucking reason YouTube took off in the first place, because it wasn't all like this fucking
It's not
production
TV,
value
yeah.
shit. And like we kind of are forgetting that because we want to be cool.
All the big guys are vloggers.
It's
All
true.
the biggest YouTubers are fucking vloggers.
That doesn't mean. Well, I mean, what about guys like
PewDiePie, vlogger now.
I'm not talking about
Doesn't
PewDiePie.
play video games anymore, just vlogs.
That's true. I meant guys like
Best
fucking,
guy ever.
God damn it! I can't remember the fucking name of these guys. What's the guy who made the thing about the politics videos about the Animal Kingdom? That guy.
Oh, CGP Grey.
Like CGP Grey's content, I think is really good.
Yes.
Generally, and it's scripted, and I'm just saying that there is a market for that.
There's absolutely a market.
Yeah.
But I think there are lots of people out there who appreciate shit like we're doing right now.
I guess so.
I think, here's the thing about CGP Grey, though.
Yeah.
Like, his main channel content, which is phenomenal, and is very successful, but, like, I don't think he'd have a Patreon that's as successful as he did if not for the Hello Internet podcast. Because people know him.
Damn.
Like,
That's a good point.
Yeah, like
I don't know the history of that, but you could be right.
Well, it's hard to put dates on this without looking into it. But like, you know, he was running that channel for a long time, and I always just thought of it as like a guy who makes really informative videos.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Hello Internet, and he's a fascinating character. Like, he has a really interesting personality, and I love him. And it's him and Brady from Numberphile, and they have great chemistry, and it's a good podcast. It's the first podcast I ever really listened to, actually. Like, I was never big into podcasts until recently.
I'm getting big into podcasts now too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the PCP kind of came about. Like, none of us were into podcasts.
Yeah, no.
Like, when the PCP came about,
Well, that's not
I have
true.
way more
That's
fun.
not true.
I'm not gonna lie. I have way more
Ben
fun doing
was.
PCP than I do making my videos.
I was hugely into.
This is the most fun I've had making anything like in the last like 3 months.
I
good.
was hugely into the Ricky Gervais show, which is is based on the Ricky Gervais podcast. So that was I was actually a huge influence on TBAP and like the way that TBAP was presented.
TBAP is pretty much a podcast.
Yeah,
that's true, it always was.
In like the later episodes, the reason I drew them
did
sitting
love
at a
every
table
episode
is
of
because
TBAP
that's how they
a
are
lot.
in the Ricky Gervais show.
Really? Even I didn't know that.
Well, I feel like I definitely mentioned it
Okay,
at some
maybe I
point,
just
but
forgot, but
yeah,
yeah.
fair enough.
I mean, like, back when me and Tom and Jesse first started talking, we were all, like, pretty harsh on the idea of, like, podcasts and unedited content. Like, we all thought it was total bullshit, and that, like, no one would care about it. And, like when... fucking poor Neil X, who, like, at the time that he made Elements of Brony, like, we all thought this will never take off unless it's a super highly edited thing because they're so long.
Yeah.
And so we put so much fucking effort into it. And, like, if that came out now, it could just be, like, and I told him this over time, like, you should, like, once it got to the point where, like, this is now what kind of content's popular on YouTube, and his series was canceled.
He was just a visionary.
I've told him a bunch of times, like, dude, just put out parts 5 and 6 as podcasts, because in the current state of YouTube, it will be exactly as successful.
Are they not out yet?
It might be more successful, because then you can just put that on behind something else.
Yeah, as opposed to having to look at it for 2 fucking hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, and, like, it's such a shame, but, like, we were all super anti-podcast until, like, literally up until we started, like, Biggest Problem in the Universe convinced me and Jesse, like, oh my god, podcasts are cool.
I could have fucking escaped that last life if I'd remembered that I had fucking Passwall. I always forget about Passwall. The best spell in the universe.
It sucks, man.
It just sends you through a wall and nothing can fucking follow you.
Didn't it fail the one time you tried to use it?
Well, it failed because I used it it's because I used it on the wrong spot. You can only go through, like, the wall can't extend into infinity.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you can only move through relatively thin
You can move through one square, essentially.
There's some limit. I forget how it's determined. Anyway.
Seems like something you might want to figure out.
Anyway, we were all, like...
Oh, no.
We were all pretty... I mean, even before that, like... We were fairly anti-Let's Play until we got into Game Grumps. And then we were fairly anti-podcast.
And then we got anti-Let's Play again.
I'm still kind of anti-Let's.
We're doing a Let's Play right now.
Oh, no, Ben's doing a Let's Play.
You know what? I guess that's technically true. It feels more like a podcast. If
I was playing the game, I would be really mad.
That's why we got, like, because I had this perception that Let's Play meant, like, you know, something shit.
Yeah.
Until I found... Actually, you know, it wasn't... Okay, I was into Game Grumps for a long time, but what got me into the idea of doing Let's Plays and podcasts was Yahtzee's one, Let's Drown Out.
Oh, yes.
And, like, like, realizing that you could just have a video game just be there while you just talk about whatever was like, oh, this can be a Let's Play or podcast? Let's do that.
I guess that's a
And
Let's
that's where
Play.
Digibros came from. You know,
maybe I'm still just in, like, 2010 definition.
I mean, have you ever watched Digibros? It's just a podcast. We don't even talk about the game.
I've never watched Digibros.
Never? Really?
I don't think I have. Well, maybe I watched like 1 or 2, but, like, again, my stigma for Let's Plays runs deep.
Yeah, a lot of people's does, and I think that's the only reason that channel's never gotten bigger, because we were talking about this on a lot of the episodes lately.
I bet if you changed the name to something that said it was just like, this really doesn't have anything to do with Let's Plays.
Well, I've been meaning to, like, we've been talking a lot about this because for the longest time we were putting no effort into it deliberately because it was just for fun. But, like, it started to really baffle me that...
for money.
Well, like Digibros was started before I had, like, before After Dark became a vlogging channel that's posting all the time.
Right.
And then it slowly became really weird to me that, like, my vlogging channel has, like, people who watch all these fucking videos. Like, they'll get, like, 10,000 views per video, you know? And it could be the most inane, weird, random shit. And yet the Digibros channel, which is the same content, just with a video game overlaid, which to my mind makes it better. There's something to watch other than me half-shaded in darkness, gets no views. And I'm like, the only reason this is that people think it's a Let's Play.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's really not. It's just a podcast.
That's true.
It's no different from the PCP or my vlogs.
When I think Let's Play, I think some really obnoxious motherfuckers screaming at a game.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's me, and I wouldn't
maybe you're screaming at the game. Maybe you finally sold out.
It's always Victor who plays the games.
Oh, well, that makes it better off the bat.
I am incompetent at video games, so it would be unwatchable if I played. Victor's barely competent, but at least he can play and talk at the same time, and I can't.
I can't do that either.
But
I can never stream. Streaming is something I'll never be able to do.
Talking and playing at the same time is tough.
But yeah, it's really funny to me how we can go through these phases of, like, thinking podcasting's totally lame until any of us heard one podcast that we liked and immediately we wanted to do a podcast.
That seems weird, but that doesn't seem weird at all. Like, if you see nothing but shit about a format, it's like, oh, this format's shit. And then you see something good, it's like, oh, it can be that.
I felt that way about vlogs until I started...
Nice Dad or something?
No, Max Landis.
A +3.
Oh, yeah, those vlogs. Yeah, those are pretty great.
Yeah, and what inspired me to start doing all the vlogs in Digibro After Dark was how shit Max Landis' quality is.
So shit, and yet decent quality.
I would be watching like my
What
my
do you mean
policy.
so shit and yet decent
Well,
quality?
like he
Bad
films on
quality.
like a laptop fucking mic.
The
and
actual
shit.
quality of the microphone, audio,
Make
and video
movies.
is
Shouldn't he have more
garbage.
respect than that?
He writes movies. He doesn't, make.
Doesn't he care about the fucking cinematic?
Well, that's the point. It
process?
doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. That's the whole
That is
point
the
here.
point.
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing. Like for the longest time, my policy has always been I won't make a video I wouldn't watch, and then like I always thought I won't watch stuff with shit video and audio quality. But I start following Max Landis, and he has videos where it's like he's traveling and he's like in a hotel room, and he just like clearly whipped open a laptop and hit record and started talking into like the shittiest camera ever. But what he's saying is interesting. So I was watching these and I started watching it and I'm like, wait, I'm willing to watch this? I could make this.
Yeah,
Like
it's
in
not that
10
hard.
seconds. I could flip on my phone and have better image and audio quality.
There's a
than
lot of
this,
videos ideas that have that fall through the cracks. I'm just like, I'm not willing to just do this.
Yeah.
And I bought a Gorilla Pod, buddy, so that's how you do that.
No!
$30.
No!
What
No!
happened?
I had a fucking ring of wizardry from the first room, and I fucking died.
Oh man.
Well, that
You're
ring
a
didn't
wizard,
bring
Harry.
Would have made all the fucking difference. That's so good to get early. Because suddenly you barely even have to level up before you can cast your dang spells. You just cast them right off the bat because fucking your aptitude is through the roof.
Incidentally, here's my advice on how to get into lower quality content.
How to get into it? Okay.
How to get into making like lower quality
Oh, making.
content.
That's relevant to
I'm
me.
always looking to make
Go on.
low quality
How-
content. Did you tell me more?
how to get
Low
yourself
production value.
how to get
content.
yourself
Right,
mentally into the idea of making lower quality content
All right, I'm ready.
is to belt out a ton of it all at once. Like what got me
Yeah.
what
I did
launched,
do that one time and it was great.
What launched the Digibro After Dark vlogging thing? This happened just all at once because we're talking about this channel's been around for years.
Yeah.
It's been around for like 3 years, and it's uploads at like maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, sometimes a vlog, sometimes a podcast, like whatever was like something that didn't have a place.
Right.
In one day, I put out 3 vlogs, like filmed back to back, and just released them as soon as they were done. And then it was just like, this is now a channel where this can happen. And therefore, like, I didn't stop all week. I put out a video every day, or 2 videos a day all week. And people were like, Digi's lost his fucking mind. What's happening?
Yeah.
But then also people were like, this is epic. This needs to be my life now. And I was like, this will be your life now, bitch. And then I didn't stop for 6 months. And this is where we are now.
Yep.
The 3 videos I did that day, the first one was called "Losing My Mind in a Room Full of Naked Anime Girls," and it was just about how when I look at these posters, all I see is their flaws because I look at them so often that all I can see is like how shit the art is in almost all of these, and I'm just like running around my room with a camera, pointing at posters and going, "Look at how her neck does this thing! It's so fucking weird. I hate it. Look at this one. Her crotch is in the wrong place," and I'm just like going around screaming at the camera, losing my mind, literally. And that started it all. And now
That seems like such a fitting way
what
to
a
begin.
momentous
It- it-
Look
beginning.
where we are now.
it was beautiful. There's a lot of my vlogs are
This
me
should be
running
our
around
new-
my room pointing at posters, and those are my favorite ones.
We should all just resolve to just make shit.
I have been meaning
can't
to. I
do
have
it.
been meaning to make more of the those 2 like essay videos I did. I just don't fucking. It's just thinking of like a
those
thing
are real
actually,
good. You should definitely make
Yeah,
more of those.
I do. I like them. It's just thinking of like what do I want to talk
I
about.
just want to
Yeah,
point the
yeah.
camera. I just
Don't have
want I want my video
I
content
would
to be
recommend
as
just-
low
just-
effort as possible.
Try to
like,
consume
just-
the media that you want to make videos
Yeah.
about in general, I guess.
I think
It'll just,
Yeah.
ideas will just come.
another way to get yourself into the mindset of like making worse content is just think about how much of it you like. Like for me, it was that Max Landis thing, but we are all big fans of the Give and Take channel.
Sure am.
Which is
Sure
just
am.
random bullshit, like weird fucking esoteric ideas that just spawn out of the ether, and I enjoy that
is like-
channel.
No,
No.
The only thing about
listen. It's not that
yeah.
I have anything against the idea of putting out low effort content.
Low
It's
production,
just that
yeah.
I don't have ideas for like things I actually
Right.
want to talk
Okay,
about.
fair.
Well, there's a difference between you and Nate. I think
Yeah.
Nate is just averse to the idea of making something
He's a paragon
that
of
has
production.
no like.
I've thought about it, and I can't do
You
bad
fucking
content. But what I
do
can
it,
do,
Nate. You do it on fucking Bestie Boy.
Bestie Boy.
You fucking do
But
it.
the
Right.
point,
So what are you
but the
talking
point
about?
is that
That's
it's not.
fine.
The point is that
I'm-
it's not bad content. You're thinking of it wrong. Like, would any of
Yeah,
us
you're dumb.
accuse Jump Cut Jack of being a bad video?
I love Jump Cut Jack
It's
more
an
than any
amazing
video I've ever seen
and
in
it
my
probably
life.
took 15 minutes to make.
Probably.
I
Like,
still haven't seen Jump Cut Jack.
Watch
it's
Jump
like,
Cut
it's like
Jack.
30 seconds long, and it's just
wonderful.
It's,
4 megs in size.
Hey guys,
It's,
welcome to another fucking video.
yeah, that's it. It's
That's it, that's it.
It's just him given saying, "Hey guys, welcome to another fucking video," but it's through constant
Like
jump cuts.
every letter is him in a different
Yeah.
position in the room.
Because
It's
he-
magical.
He just turned on a camera and stood somewhere in the room and said the whole line, then stood somewhere else and said the whole
He's a
line, and then he
fucking
just edited it
genius.
together so that he's teleporting everywhere constantly while saying this one line.
Look, I've thought
15
about.
minutes to
Gib
make,
is such a
tops.
low-key genius. I can't
I'm
even...
trying to fix my problem, and I've already got it started. While I was making the Lucifer one, I had another one that was being edited by this other guy. That's like a similar scope to the One Punch Man one, which only took a long time to get done because the editor guy's a fucking incompetent piece of shit.
That is the problem when you
But,
outsource these videos.
Yeah, outsourcing
Ran into
is
that.
No!
rough.
Fuck you, buddy! You
Yeah.
piece of shit! I
Smaller-
had 2 rings!
You gotta find yourself a Devu.
I do
So
need
we
a
all
Devu.
need a Devu.
This guy is not my Devu.
The key to having a Devu is to have somebody who's just so in love with your content that they would die for it. You know?
I get people who tell me that they love it, and some of them are content creators.
The problem is you need to
but-
find someone who's actually good.
This fucking
The guy I work with is good, but he's a little bit unreliable, and he's
That
got
is-
other things going on
That's
in
a
his
cardinal
life.
sin.
So
It's a cardinal sin.
yeah,
When is the Devu Collective actually going to be a collective so we all get one? This
yeah,
is an,
that'd be nice.
this is
That'd
an
be nice.
important question.
It's such a shame. Devu does not like that meme and doesn't
I don't
care
understand
about it
why.
at all,
It's
and
great.
I love it.
It's hilarious.
Wait, I
It
don't even know what
seems
the meme
pretty
is.
innocuous.
It's
just
just
the
that he's
idea
a
that there is a
weird
Devu
robotic
collective.
I
like.
thought it was his idea.
No, Jesse
Jesse
made
came
it.
up with
Oh,
it. Yeah.
what?
There was one episode.
He needs to embrace it.
There was one podcast where Jesse and Devu got into an argument about something,
Yeah.
and Jesse felt that he had been steamrolled in his argument, so he edited in segments into the video where he argues with a straw man of Devu that is the Devu Collective, which is trying to assimilate him and change his opinions to match its own. And it was
I forgot
fucking
about
hilarious.
that origin.
It was amazing, and we all, like, everyone immediately wanted it to be a meme, and, like, Devu was like, I'm not, he was like, he said, I don't get it, and I don't think it's funny, and, like, I don't care for it, but I'm not gonna stop it, because, like, you can't control these things. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's just it's a thing revolving around me now. And
I
it's
think
like,
he just doesn't like the association he has with someone. He didn't even like at the time the fact that Jesse kind of like went behind his
Right.
back and edited in like an argument,
Yeah.
but like it's
Well, yeah, well,
Devu should just strike back.
he should strike back in a new video or so, in the next
As
PCP.
he should
Argue with Jesse about something.
Right, he should just become the Devu
we
Collective.
already have our own horrible Jesse meme he doesn't approve of.
That's true, that's true.
Everybody
need
gets
to,
one.
We all need to drive a stake through Jesse's heart in some way. Only then will he hate us all equally.
You know about his revenge plan? Have you heard about that?
I did hear about that.
Yeah, that he has like
I
a
want that to
really
be enacted.
elaborate, like he as he put it, because he was like, this isn't. Because someone was like, why don't you just like explain it somewhere? He's like, it's not like that. He's like, it's not like a video revenge plan. It's like something I would have to actually spend like years staging. Like this is like a really elaborate like a film, like a movie idea plan.
For all we know, Boozy Floozy is step one of this plan.
It's
Who
very
knows,
possible.
man?
Well, he said that he had relented for now. That these plans should never see the light.
Isn't
of
that
day.
exactly what he would say
Unless-
if he was trying to get
Unless
us?
we all
you know?
betrayed him again.
I don't know if I can. Well, we're gonna betray him tomorrow.
I'm ready to betray anyone at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
When Jesse's video steps into the ring, we're all dead men.
Speaking of, when should we wrap this up?
Oh, I don't know.
I guess
been-
I don't think I
now-ish.
can. I don't think I can play any more of this fucking game.
Oh,
All right. Well, we've got 4 hours recorded. I
That's-
don't have a lot
I
of
don't
space
think.
left on
I
my
don't think we
Okay,
have
yeah.
enough. I don't think it's enough. I
and we
don't
should
think
all
this
go
is
to sleep so we can actually
That's
make
true.
things.
There are things to be done tomorrow. It's true.
I'm kind of awake now, though. That's okay. I'll
I
figure
hope
out
you all
something.
enjoyed the ultimate procrastinators decompression chamber.
Yeah.
It was
It was a doozy.
This has been your host,
decompressive
Ben Saint,
hyperbolic.
and my friends who are
The other guys.
the other guys signing off.
I don't know them. I don't want to know them.
And neither do
I was
you.
just playing video games. If you were smart, that was you did too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take it easy, guys.
Okay.
And scene.
And scene.
Okay. And John Cena.
Cena.
Oh.
That's good shit.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was.